All right, guys. I don't know what to say. To be honest with you, I've had a hard time doing this intro. I don't know what to say. And I guess really there's not much to say since it's 3 hours and 40 minutes long. I will tell you this. This has pretty much everything you want and look for in a podcast. There's trash talking. There's gossip. There's emotion. It's deep and it's funny. There's whiskey. So these two, this is Matt and Kyle, formerly known from the Can City podcast. Now they're two of the three members. Now they are doing Can City Media on YouTube. They're focused their efforts more on that side of the creative side. And it's really good. I highly recommend it. I can't recommend it high enough to you guys. Please go check it out. And basically, I wanted to have them on for a bunch of reasons. They had a really good popular podcast. I used to listen to it. And then one day they just quit. Out of the blue, a good podcast, just boom, quit. No announcement. They made one announcement on social media saying we quit. No warning, no heads up. And I found it peculiar, and I knew there had to be some kind of story there. So that was one of the main reasons I wanted them on. That and because I just knew they were funny and good podcasters. I liked their podcast. I just thought it would be really cool to have them on and to meet them. And it blew away my expectations. Blew them away. This was I learned so much from them. And I learned mainly that I have so much more to learn. Like, they are professionals. I am just this idiot with nice equipment. And this, I don't know what else to say. Like I said, I don't need to keep this intro super long. For the audio people out there, this is part 1 of part 2 because I have to upload this twice because the file is so big because it was such a long podcast, long episode. So listen to this one first, obviously. I mean, not obviously. You can go, yeah, this is one you want to listen to first from the beginning. Also, if you guys are out here checking, if you're former Can City podcast fans and you're checking this one out and you haven't seen me or heard mine before, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. You never have to come back and listen to my podcast ever again, but hit that subscribe button. And I'm going to take a page out of Matty and Kyle's book. If you guys will just make me a review, leave me a rate and review on iTunes, make the weirdest review you can think of. I don't care if it has anything to do with podcasting or talk about a skunk in the woods wishing he knew how to swim. I don't know. Get weird with it, you guys. And yeah, that's it. That's all I ask. That and to go give these guys a follow on Can City Media on YouTube. Yeah, one more to say. Great episode. It's got everything you want. You're welcome. Episode 45. Matthew, Kyle, Can City Media. This is Neandertalk Podcast. Boom. Shalak. Boom. Oh shit, we're live, everybody, with Can City Media. Wow.
Makes us sound really more important than we really are.
You guys sound like businessmen.
Ooh.
We're important in circles.
Probably are.
His kid really likes us.
Yeah, our living room.
Yeah.
My living room. Yeah.
Joel, he hates us.
Joel Nichols?
Yeah.
That guy's a TV was a TV is he a TV personality or
former
was he?
Former TV personality.
Former famous person.
Former man. Former no, he's a good guy. He works with us doing videos still, so
I've seen your guys' roastery tour and the Boulevard Brewery tour with him doing that stuff.
Yeah.
And when you guys were going for a top podcast for the pitch, local you did that little promo for you guys.
We did. That was our fake political ad.
It was funny.
Yeah.
It was really good.
yeah.
Yeah. And
He helped us out a lot early on. Got us on KSHB doing what was the live
Kansas City Live. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
so we were on that, I don't know, 10, 20 times doing different
I don't think we're on it 10 times. I mean, I would guess 6 or 7.
it's more than that.
You think
no,
so?
I added up the videos recently, and I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
wow, okay, there's quite a few of them. But
Yeah, because our relationship with Joel literally just started off Twitter. I reached out to him over Twitter, and I said, hey, would you ever be open to the idea of being a guest on comedy stupid podcast? He goes, yeah, sure, why not?
he's kind of a Kansas City staple. Like,
Yeah.
people know him.
Right.
He's been in TV for, 100 years. So
Right.
it's pretty
Back when it was
awesome.
invented.
Yeah.
No, but he was open to it. We did. So we said, hey, we'll make it easy for you. Have you be a guest on our show, but we'll bring our setup to the KSHP studio.
Oh, wow.
Set up there in like a supply closet. We were all huddled together really, really tight, and it got really hot in there. And Joel got a read on us very, very quick and just started blasting us, making fun of us like within the first 2 minutes. I'm not kidding. It starts off very
We cried.
cordial.
We cried a lot.
Yeah, nice.
It starts off very cordial, like, oh, hello, I'm Joel. Hi, I'm Josh. I'm Kyle.
Well,
Nice to meet you.
And Josh, he's the fat Mexican one of us,
Right.
3. And so he showed up just kind of wearing whatever, because in typical Josh fashion. And man, Joel just went to town on him.
It was great. He made
And
fun
it's-
of all of us, specifically Josh, though.
It's been that way ever since. So.
Yeah.
But we got to do a bunch of stuff with them. We got to do indoor skydiving and make chocolate
cool.
and like donut eating competitions.
Yeah.
And
test rides, some of the new
rides
Worlds of Fun rides.
And it was like, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's cool stuff, but it's old media, and
Right.
I don't know what I'd like to say they're going the way of the dinosaur, but we'll see.
The local news type stuff.
Yeah, just over the air TV. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's not what it used to be. So even that show that we were on, Casey Live, it's a commercial. It's one long commercial with like
hour-long
puppy
commercial.
dogs on occasion.
You can turn that remote off or turn it. Hit the right back. Get it. Sorry, Jamie. I told you guys. Fucking told you.
Just keep looking at myself.
There you go. That's better. It is. Do you think? Surely the people in media, they know they're on a sinking ship, right?
Yeah, some of them do, and a lot of them have been hopping off.
What about the ones that don't? Surely there's those guys that don't know. No, come on, this is the way it's always been. It ain't going anywhere. Are those guys got to be around, right?
Well, they're in denial.
Right.
Joel's interesting because he's one of those guys that has been in it forever, but he's very open to new ideas and can see how the tides have changed over the past, even just 5 years.
I mean, for an 85-year-old man to leave, to leave TV,
he looks great for
and
90.
and start doing a podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, for someone that has legitimately been in media for 40 years, and he's a professor of journalism at the college.
Oh,
So,
wow.
The guy
broadcasting.
whatever, man.
JUCO or
Yeah.
Yeah.
He teaches at JUCO 2 days.
No, kiddie college.
It's just a preschool that he's teaching little
Like, what's a donoism?
No, I think what I'm finding, because I used to be I worked in the radio business for about 3.5 years, is that they're always trying to adapt. Radio will always be its core medium, but they are always trying to adapt in order to survive. So I met up with an old friend of mine who still works in radio. We went to lunch, and what he said was that now what some radio stations in Kansas City are doing, a lot of them nationwide are doing, is they are turning their shows into podcasts.
I listen to a local
Yeah,
radio show
so
podcast. I love it.
And then they'll stream it as well. So they are, which I think is great. If you love radio for what it is, but yet you just want to get over your phone, great. I mean, that's fantastic. Or if you just want to only hear the segments of, Frankie in the Morning Zoo, great. You can download those as episodes. The only thing I still find kind of it's disingenuous is like, I don't know, everything still has to be cut into segments.
Yeah.
The authenticity is not there.
Yeah. And censorship. That's a big part of it. It really is.
I mean, I think censorship is a word I can't say. No, it's part of it, but I also think too it's just so corporate run. So at the end of the day, it's all about numbers. It's all about making, the stockholders happy. that's what it is. So,
Well,
I mean,
and the main aim of the content is not to entertain the masses. It's to appease the people funding the show. So the sponsors, they come first. And that's the way most local TV is now, especially the daytime shows, man. They're just, they'll bring in Bob Hamilton, and he's going to tell you about your plumbing needs. And it's
That's true.
But that's paid advertisement. Or
Yeah,
they're
it
gonna,
is. Huh,
or
I
they're
never
gonna,
looked at it
yeah,
like
or
that.
Neil Harris is here to talk about your HVAC needs, tips and tricks.
and I think there's different ways to do that. I mean, let's face it, our video that we did with the roastery, I mean, if that's a 10-minute commercial for the roastery and how they do everything.
Right.
But you got the
But it's also educational and entertaining.
that was the thing.
for
We weren't
people.
trying to appease. Our priority, number one in that video, was to be entertaining. Number
Yeah.
two, if the roastery liked it, great.
Yeah.
But number one was we got to make an entertaining video. Whereas I think things are slightly flip-flopped on more corporate run, national radio and television stations.
Of course, the Boulevard tour was much more entertaining because beer was involved.
Right. I think they were both on par.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
They were
Yeah.
both on the same level. They were both equally entertaining.
Joel got molested a lot in the Boulevard tour.
Did he?
Yeah, and our HR department had to fire Josh. So he just wouldn't keep his hands to
And
himself.
Josh was the head of the HR department.
He was
so
the guy. He fired himself.
Did it himself.
It was weird to watch, but it happened. Yep. Anyway, on a serious note,
Yeah, let's get deep. I was telling him, my producer Robin over here, I was explaining a little bit about who you guys were, and I was saying that you guys are switched over to the YouTube media doing these videos.
Yeah.
And I said they're kind of like newsy type, like you would see on like a news segment, but like cooler, more fun. Like
well,
I don't
thank
know,
you.
is that
That's what my mom
what
always
you guys
said.
want or not want?
Of what we're doing now?
Yeah, like the brewery and the roastery, it seemed like it was kind of like you would see something on the news, but like cooler.
It's like a
not
Yeah.
like a blog news.
No,
segment.
that's not far off from.
because it seemed, I guess maybe because it was really produced and professional, like in that manner, which is trying to be a compliment. I don't know.
No, I mean even when we were doing the podcast, the goal was to make the production sound professional, but we were a bunch of morons. We were idiots. So it was almost like this oxymoron of entertainment. But yeah, when it comes to like we did, I totally forgot about the video. The what's the food one we did? Food Week.
Casey
Oh, yeah.
Food
Restaurant
Week,
Week.
Yeah,
that was
Restaurant
it.
Week, yep.
You kept calling
I
it
kept
food.
calling it Food Week.
That was your first one, right?
That was one of the first ones that we did. Yeah, it was around that same time that we were kind of transitioning the efforts, but we were there. And actually, what's funny is the other legitimate news crews are there, and
nice.
and we're seeing them do their thing. It's like, hello, I'm so and so, and we're talking with XYZ restaurant. And Kyle's just going up there, going, hey, what are you guys doing? What can I eat?
I'm like Stella Artois. Okay, yeah, I'll try. Oh, this is beer.
This is a
Yeah,
beer.
that's right. Yeah.
So I mean, like we're not full-fledged making fun of them, but we're having a lot more fun with it. And you could tell that there was a look of confusion on a lot of people's faces, like, what is this?
We don't have management breathing down our neck. That's the
Yeah.
difference. That's new media for
Were
you.
the professionals there looking at you like, fuck these guys? Are you
Most-
kidding
most
me?
of
They
them-
I
must
think
have-
they knew
Most of
we
them
were a
know who-
YouTube
yeah.
thing.
And most of them see us around too.
Yeah.
Especially if they go to the movie screenings, like the media screenings.
Okay.
So
Yeah, some of them I think recognize
We
us, and I'm
bump
sure
into
from their perspective, we're the newbies who don't know what we're doing.
there's a
and-
little disdain.
Yeah.
You could tell
I
like
bet
we
there
haven't
is.
earned what we have through the regular channels.
That
of
old school
operation.
dinosaur mentality.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, humans altogether fear change. So anything
Yeah.
that's different that you're not accepting yourself, you fear. You're afraid of it, and either live in denial or grow to hate it, or do what Joel's doing and accept it and just kind of roll with it.
And his show's blown up. I mean,
Yeah.
like his first
What
guest.
show? What is his show?
You should
Joel,
talk.
you should talk with Joel Nichols.
Is it a YouTube show?
No,
Or
it's
is it-
a podcast.
Oh,
so-
he has a podcast.
His
Yeah.
first
Okay.
one was with Johnny Dare.
I'm
and it
so
was-
sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't know that.
No, it's okay.
I
It's
try
okay.
to stay. I'm trying to get all the Kansas City podcasts on my podcast app.
It's
to listen to,
quickly
'cause I
it's
like
quickly
supporting.
becoming the most legit
Nice.
talk format podcast in Kansas City. But I mean, he had such name recognition right
I
off
quit.
the bat.
Turn this thing off.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Well, good. Okay.
done.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
man. We
guys,
appreciate it.
yeah.
you'll never catch up.
Leave my mic here. would you?
No, it was funny. There's other podcasts that have been around, and obviously we can't say now because we're out of the game, out of the podcast game. But that podcast that had been around for a while, Joel starts his up, and within a month blows past their numbers
Nice.
as far as downloads and stuff. And I mean, you get
for
that
him.
because he has we always said, Joel, you have a built-in audience.
Absolutely.
His Twitter, his Facebook page, there's people who just enjoy him as a personality, and through media, they'll follow him wherever he would go.
He's funnier than people realize too. He was
man.
interviewing Tom Segura, of Your Mom's House podcast. And
Tom Segura's great. Yeah.
Dude, he's one of the funniest comedians out there. But he was interviewing him on, I think it's still up on YouTube. But you can see, like, Tom Segura's like, yeah, daytime TV, whatever,
right.
Jog on, idiot.
Right.
And Joel's just rolling with it and then keeping up with it. And you can see, like, okay, I'm watching like one of my comedy heroes talking to Joel, and Joel's keeping pace.
Oh yeah.
And like him and Johnny Dare, man, they were so funny together.
Oh, gee. And then at one point they started ragging on me because I used to work with Johnny, so Johnny knows who I am. And then they what did he call me? The emotionally retarded, I don't know, man boy,
it
man
was
child
something,
or something.
Deeply insulting.
After I dried the tears.
But he could definitely crush us. So whatever.
Oh yeah. No, Joel's podcast is doing great.
Awesome.
I mean, some of the guests he's getting on, and this just comes with networking and knowing people as long as he has. Like, we were watching the Oscars a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Kevin Wilmot won for Black
So Spike
Klansman.
Lee wins for writing Black Klansman, and there's people getting up there, and there goes Kevin Wilmot.
And we're like, we just had him on
and
Joel's show.
I look at my wife and I go, see Kevin
Wow.
Wilmot? That guy was in my basement.
Wow.
It's weird.
really cool.
It's weird.
Wow.
He had, Tuck, what's his name, from Parks and Rec. He's coming over doing... we're gonna do another video podcast episode with the guys, people who run Donutology and stuff. And I don't know. I know it sounds silly. We just keep talking about Joel. We're not even talking about ourselves. This is just a plug for Joel's show.
Way more exciting.
I'm down with that. I'm down with that.
We're kind of putting all of our irons in that fire right now.
Look, anybody that listens to my show knows I'm all about just getting local people out there, like supporting local artists and talents. And just, I love Kansas City. I love the people. Like, that's why I wanted you guys on, because I loved your podcast. And it's really weird to have you guys here. It's like surreal, because when you listen and watch something for real, like you watch Your Mom's House. Imagine having Tom Segura or Christina P here.
It's weird.
It'd be weird, like, oh my gosh, he actually sounds like that when I'm sitting right across from him. How weird, you know what I mean?
Some of the comedians we've had on, and we've become friends with, and they're legit comedians that we've seen on Jimmy Kimmel or Fallon.
And Jeff Dye was on the Tonight Show. It's like, oh my gosh, we hung out with Jeff Dye in Kansas City once or twice when he was here. It's like, that's so cool. So
you get to know people if you just reach out to them. There's a good portion of them that'll say, "Yeah, I'll be on your show," and you'll develop a relationship. And if you have a good show, I mean, it'll blow up.
In Kansas City, though, is interesting when it comes to the podcast scene. Have you reached out to other podcasts to do stuff like this, and they've thrown you a little shade?
That is funny. One.
Really?
He said, "I'm really busy. Get at me later." I'm like, well, I've got spots open in May or June, and this was like a month ago. I was like, I'll just shoot me a date for then. He's like, oh, I'm really busy. I was like, all right, man. I don't big league me. I mean, you're whatever.
Was it a single person, like a one person show?
It was Taco the Town.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, Dave.
Yeah. We did a show with him. Yeah, he's pretty cool.
He seems cool. I listened to his show. I wanted him. And I didn't want him on just for what I want him, because I like his show and I think he's cool. And we're podcasters. I think there's kind of we're podcasters in Kansas City. Maybe it's just because I want friends in my life, and I'm thinking there's like this little fraternity, but there is like a little, at least to me.
It's very weird, and we found that early on, because our podcast took off pretty well, unexpectedly. And I think, doing stuff with the television station helped out a lot too, because actually one of our first or second segments was explaining in simple terms to an audience of, I would assume, mostly middle-aged men and women.
Soccer moms.
This is what a podcast is, and this is how you can listen to it. I think that helped out a lot. But we found whenever we knew that doing...
You got that Johnson County viewership.
Yeah. And people, getting their oil changed at Jiffy Lube or a car dealership.
Oh, the Jiffy Lube audience was our number one demo.
That's who we were trying to reach, man. But we, I kind of forgot what I was talking about. But, we kind of took off pretty quick, a lot faster than we expected. And so we were like always trying to build the audience. And we said, hey, one way that we know is a very efficient way to do this is to do crossover episodes with other podcasts. So we reached out to a bunch, and they obviously knew who we were because, man, we got some shade. We got...
Wait, you got shade?
Oh, yeah.
From who?
Some of them, one or two of them aren't around anymore, and I can't dog on that because technically neither are we. But you can still listen to our podcast on Spotify. I found this out yesterday.
On Spotify?
Yeah,
I was looking for it on iTunes.
Yeah, you can still find it on Spotify, so that's still there.
And we're still making videos. We haven't disappeared into our
I
mother's
think, honestly,
basement
to kind of sidetrack, I had this idea the other day. I'm going to go through it's going to take a long time. I'm going to go through our old episodes and just cherry pick just some of the best and safe stuff.
Dude, there were some amazing episodes.
We
were just crying.
Hold on. So you did cross-platform, but then other people would throw shade?
Yeah, I mean, some people were...
I don't get it. Give me an instance. So you went on a different podcast, a local podcast?
We would reach out to them over...
You would reach out but not do it?
We either like social media or their website. They'd have an email. We'd reach out. Hey, man, let's love your show. Kind of similar to ours. Hey, it's lighthearted. And we would even tell them, hey, I think this is a great way we can help out both our audiences because... For one, explaining a podcast to someone who's never listened to it, it's very difficult. It's hard to get them as a subscriber and a listener. But if you do crossover episodes, you are now introducing your show to other podcast listeners.
You could potentially double your audience.
Yeah. Huh. And so we would reach out to some, hey, let's do it. And we either they
so naive.
Completely ignore us.
And innocent.
Or they would just kind of do that same thing that sounds like you ran into, brush off. Like, oh, sounds good. Just can't do it right now. Thanks. Okay, well, if they were serious, they would say, "Hey, we're busy for the next month or two. Here's when we can do it."
So we flew out to San Jose, California, and did an episode with Mind Pump, which is like in the top 10 health and fitness podcasts anywhere.
You flew all the way out there just to do it. Were you thinking this is big for us if we can get on there?
Oh yeah,
it was. Big
it was.
For us.
That was probably our biggest boost ever.
And we see these guys have a secret lair. It's weird. Like you pass over this like vacant looking building.
Well, it's like a strip mall, not a strip mall, but like kind of like a storefront.
Yeah, it's got like a mirrored glass front where it just looks dirty and vacant. And you open it up and it's the most awesome like AstroTurf gym with like all these video equipment set up, and they have this huge podcasting booth in the back that's soundproof, and it's like, okay, this could be our future.
Well, and then I follow the hosts on Instagram, and one of the hosts was doing an Instagram story. He goes, hey guys, we like to do crossover stuff with other podcasts. Because doesn't even have to be health or fitness. Reach out to us. Now he said it with the intent of being interviewed like via Skype or something, and I'm going, these guys, if we flew out to LA, and flights to LA are not that expensive.
Spirit Air.
Yeah, or what Kyle called Human Catapult Airline.
Good luck.
Is
so good.
Like, oh, you wanted to wear pants on that? No, that's $10 extra.
Is there supposed to be a windshield on this airplane?
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, we flew out there, rented a car, drove up to San Jose. Stayed the night up there in San Jose and interviewed in person those guys in their studio. And yeah, like Kyle said, just a beautiful facility. And then they've got a little studio within their kind of store that they have. And I mean, it's soundproof, everything. They've got a little video studio set up, just these beautiful, extremely comfortable chairs.
So after doing that, I mean, it added a little legitimacy to our show.
Yeah.
You know, because these guys have had like
my dick just shrunk 3 inches hearing all this, looking at my studio. I'm like, damn, I got a
you
long way to
you
go.
got a great studio. This is legit.
Well, at least you have a studio.
Yeah. You have cameras. I mean,
Yeah.
what, 3-4 cameras?
4 cameras.
That's awesome. No, that's legit.
Keep going with the story. I'm fascinated.
So anyway, after we had done that, you know, I mean, these guys have some of the same doctors and fitness professionals as Rogan all the time. Like, they've had several of the same crossover guests. So massive audience. That was huge.
Guys like
exposure.
Lane Norton.
Yeah. A lot of the doctors of health and fitness.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember
stuff.
who a lot of these. And basically, if there was anybody big in health and fitness, they've had them on their show.
So that enabled us to get the CrossFit champion on our show, and just we had some other people reach out to us just because of that.
Oh, Jacob Hepner.
Yeah.
He's a local CrossFit guy, CrossFit athlete.
I don't know if his
Wow.
joints are still like in good shape from all those kipping pull-ups, or is he good?
I don't know. I don't.
CrossFit's something else, man.
Yeah,
It
it is.
Well,
Well,
and then-
hey, CrossFit chicks are something else too.
Yeah, are they?
I mean, just look at them. They're built.
I don't know any personally.
You-
So.
oh, look
Brooke
on
Ents.
Instagram.
Brooke Ents is
They're
stunning.
they've just got an. I mean, they're great bodies, but they're built like tanks.
Yeah.
Like the ones that are dedicated,
Just
they're like
shredded.
shredded little
Yeah.
tanks.
Oh yeah, the Brooke chick.
Brooke Ents. Yeah,
she's in Kansas City area too.
No,
isn't
no. Oh, you're thinking of Brooke something. Brooke
There's
Wells. Brooke
yeah,
Wells.
yeah.
I think she's based in Columbia.
she? Man,
But
we're
yeah,
going to Columbia.
the nice thing
Shout
is
out Brooke.
the nice thing is those guys gave us a lot of tips. So once the mics were off, we just hung out in the studio for like another half hour, 45 minutes, and they gave us just a ton of pointers because those were guys who still they've been in the game, the podcasting game, relatively new in comparison to like Rogan and some of these other big guys.
Rogan's an OG.
Yeah, I mean I always joke, and I think other people call him he's the Oprah of the podcasting world. So
Oprah for men.
yeah, but they were giving us a ton of pointers, and one of the things that Sal, one of the hosts, he told me was start getting into video. He says video is going to be a big part of it. It works symbiotically with the podcasting stuff. I said, okay, yeah, great. And I'm one of these guys that I if I'm going to do it, I don't want to do it just half the effort. I'm going to go in full bore. So I was like, okay, well, if we're going to do video, I want to get a nice camera, nice lens, do all this sort of stuff. I want, nice lighting, good production. So it took us a while to get into the video side of it. But yeah, I mean, that was a great experience because it gave us all a glimmer of hope. Like, man, if we stick with it, this is what could happen.
That whole trip was cool. We got to go to the Comedy Store and
man.
like
Oh,
Dave
that's my
Dave
goal.
Chappelle.
Dave
showed
Chappelle
up
did a drop-in.
in
Was
an-
not on the schedule.
in the
Like
original
a 2-hour one.
He was up
It
there
was
for
up there
almost
a
an
while.
hour.
Yeah. He was just testing out some new material that ended up in his new special.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was
that's
unreal.
what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
But you're in the original room, which is like 500, 600 square feet.
Yeah.
It's not big at all.
Tiny, so.
The stage is like 1 foot off the ground. So,
Yeah.
usually the stage is at least 3 or 4
We
feet.
get to hang out with Jeff Dye out there too.
Yeah, I went to Comedy and Magic Club out in Hermosa Beach. I think that's where it was. Yeah,
Knock yourself out. Pours my look. This thing. I am expecting at least half of this to be gone by the time
Okay.
we're done here.
All right.
and this
Get to work.
episode is
Or
brought to you
more.
by Jim Beam Whiskey. So.
No,
Brought to you by Drinking and Driving.
don't get caught.
But yeah, to go back to what you were saying, I think we were strategically trying to help grow our show as fast and as efficient as possible in all the right ways, but still come off like we were dummies who didn't know what we were doing. And I think there was a lot of podcasters who I don't think they liked that. I don't think they viewed us as competition. And then when we got to a certain level of notoriety, we were like, hey, let's, the rising tide or what's it? Rising tide raises all ships.
That's it. Are you kidding me? You do listen to my podcast. You're saying you don't.
No,
I've
listen.
said that so many times.
Yeah.
I've said that.
No,
on my show.
I listen to your show. There's a joke there, but I forgot. It's the whiskey. No, but we were like, okay, let's build up even more.
Oh,
and if there
wow,
is,
man.
I mean, we reached out to there was these guys who had like a comic book podcast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did. Are they the ones that did win the best of the pitch?
That's one of the
contestants.
First
Yeah.
issue club.
First issue. First
Yeah.
edition.
Club.
First edition.
First edition.
First issue club.
First
I think
issue.
a big thing that they want is they're part of this massive network in Kansas City, Fountain City Frequency.
I still
So-
think it was Russian hackers.
so-
Or Venezuela, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Are they the boogeyman now?
I was really curious how they won. I only looked at the winners just a
I don't know.
Few months
I
ago.
I
don't,
call
I don't know.
shenanigans.
I don't know, man. All I know is, man, we
Do you?
put our heart and soul into that.
It would be hilarious if it was shenanigans, but we wanted to make like a devastation video of us losing.
Like a response to us
and
getting second
we
place.
all become massive alcoholics and are living behind.
We're like living
dumpsters.
on the streets. We're living terrible lives. But then come to like the way it's edited, you think like weeks or months have passed, and it's only been like 10 minutes.
And this is all because
And
we
then
won like second place.
Someone
in
walks
some
up to us and goes,
magazine
"Hey
thing.
guys, there's always next year." We're like, "Oh yeah, oh I forgot." So we just clean ourselves up and on with life. But
That's
yeah,
good.
it was some podcasts were really easy to reach out to. That's why when you reached out to us, like, yeah, let's do it because this is exactly what I want was to always do crossover stuff with other people who don't do media professionally, who are giving it a shot. And I think with us, like, if you listen to a lot of people like Joel, for one, okay, he started a podcast, but he had a built-in audience. Our friend Jeff Dye, he's a comedian, well-known comedian. He did a podcast, but he had a built-in audience.
Right.
We were nobodies. And I mean, we're still nobodies. We were just three guys who just had this idea to, let's do a podcast. Let's be silly, goofy, but I want the production to be tack sharp. I want it to sound great. But, we try to refrain from using 4-letter words, stray away from religion and politics.
Every single 4-letter word.
Everyone, no matter if it was a curse word at all, it was either 3 or 5. That was it.
Word is actually a 4-letter word.
Dang it.
Like the haiku podcast.
Letter combo. So, but we wanted our show to be the reprieve from a lot of the heavy-handed news, and just because the world's just getting depressing and negative. So we're like, we wanted our show to be it would be safe for college kids to listen to, soccer moms to listen to with the kids in the car, dads with the kids in the car, just safe, but still slightly edgy and funny, not like, hey, the Veggie Tales has a podcast by any means.
That would be funny. Yeah.
There's an idea. Write that down, Kyle.
Yeah.
So you guys had a concerted effort to kind of censor yourselves?
A little bit. And actually, when it comes to comedy, I think it made us step up our game. I honestly do.
I understand that.
When you can't just go blue and take the low
you
road
have to
every
be
time.
very strategic in your comedy. And I think it made us sharper. I honestly think it did. Like, some people scoff at that, like, I can't believe you just be yourself. And then my counter to that is, look at comedians like Jim Gaffigan or Brian Regan.
Oh, yeah.
They're relatively safe, and
hilarious.
They are killing it, and they're hilarious. And they are labeled clean comics.
Yep. Kevin James.
Yeah, but no one listens to them going, well, you can tell it's all about Jesus, because it's not. The guy, I mean, they're just talking about topics that everybody can laugh at.
It's mostly about Jesus.
It's all about Jesus, but no. So, and that's kind of what we want to model our humor in the show after, was like, if kind of a Jim Gaffigan style humor show.
Gotcha.
So it was palatable to a lot of people. Relatively successful.
Well, we wanted to turn it into a business too, and it does limit your audience a little bit if you can't play it in front of your kids.
Sure.
So there's a huge audience there in the 35 to 45 range, and they always have a kid in the back. So it's something that people would say, we could play this at work, and so the whole office is hearing it. So there's even more exposure.
Okay.
And the way we did some of the comedy too was that we would like legitimately edit things out, and we did it for comedic effect, and your mind would fill in the gaps. So it would almost be like like a Freudian thing.
Okay.
Like whatever your mind puts in there,
Right.
You might think someone
You're
might
the
think
comedian at that point,
might think we did a 4-letter word when maybe one of us said was poopy diddle or something.
Sure.
I mean, honestly, but it's like, it'd be funny.
You're always saying that too.
Yeah. Every time I stub my toe,
It's freaking me out.
but I would think, hey, what would be funny is, what if we took this out, and then people could make their own conclusion to what horrific thing we said, and it was something completely innocent, but some people would take it A and some people would take it B.
Gotcha.
And some of the best comedy out there right now, as far as podcasts go, don't do that. So it can be done either way.
Right.
And there's some amazing clean podcasts. It's just, to each their own. That was just the audience.
The NPR ones are Radio Lab.
Very safe.
Radio Lab's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I like
it's
Radio Lab.
pretty clean,
Extremely
So,
clean.
Yeah. Well produced too. Like one of the best. The sound effects they add in,
It's
and like
insane, yeah.
when they're describing a situation, and like you can hear the tugboat in the background.
And
And
you
they're
can have
talking.
both sides.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But they also have a whole room of people working on each episode. So
Well, they're all the smartest people in engineering
For real.
doing that shit. Yeah. And it shows. Good for them.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I think right now Kansas City, we have a lot of podcasts, but it would be good if they would.
I didn't realize how many there actually were. I thought there were just kind of a few, and I keep finding more and more.
Yeah.
There's a
I take
lot.
that back. I did have one more stiff me too.
Yeah.
The Kansas City podcast.
Oh yeah, they're done though, right?
He's
Yeah,
done. He
Cole,
quit a
he's
while
done.
as soon as because I used to listen to this, and then
I saw your comment. I think you commented on one of his photos or something. And
Yeah.
you wanted him to come on.
Yeah.
He didn't reply?
No, he replied. I DM'd him.
Oh, really?
And, he just basically said no. I'm like,
That was one.
Come on, man.
I mean,
I just wanted to know
I
why.
give him kudos for doing it, but I seriously thought that guy was putting on an act when he first started. The voice was so
You just
funny.
got to do it a little bit on the radio thing.
And then when, like, honestly, so when we were putting the idea of our show together, we're like, hey, there's nobody out there with the name The Kansas City Podcast. And that was an idea I was kicking around. I'm like, what if we just called it The Kansas City Podcast? And I thought, you know what? I don't want the burden of that to be on our shoulders. We are not going to the official Kansas City Podcast.
Gotcha.
We're going to call ourselves Can City Podcast, CAN, because
we're stupid.
one, we're dumb.
Yeah.
And two, that's the way it sounds when people ask, hey, where are you from? You're like,
Right.
From Kansas City.
Yeah.
So that's why we named it that way.
Everybody
It's so
here's
funny how everyone does. They don't put two and two together. Like,
See, I always have to make sure I enunciate can when I'm talking about your podcast.
They stretch
it's
can.
City podcast. It's not
and that's why.
I do that with Silver Dollar City. I call it Silver Dollar City.
Because otherwise it sounds like you're saying something terrible.
Yeah, Silver Dollar City.
But yeah, so then
People outside the city
Cole
would
did
have
his
no
podcast, and in a couple episodes we just did some fun little jabs at him. You know, nothing mean spirited at all. And I don't think he never had any contact with us or anything. And then what was so funny, his very last episode, he says, "Hey, I'm going away, but here's some other great podcasts you can listen to." One was like Chalkboard or whatever,
Yeah.
and then the Kansas City fellas, like, oh. Now I feel like garbage. It's like he recommended us on his last show.
Thanks for the shout out, idiot.
No, Cole, I give that guy credit because he was a one-man show and he didn't have a studio and he went to it sounded like he went on site every single one.
It seemed like
he did the editing, he did all the marketing himself, I think the website and all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's hard. And we even had friends of ours who, you know, when you say there's a lot of Kansas City-based podcasts, there's a lot.
I guess there's even more than
A lot are terrible. They're awful.
90%.
Oh, they're just garbage.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think problem number one is the production. In today's day and age, when you can learn how to tweak, edit, EQ, all that by a simple search on YouTube, and there's podcasts out there where it's a group of people and they have one microphone sitting in the middle of a room and they got the gain all the way up to 11. It's like, come on. This sound is terrible. It sounds like you're recording it in a tiled bathroom.
It's like Willie Nelson's first recording session.
Like, just spend $30 on a mic at Musician's Friend, buy 2 more microphone cords, have each one have their own microphone, problem solved. I don't get it. I'm a nerd when it comes to that sort of stuff. So
I'm a podcast junkie. And so when I did this, I wanted to make sure it sounded good quality wise.
Yeah.
And there was this guy that wanted me to be on his podcast, and I listened to a couple, and he did them like phone interviews, and they sounded like shit.
Yeah, they're pretty.
I was like, dude, I'm not gonna. And I said, I'll do it, but we have to do it on Google Hangouts so I can use my mic.
Yeah.
Because if I'm gonna have my name attached to it, I want it to sound good.
Sure.
And I want. Yeah. And so I was like, so can we just do that? I was like, I don't. It ended up being a fight. He thought I was saying his podcast sounded like.
He was taking it personal?
Yeah, he was taking it super personal. Like, dude, I'm trying to help you. I go spend $30 on a microphone.
Yeah.
Not everybody's made of money can have a nice studio. I was like, dude, first of all, I have no money. You guys saw that place you just drove up to. I mean, it looks. This
place is terrible.
This is TV magic, is what I call this.
We're in a refrigerator box.
Well,
right
we're on.
We're under the bridge.
We're on the 8th story of the Neandertalk.
I've been stabbed 3 times during this podcast.
But I was like, man, I don't take it personal, but just spend a little bit of. Podcasts are all about audio. You want people to listen.
Because that's who you're competing against.
Yeah.
You're competing against Joe Rogan. You're competing against guys like Mind Pump. And when you listen to it, you're like, okay, I can see what microphones they're using. I see what audio interface they're using. The audio is getting fed through the same editing program. You just got to know what you're doing. And it doesn't take a whole lot of education to figure that out. And then when you have somebody who's still doing a podcast via their smartphone or, the gain's all the way up or it's way too quiet or the intro just blasts and they're like, I'm so sorry.
Whisper.
I mean, it's terrible. It's like, just level the audios, man. It's not that, or, level out all the, I don't know. It's kind of frustrating because.
And if you want to use your phone to make a podcast, that's great. If you don't want to keep doing it, but it's it's unbearable to listen to.
Really.
So
that's
I don't know why people understand. I don't know why they're again. It's the dinosaurs type mentality, the denial. oh, it sounds good because I know I'm good. It's like, well, no. You can be Joe Rogan, but if you're doing it on a phone, Joe Rogan's done some on a phone.
Yeah.
Years ago on an airplane.
Like crap,
and it's like, nah.
Well, that's why with ours, whenever we had guests, we had, it was only a few, but we had some agencies reach out and go, hey, would you like, who's the soccer player guy? Matt something?
Beasler.
Matt Beasler.
Yeah.
Matt Beasler wanted to be on our show to promote his book. And we're like, we'll do it in person.
Wow, your show is way bigger than I thought it was.
It got pretty big.
Yeah. Is it Matt Beasler?
No, wow.
Matt Beasler wants to do your show. Okay, cool. Well, we'll do it in person. Well, can you just do it over Skype? I'm like, we've had national celebrities on our show. We've had, a lot of people. We do everything in person. It just makes for a better experience.
Yeah.
Well, he just wants to do it over Skype. I'm like, he practices over at the sporting complex. I said, that's 10 minutes away from my house. We could do it there on site. Make it easy we'll come to him. And it just never worked out. Like, because I think you get a different dynamic from your guests if it's in person versus over the phone. It's very canned and kind of robotic when it's over Skype.
Well,
or
it's
over
like
the
you're just talking to a TV.
Yeah.
You're not talking to a human. It just
So we try to
takes the whole
to
dynamics
avoid
out.
that.
Oh, me too. I love this is I'm in heaven right now. This is great.
It's good, and you can like sitting around a table, you can see each other. You're not talking over each other like on a Skype, man. It's like, who are you?
There'll be a delay. Like, what? Okay. Wait, do I talk now?
Right.
Wait,
you have a power button. I could shut you off at any second. It's like you can't do that to a person. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Women's lib.
And we're done.
Goodbye, women.
That was the Neandertalk podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, folks. Make sure to join us next week.
No, but on a different note.
Oh, I've
Captain
said
Marvel,
some
huh?
horrific things on here. If this was back like the Lenny Bruce days, I would probably have been locked up by now.
What was your guys' opinion of Captain Marvel?
I like the movie. I could care less about the whole political agenda stuff. Like, whatever.
I don't know exactly what you're talking about.
It's a movie. It's a Marvel movie.
No, I know that. I don't. I'm not. No, I'm not. I don't know any. I'm not into that.
Some people were upset. I'm sure there's.
It's a woman, right?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
So. I'm
but
sure
it used
there's.
to be a man, but it also used
No,
to be a woman.
The character was always a woman.
Oh, was
I'm
it?
sure there were some people, guys living in their parents' basement who were just upset. It's a female-led superhero movie. I honestly think that's a minority of people. I don't think there's that many people who are upset at a female-led movie.
A lot of the people that loved Wonder Woman hated this one. So
yeah, but I think a
do the
lot of
math.
it stemmed from Brie Larson made some comments about angry white men movie critics or something. And I know what she was trying to say, and it came out very wrong. And she didn't clarify. And some people just took it like, "Oh, this is just a feminist propaganda film."
Those were the angry white men.
Yeah, and it's like, "Oh, she just hates white men, and this is a propaganda film." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's a superhero movie.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Okay.
Marvel, yeah.
I'm like, I could care
like
less.
it's DC.
I am at this point a middle-aged white man, but I also am married to a woman, and I'm raising a daughter. So I don't care if there's a female-led superhero film.
Sorry.
It's like, watch it, enjoy it. It's like, it's just amazing what mountains people make anymore out of molehills.
That's
so silly.
It's a dumb reason not to like a movie for sure.
It's really stupid. There's so many other films and documentaries with way stronger agendas, and you just don't hear about
That's
it.
right.
Man,
Like, you don't hear anything. No one makes, says anything about it, but whatever.
Because 10 million people aren't watching those documentaries, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's true.
Have you guys seen Night at the Garden?
No.
It's about the Nazis.
I don't
It's
know
cool.
that.
It's a good movie.
Who are
You
they?
guys should see it. It pushes a strong agenda.
Very pro-Nazi.
Pro-Nazi agenda. I would say, strong language. I'd say it's a pro-Nazi agenda. But yeah, very funny show. No, it's a documentary. I think it's on YouTube, but fascinating.
Is that
No, I would seriously recommend it though.
what's the name of it?
Night at the Garden.
Night of the Garden.
It's about
Nazis?
It's about when the Nazis put on a huge show at Madison Square Garden.
Oh my god.
Back in the 40s.
It's
Yeah.
a real thing?
Yeah,
Why-
check it out. Seriously, it's pretty rad.
Why were they allowed to do something like that?
Free speech.
Oh, back in like...
Free speech doesn't... We were at
Wait,
war.
when? When did this happen?
40s? I think it was near.
Before World War I?
I think it was
During?
like
But-
during or after.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't think the
Oh,
Nazis have been
I've-
like completely.
so we weren't at war?
I don't know. I don't know exactly what the date was, but
Weird.
it was a huge get together in New
Wow.
York City, and a lot of people showed up from
Yeah.
New York to you know.
Well,
to
next
watch the
week I'm
circus.
actually having Alex Jones on. And
Talk about the Sandy Hook kids.
Everybody's an alien.
That dude's pretty unhinged. He's fascinating to watch though.
God, he's so believable.
I get
Though.
it.
He's
You're
so passionate about. I don't know if he's doing a character.
I
or
tell
what.
you what, did you watch his last episode on Rogan? He was just on there a
saw
couple weeks ago.
Little
I listened
highlight
to
clips
it,
of
yeah.
it. You listen to the whole thing?
I think so.
I just saw little highlight
And
clips.
I've heard from a source, if you do DMT, what he's saying isn't unfathomable.
Was this the vampire thing or no?
The interdimensional trolls,
creatures.
little elves, and things like that, and just like
Wait, who said that?
Like,
Rogan or
no,
Alex?
Jones was saying there was like a big group of people all taking a DMT form of drug. I don't know if it was DMT or ayahuasca or something like that.
Probably, yeah.
And they all had the same vision of these creatures coming out and interacting with this group of like 20 or 30 people.
That's how the devil gets you.
And it's not. And he was saying, if you're on a hallucinogen, you have your own separate visions.
Yeah.
You don't all have the same exact experience. And he was saying it's these That's how we're interdimensional traveling and talking with these beings in another dimension. And
Weird.
Yeah.
Could be.
Well, what was the other
Could
thing
be.
he was talking about?
I haven't run the numbers, so I don't know.
I'm just saying. I've heard if you've done DMT, that kind of thing isn't unfathomable.
Pretty common.
I mean, you've heard people talk about it. There's documentaries and books out there that talk about it. It's like,
It's a weird molecule, and your brain produces it.
Yeah,
which
your
is
lungs produce it, your liver.
It's pretty
produces
crazy.
it.
They think that's what near-death experiences are. It's just like your body producing the most
high stress.
potent hallucinogen ever,
yeah.
and you have like these out-of-body experiences and stuff, and it could just be you're tripping.
Well, people have said, like when it comes to his government conspiracy theories, that when you find out what the government has admitted to doing, like in the
it's
30s,
unbelievable.
40s, 50s, 60s, I'm sure even
It's
past.
insane.
Operation
unreal.
Paperclip, where they worked
The Nazis.
with the Nazis.
Yeah,
But yet
Super
at the
soldier.
time,
the Gulf of Tonkin.
The MK Ultra program.
Yeah.
That's some weird stuff. That sounds like made up. Like they gave
Yeah.
people acid
Yeah.
to turn them into super soldiers.
Yeah.
But then the government now that's like, oh yeah, we did it.
Remote viewing, like.
But at the
trying to-
time, had you had that, you would have been considered a lunatic.
Here's the problem with Alex Jones. He's given some credibility because he's been right about a couple things.
Yeah.
So like Bohemian Grove, he
Right.
actually snuck in and saw all these billionaires in cloaks worshiping Molech. And he got it on video.
Yeah.
And it was
Wow.
like that.
George Bush was there. I
There
believe.
was like
all kinds of politicians,
presidents
yeah.
and billionaires and all kinds of, just gross old white men. Once again, the problem in our universe. Gross
Which
old white
apparently
men.
I'm contributing to by the
You
pigment of my
are.
skin.
How old are you guys?
Your fault.
I'm 18.
Yeah,
Okay.
30,
No, I'm kidding.
37, 36.
I'm 36.
Yeah, 36.
Wow.
How old are you?
I thought I looked good for my age. You guys are a couple of 1-2 cutie pies. I'm 39.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. When I turned 36 in January, and I'm like, wow, I'm only 4 years away from turning 40.
I'm way past my halfway point. The way
Yeah?
I've lived. Yeah, I'm gonna die soon. Yeah,
Dude, isn't it weird? Like, I don't know. Like, about mid-30s is when I started thinking more and more about my mortality.
Really?
Oh, I started thinking about it in 13.
I
12,
never
13.
thought, when people are like, yeah, you're a teenager and you think you're invincible, or in your 20s, you think you're never going to die. It's like, I never thought that, but it just didn't enter into your head.
Well, you don't think about things you jump off of, or
Are you guys saying we can die?
dude.
Apparently, not according to Alex Jones.
I don't think I'm going to. I'm still on that. I'm the dinosaur denial.
You're gonna
I'm
transform.
Yeah.
I know. I'm not.
Transform and
I'm
roll
not
out.
gonna die. I'm Ray Kurzweil.
Just get a sex change and be a new person.
I identify now as a 20-year-old.
If you just do that every 30 or 40 years,
I'm heavily
You'll never
invested
die.
into Ray Kurzweil's singularity. They are going to
Ray
upload.
Kurzweil is
Yeah.
a weird dude, man. Yeah, he was
I'm
pretty
living
far out
forever
there.
in a computer.
How old was that guy?
He's still alive.
I mean, but like, when was he starting to put out his stuff? Because that's been a while, right? That's not like in the
it's-
internet age. That was before that, right?
He kind of predicted the internet. I think he's been in the game for a hot minute with that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of a trans-dimensional, You know, he thinks that we're gonna have like an artificial intelligence.
Well, he wants to upload consciousness onto basically computers and live forever.
which is possible with quantum computing.
Maybe.
Wasn't
Yeah.
Elon Musk even kind of alluding to that when he was on Rogan's show?
No, he was talking about.
I don't think we're 10 years away.
He was talking about like a singularity.
He
or
was talking
something.
about the like almost like super fast Wi-Fi, like the 5G with your own head.
Oh, like everyone's connected.
Yeah, everyone's connected. You can get shit in your head. Just kind of think like Google's in your head
Yeah.
immediately. I think something like that. He said he was like really close to.
It'll be super healthy for you too.
Yeah.
for
Wi-Fi
your
in your
brains.
brain.
I don't know
Why
if
not?
I want to be in the beta group.
Yeah.
Don't you
I've
kinda-
duct tape a router into my head. I came out just fine.
Yeah, we'll get the best and the brightest to test that one.
Right? Once Neil deGrasse Tyson does it.
Yeah. So how do you describe your show? Because we had that a lot when people were like, "Oh, you can't say podcast. What is that?" So how do people ask? Hey, I do the Neandertalk podcast. One or two sentences, maybe in a paragraph worth of words. How do you describe it?
Well, if that's all the time you're going to give me, I don't really want to talk to you. What
Well,
are we
we're
in
done.
an
Thanks-
elevator?
thanks
Peace
for having
out. No. So I can't say Rogan on this podcast anymore. I'm glad you guys brought him up. I've mentioned him too many times.
Sorry.
Really, my podcast is just hanging out and having fun. It's the art of long form conversation, and it's what podcasts are about for me. What I want in a podcast is it's me hanging out with someone who I genuinely want to talk about, that has a story or is an artist of some kind of musician, has something that I can learn from. Like my motto is kind of like I didn't want to be laughing or learning. And I just want to have a good time. I love podcasts. I've been listening to podcasts since Rogan started. That's
Really?
actually,
Wow.
I'm sorry, before that, even a couple of years before
Really?
that, I used to have to download them on CDs.
Oh my
Like
goodness.
Like
MP3.
Adam
It's over 10 years
Carolla's
ago,
or-
man.
Even before that, it was some poker podcast
Yeah.
I listened
Okay.
to. So I've been listening to them for a long time. So I just love podcasts, and I've been listening to talk radio before that. Like,
Did you used to listen to Loveline?
Yeah,
That was kind of like
Really?
one
In
of the
high
first
school.
podcasts, really.
guess
Yeah.
it was, wasn't it? I never
MTV.
thought about that.
Yeah,
And they could say whatever because it was
pretty
later at night.
explicit,
Yeah.
MTV took it, and then they started airing it around the nation on radio.
Huh,
Yeah,
I get you. That's probably where
that
it
was
started.
a good show, man. And Adam Carolla, I mean, he was.
Why? Yeah.
I disagree with him on a lot of things, but he's a funny dude.
He's hilarious.
And that was an entertaining and educational show.
Yep.
So what's the experience been like? I mean, this is new territory for a lot of people. You know, setting up a studio in your house, putting your thoughts and your
It's been
feelings
awesome.
out there.
It's like I'm doing what I want to do. I mean, I'm so passionate about podcasting, and now I get to do what I'm passionate about. Like I finally pulled the trigger. I'm
Because you're at episode what now?
tomorrow I'm releasing 42,
Okay.
and I do them like once a week. And it's just it's been amazing. Like I don't know, I love it. Like this is just it's
Do you find it therapeutic?
yeah, I don't want to get too I've gotten personal about it. I don't know if people are. I was in a really dark place in my life
Yeah.
before I started this, and this was kind of to drag me out of that dark place, and just to give me something to focus.
Well, I mean, I think we
You
found
know?
that too. And honestly, we were even talking about on the way over here is that we miss doing the podcast. And for me personally, I mean, honestly, I don't deal or struggle with a lot of issues. I mean, I know Kyle does, and we've talked about it clearly on the podcast. But even I found it very therapeutic.
It is,
just
yeah.
talking.
Yeah,
Talking to another human being is
it's lost. Who does this?
Yeah.
anymore? Who does this
because
anymore?
you know now we talk to each other in 140 characters
We're texting each
yeah,
other.
and now it's very heated or it has an agenda behind it, and
We're using emojis.
yeah, I mean we're summing up thoughts with gifs and stuff. And while that's
You want some
fun,
more whiskey?
yeah, I'll take a little bit.
You want some
But-
ice too?
Yes, please. But that it seems to be this lost art. And what's so funny is when you hear people who are in media like, oh yeah, people only want stuff in short little 30-second clips. You can't have a YouTube video any more than 5 or 10 minutes. I'm like, well, then what accounts for podcasts?
Right.
They are, look at the stats, man. They're just growing and growing and growing and growing. And podcasts are 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4-hour episodes. And the reason they're still doing it is because people are listening. So long form content definitely has its place.
Yeah. And not only is it long form content, but it's usually long form content without interruption. You're not getting every 15 minutes of some stupid commercial. Like, I've got some people at work that love Rush Limbaugh.
Ugh.
And I'm like, first of all,
What a blowhard.
yeah, obviously it shows off, whatever. Politics aside,
Yeah.
the fact that you're listening to this dude who
I think he's doing a character. I honestly think.
I think he is too. I think he's an entertainer.
gotta
Yeah.
be.
And he's playing to people that are
Yeah, he
gonna
knows
buy
who
his
he's talking
tea.
Yeah.
But the point is, he'll do top of the hour, and it's 2 or 3 minutes of talking, and then it's a song or it's a commercial, and then come back, and then it's like 7 or 8 minutes, then it's another commercial. An hour-long show is like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
of him
20 minutes
talking,
worth of content. Yeah,
if that, and it's broken up, and you can't have a real conversation. You can't have. He can't debate anybody in a 7-minute segment about anything important, and he's talking about the world's most important subjects in his mind.
Well, I'll tell you a little story. Is that I produced Joel's show, so he had Dana Wright and Chris Katz on. So Dana Wright does oh my gosh, what's the
Afternoon political radio, right?
Well, it's actually not political. People still think that, and they steer away from
KMBZ.
Yeah, Dana and Parks. That's it. Dana and Parks.
Yeah.
So
It's not political. It used
no,
to
they
be?
try to steer away from politics. The only way
98.1.
they said they talk about politics is in a roundabout way. They don't talk about it directly because people still accuse them of it being an angry white man radio station. They're like, it's not anymore. Anyway,
Anymore.
yeah. So Dana Wright and Chris Katz, they're married. Chris Katz does obviously news on the ABC news affiliate. Dana Wright does radio. So Joel interviewed both of them after they did their episode. Dana says to Joel, hey, Scott is going to be out all next week. Do you want to come in and fill in on one of the days? And I invited myself. I'm like, yeah, I'll come too. I said I wanted to come because I wanted to see. I worked in radio, but I worked in sales and marketing. I was never on air or in studio stuff. So like, yeah, I'd love to hang out with Joel. Joel's like, yeah, come along with me. So I hung out in studio, and I'm like, oh man, this is like such a professional podcast setup. I mean, it's a desk
shit.
like it's a desk.
They didn't
like this.
that, did they?
Well, no, I didn't say that loud. I mean, I was
oh.
thinking I was thinking that in my head. Computers set up, clocks all over the wall, just cool little notes and whiteboards all over the place. And what I found was, again, the flow of it is constantly interrupted because of commercials.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be on a roll having great conversations with your callers, and I could tell they were always trying to cut off the callers by a certain amount of time. They could only talk for so long. And you'd be talking about these deep intellectual topics, and then you're like, okay, we got to take a break. Let's go to like 3 or 5 minutes worth of commercials, and we'll pick right back up where we left off. Well, you can't. You got to reintroduce the topic all over again. You interrupt the flow of it.
And that role you're on, it's natural to be entertaining when you're on
Actually, before you finish, let's pause for our sponsor.
Yeah, I know.
This episode brought to you by Jim B.
so then you have to be fake.
Jim Beam, get out of here, please. I'm cheap.
Jim Beam, you're killing me, man.
I'm cheap.
Oh my goodness.
Give me one of those once a month.
No, but you do. It's like it comes to a screeching halt for hi, I'm ABC Plumbing. Call me when your pipes burst and there's poops all over your basement.
All right, we're back on KMZZ. Yeah, and you gotta have that fake authenticity, and it's kind of gross. It's off-putting.
Very gross.
And
I hate
that's
it.
the only way to do it when you're just constantly having to stop and start.
You know what though? It takes the right person and personality to do that, who is not fake on air. Like Johnny Dare. You listen to Johnny Dare, that's that guy. Dana, same thing. That is that guy. Scott Parks, Joel had Scott Parks, so Scott Parks was over my house. I've known Scott Parks for years. Scott Parks, same thing. But there are still the cookie cutter 90s morning zoo radio DJs like, hey, we're back, and you're listening to Justin Timberlake. And as soon as he gets off air, he's like lighting up a cigarette, like, gotta hate this job.
Yeah.
They gotta hate it. They got to.
Oh yeah, because you have to fit.
You're playing a
mold.
character. Oh, you always have to be on.
Oh yeah.
That would suck. Yeah, every single day to have to be on when you don't want to be on. It's like being a server or something, but even more so because you got a bunch of people that are listening to you. If you're a server, you got 30 people in one night.
Right.
You got to be on for
we
radio.
found that out in our show. And when we were doing our podcast, the first 2 episodes were recorded on the same night. And I think me personally, or even more so, I don't know about you, but we were trying to do that. We were trying to be
extra precocious.
Yeah, and it was terrible. It was so bad. I mean, here we are. We were like 100, almost getting close to 200 episodes, and we took the first 2 off like earlier. Like the first 2 episodes, number 1 and 2 were so bad. We took them
Dumpster
off the air.
fires.
Oh, you gotta leave that.
Oh, they were awful.
That's why you leave it, because you
But,
see.
like,
Look how far we.
It wasn't
came.
like,
look
oh,
how
isn't
far
that?
we came.
It wasn't like, isn't that cute? It's like,
No, it's
this
look,
is
look
bad.
How, yeah.
We had a recap episode.
I think that's
like,
what you need out
We
there.
did do a recap episode where we listened to old audio.
I think it was like 200 or 100, 150 episodes
it was
in.
unlistenable.
Matt's like, here we go, and we're just like,
and Kyle
oh,
and Josh are like, please stop.
Yeah, give me a barf bucket. This is unbearable.
But then, I mean, by episode 3, 4, 5, definitely by episode 10, we're like, you know what? It's just, I think we all internally figured out, just be ourselves, because it's such a stress to put on a show. And when podcasts are long form content, that means you got to be somebody else for an hour or 2. And we're like, we can't
every
do
week
it.
or every whatever. Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that's the beauty of podcasts is like, you can interview guests, and for the first maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes, they might be putting on like, oh yes, I'm an author of a book, blah, blah.
Right.
You get a whiskey and Coke in them. By hour 2, they're like,
Yeah.
you know what? This is what happened to me when I was 6 years old.
You guys want some cocaine? I got some cocaine.
Yeah, nice.
You guys want to do some blow? Come on.
I've had some interesting experiences.
Calm down,
Yeah.
Joel Nichols.
I know, right? Seriously. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
That's honestly, we had some of the best compliments we ever had on the show. We would have these guests come over who, like this situation, we've never talked any more than DMs over social media. Come over, our studio set up with like couches and lounge chairs, and we have the boom arms set up to the tables. And I mean, they always said, man, this is so relaxing. This was so much fun. And I think early on they figured out that we're not professionals. Because some people are like, okay, we're going to record in 3, 2, 1. All right, I guess ABC.
Pause for intro music.
Yeah, let's ask question number 1. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times people would just go, oh, wait, are we recording? And then we'd be 20 minutes into it, like, oh yeah, that candid conversation we had.
Our first Crystal Lampet episode.
Crystal
was
Lampet.
Like that. We got like 5-10 minutes in, and she's talking about her family and her childhood, and it was beautiful. It was a wonderful conversation.
Because it was her.
She's like, have we started?
Yeah, when do you guys start recording? Like, oh, we've been recording. Do you know who Crystal Lampet is?
I don't.
So she is, what nationality is she?
Thai, I think.
Kind of Thai, Filipino looking.
Thai American.
She doesn't look 100% Asian. But
Thai Anglo.
She's a very beautiful young woman. She's on 38 The Spot. Is she one of the official hosts now?
Yeah, she's a host on
City
KC Live.
And
who was that dime piece of a dime on that one? Blonde hair. Oh my god.
Oh, Michelle.
Michelle.
No. She did
did
Mavericks games for a hot minute.
Oh, Holly Starr.
Yeah. Holly.
I mean,
Starr
I have no idea who you're talking about.
was a legit dime piece.
Yeah, I vaguely remember her. Didn't she do like pool commercials or something too? Like
Yeah, I think she still does.
It's hot. And
That's Crystal Lampet.
Okay. I don't watch TV.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not that pretentious asshole. I don't have
TV
cable. I watch YouTube. In my Xbox, I'm playing Apex Legends now.
I enjoy vinyl and riding my unicycle.
Hey, no, I wish I did.
As Ryan twirls his mustache. Yeah, any more wax?
See?
Would anybody care to watch a Nickelodeon? You just
the
put
old
the
TV
nickel
show?
in and crank it.
No, but we found that so many guests like eased into the conversation so quickly right off the bat because they figured out early on we were not professionals and we were just silly and goofy and just like we're not as stingy and uptight as a television show or national radio.
It's more of a hang, you know?
Yeah, it really was.
I think it's because you guys are just intimidating. You're just a couple big, buff, handsome-looking dudes, and you guys got the voice.
He said, notice how he said buff and not fat. That was really nice.
Can I say something?
Who do I look like?
I'm not
Quentin Tarantino?
What are you going to say, Ryan?
You look
Chris Pratt.
No, nobody.
After
Nobody.
Jurassic
I'm not going to
World.
say you look like anybody, but I want to say, what was it? You look. I told this to my friend. I said, "Doesn't he look like this?" He goes, "Yes." You look like a guy wearing a superhero, big buff underneath.
And his
You,
little legs are sticking out.
like when you put an orange on toothpaste. So true.
If the letter V came to life, it would look like Kyle.
The fake muscles.
Yeah.
Like the Halloween outfit a 3-year-old wears to be Spider-Man. That's what you look like. It's great.
It'd be really funny if my voice was like that.
But you know what's funny? Okay, so you're a bigger guy. Kyle is
And you
like,
tuck it, but he has it tucked in, and he's just got this big barrel chest. You look like
I kid you not, Kyle is strikingly handsome from the knees down. I mean, I'm
Dude,
not.
my calves are not
His
playing
calves
around.
are amazing, and you have like just the right amount of leg hair to show off the definition.
It's weird. It's weird.
Kyle could be some sort of
he
shoe
said
model.
from the knees down.
I'm a 10 from the knees down. Everything else is a train wreck. Just real bad. My poor wife.
He looks like a guy wearing a suit, but he forgot the lace parts. That's so good.
I got like shoulder hair on my underarms.
You're wearing a Mr. Incredible suit under your shirt.
Okay, I get that a lot. People are like,
You
"You
get
look
that?
like
You get that
Mr.
a lot?
Incredible."
Yeah?
Yeah, they're like,
Who's
"You."
Mr. Incredible?
He used to be really fat.
Pixar.
Yeah. He used to be really fat, but he like still put on his
I
super
can
suit.
see that. That's the cartoon version of what I was describing.
It really is. Oh man,
Well, before he describes me, let's change the subject. So.
Jim Gaffigan's son over here.
Jim Gaffigan's
No, you said
son.
Brian Regan.
Brian Regan's
Brian
son
Regan.
over here.
I had a friend of mine today, told me today, you look like a sexy Brian Regan. And I texted him back a gif of Brian Regan. I said, Brian Regan's sexy enough, and it's just him going.
Just Brian Regan's face, eggplant. Whatever that means.
I don't know.
I better make myself another one. I am just
Emojis.
straight crushing these Demon Cokes, you guys. Robin, do you want one?
Sure, yeah.
You do? Do you have a cup?
Holy cow, there's a producer.
Oh my god.
I got a producer.
How long you been back?
Hold on. Robin has been on my podcast 2 times, and I put quotation marks, kind of to describe what like Robin, quotation marks, flat earther, Cartwright. He's a flat earther gentleman.
Like a real live one?
Yeah.
Or are you just being a flat earther, like ironic?
No,
Like,
Wait,
flat.
hey,
so-
we know it'd be cool if
He's-
I believed in.
He's Eddie Bravo. He's in Eddie Bravo. If you guys know who Eddie Bravo is.
Yeah,
That's him right there.
jiu-jitsu master.
Well, he doesn't do that, but just the
Oh,
conspiracies
just-
and
yeah.
the flat earth. I love him to death, man. Robin, you're my man.
So,
It's
do
gotta
you
be a
have? Do you
tough
normally
life.
have another producer, or do you produce all the stuff yourself, like the editing and the EQ?
I
and
do all. I do. He's just running the cameras.
Oh, okay.
I have 4 cameras and he's switching those around. That's what he's
Nice.
doing. I
2
do
of them are under
everything
the
else.
table.
Yes.
Some
As
upskirt
is my.
shot.
I've got
I'm not even wearing a skirt. Still
He
working.
just keeps cutting to your calves, man.
Okay, so
Kyle,
are
knock yourself out.
you gonna go on the cruise, the flat Earth cruise?
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna go to the ice wall.
Are they?
Yeah, they're gonna take it to the ice wall. You know what they're gonna find there?
Or just fall off the face of the earth.
A
And
ball pit. That's my theory.
All right. Where were we at? Was there a question?
I don't know. We were talking about the value of podcasting, how therapeutic it is.
Oh yeah.
You said you mentioned you were at one point in time you were going through a pretty dark period. It was a relationship thing, wasn't it? I'm not asking you to go deep into it, but
No.
it wasn't.
He's
You
like,
had stuff going on with your job. This is
Is
my
this
show
guy,
now,
is this
Ryan.
guy one of those psychics? And I'm like, oh, that's what it is. And it was.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm getting an M name.
let me
an
hold your
M,
hands real quick.
There was a relation. Like I was recently divorced.
Okay.
And I have 2 kids. So you throw that. That's part of the.
I'm sure that
thing.
would-
So yeah, that added into the equation of the darkness.
Yeah, but that wasn't the main crux of it.
Jesus Christ! If I had a couple more
Here,
drinks.
have some more. I'm kidding.
So let me ask you a
Um,
question pertaining to that. How has that affected you positively for the show?
Yeah, I'm not asking you to go into detail.
I'm super open about
because
a lot
I think
of shit.
on the flip side, that what Kyle's alluding to is that we've gotten pretty dark. I think our podcast too, we were like, hey, let's just.
We're talking about like personal experiences of being molested or beaten. Or,
Okay.
Yeah,
you know.
just like, and again, it's therapeutic
Right.
to
No,
put
it
it out
is.
there. And yet, as adults, you look back at that, and that's what makes you who you are, and you rise above that stuff. And it's interesting to hear it in podcast form because I think there's so many people out there who deal with
You
the
know
same
what?
scenarios, and they go, I was told in my life you shouldn't talk about this, and you should bottle this in.
How deep are we into this conversation?
10 minutes. Oh, I haven't been recording anything.
So the people that have listened to me are probably my fans that are still hanging
Well, I'd
with
hope
us this
so.
long.
I hope there's people who aren't listening just for the pure
They're
sake
just
of finding
They're
hate.
just hate listening.
I'll show
I
him. I'll
was,
listen all 2 hours.
If you get big enough, you will have hate listeners.
Oh, yeah.
Just
I have
notes.
them now. I do have
Really?
them now. I've got some beef. I don't know.
I saw your YouTube video where someone made a rap against you. Which I'm sure there's more to a backstory, but I watched it while I was editing on.
It's Eminem and Machine Gun
'cause
Kelly
like-
all over again.
There's got to be an interesting story to this, but
Yeah.
anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to detract.
No, you're good. Did
I-
you,
I
you
can-
watch that? Did you watch that that video of me breaking it down?
Yeah, I saw you break it down.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I can tell you're keeping something at bay. So there's obviously maybe even darker stuff than what you allude to on the podcast. I don't know, but like that, sometimes that's fuel. Even you don't even have to be blatant with it. Sometimes that's fuel for a podcast.
Some
And
of
also-
those deep personal wounds, you know,
Yeah.
Alright.
you've been accused of stuff, or you've
Holy shit!
yeah,
I was suicidal.
yeah.
I was deeply, very, very suicidal.
We talked about that on our podcast. Yeah.
Oh yeah. A lot.
I've never told that to really. That's the first time I've let it out.
With two comedic podcasters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's make fun
Right?
of suicide.
And this was something to not think about killing myself. This was because I have been passionate about it, and I wanted to just. I've said this from the beginning, and I say it now. I don't care if 2 people listen to my podcast, nobody, or 2 million. I do it because I love it, and
You get enjoyment out of
I
it.
get enjoy. I do it. I try to do it every Sunday. Sunday's my favorite. My kids get picked up every Sunday to go home. I have them for a few days, and
Yep.
they go home every Sunday morning, and it kind of sucks. But then I'm like, Sunday's all me, and I get to do my podcast, and which I love to do, and I always have just awesome guests. I have so many. Like, you guys are amazing. This is amazing. And so it's just really. Yeah, I'm having a good time. And it's kept me. I'm way past that now. I'm like, suicide will never hop in my.
Never hop in your what?
Suicide's not. I was gonna say hop in my brain again.
It's not front and center.
But
anymore.
it's not. But it's not. I don't have to worry about it now.
What did you do to fight that, though? And the
Okay.
reason I'm asking that
Okay.
is because so many people are
Yeah,
like,
that's cool.
you know how you have some people are like, if you know a friend who's going through something, say something
Nothing.
or
There's,
help them out.
there's nothing.
And
There's
people
nothing.
wonder, like, what do
There's
you do?
nothing. There is nothing for
that
me.
anybody else can do
I'm not
for
gonna
you.
call a fucking 800 number and some fucking stranger's
Yeah.
gonna be like, oh, but you know, you.
Right.
I don't know what he's.
That's
gonna, he or
not for
she's
like
gonna say.
actual suicidal people.
That's It's.
So what made you turn the corner then?
Purpose, right? You got a goal in life now.
Jesus Christ. It's something I.
I guess I think we're more comfortable with it because we've been so candid
No,
with
it's
it
cool.
on our show.
I get it. No, I'm not.
I talk about it every single day when I wake up. That time that almost took my life.
Yeah, Kyle went through a real rough time.
I just got to remind my wife every day that she drove me to it.
it.
No, I'm just playing. I like my wife, but I've
I'm
had
not-
some dark times.
I'm not
though.
asking for the pure sake of content. I'm
No, I know
asking
you're
for
not.
for the sake of I know if there is somebody out there who listens to your show, you know,
Okay.
all 3 of them. No, I'm kidding.
40.
We made that joke on our show all the time. No,
Well, if you look at my last YouTube video, it was 3.
no,
I don't know why. I don't understand.
because I think what helps when people are going through dark times, whether it is suicidal thoughts, whether it is anxiety, depression, is relief and knowing you're not the only one. In fact, there's more people dealing with it than you initially thought. And
Yeah.
honestly, out of the 3 of us, when we were doing the show, I was the odd man out. Granted, I have my own struggles and issues, but nothing to the extent of the other hosts of the show. So I was the odd man out. And so I would always ask questions inquisitively, knowing full well there is a slew of people out there who deal with this.
I was like that.
But they've been taught maybe by a stern dad, or, especially for males, like, you don't talk about your feelings. And it's a reprieve, it's a relief to know that, hey, that strong guy or that strong NFL player or that guy in the NBA or that actor who's Captain Macho, he deals with the same issue that you do. And now because of the format, that podcaster you listen to that puts on the great show, it's very entertaining, he struggles with that.
Well, and knowing that alone is not going to help a person that's suicidal.
Right.
Not really.
It's not.
And people that haven't been suicidal would not understand that. But the inspirational stuff does help. Like when you hear, like listening to The Rock talk about working out. I mean, that guy. It's like, oh my god,
dude, that guy will make you suicidal. Seeing how much he does, and you're like, I don't do shit. I'm a bitch.
But it's like
that guy sleeps for 3 hours a day. No, I can't compare myself.
It's crazy, But you get like some of those guys that they talk about like these struggles of people that have had their legs blown off and coming back from that, and it's like, oh, okay, you hear about them discussing the pulling themselves out of the cave phase of their life, and it's like, oh, okay, that's what I need something to strive for. And when you don't have like a podcast or some kind of personal project that you can release not just ideas but actually funnel your creativity into and look forward to it, when you don't have something to look forward to, why keep going?
So you obviously, you said you were in a dark place, talking about potentially being suicidal. I'm still curious though. Was it something internal or is it something external that made you go? It just made you change your mindset. And I'm asking inquisitively.
Okay, no, sure. A switch flipped.
Yeah,
a switch flipped.
Yeah.
It was weird. I was like you, exactly like you. I can't understand.
Just stunningly handsome, just women crawling all over. I get it.
You know how it is.
10
Why
out of
would
10.
I'm
millionaire playboy.
I could sympathize.
I'm banging dime pieces left. I am the Tinder god.
I feel so bad for you.
Yeah.
No, I was just like you. I didn't understand. I was like, pull yourself out of it.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. Oh, you're depressed and you
easy.
Can't get out of bed. Just get out of fucking bed, you loser. Like, do it.
So what you're saying is words
I
like
was
that
like that.
don't help.
I was like that. I wasn't like. I was just like, it can't be that bad.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden, something happened, and all of a sudden, it just I don't know how to explain it. A switch got flipped, and I was like, a lot of stuff that I keep stuff inside.
Yeah.
I don't express my feelings. I don't talk about them. I'm a man. I am a man. I'm a man's man. I mean, I got a dead deer's head right here. I hunt with a bow.
Yeah.
Cut it, eat it.
Yeah.
Man's man. I don't talk about that shit. And then just something happened. All of the stuff that I was pushing back hit one day, flip switch, and I was like, I wonder what it would be like if I put this around my neck and put this around here and just, wonder what would happen.
So there wasn't like an external event that caused, or was it the accumulation of all this stuff happening?
It was an accumulation and an event happened, but I can't talk about that event.
Sure.
But that happened, and then stuff happened.
Family stuff, just dealing with.
No,
You're trying to choose your words.
I'm not even trying. I'm trying to choose if I should share this or not. It's really, I haven't talked about this with really anybody. It's difficult.
You should talk to is two complete strangers that you've only known for an hour. So you don't want to say anything.
It's not that. It's different. It's
your show, man.
I know. But my show is overly honest. But I share a shitload of my personal life. But that is my podcast. I don't know. I got diagnosed with some kind of depression, major mood depression or something like that. Major depression disorder. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
And then they tried to put me on a bunch of different SSRIs or different different medicines for your brain.
Different cocktails, of stuff.
Serotonin boosters.
All kinds of shit. Some of them fucked me up.
Just you. Nobody else has had that experience.
No, I mean
like every shooter ever.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. One scared me so bad. I had the darkest thoughts. Like they ask you, do you have any thoughts of harming yourself? Like, yeah, but they're not as bad as they were on this other medicine. I tried different ones.
Really? Wow.
And I had.
And these are medicines to help you.
Mm-hmm. But they don't.
The irony of
they
it.
don't know what's going to work for you, so they just throw you on one. How are you feeling?
That's why they call it a practice.
Try this for a little bit and see. I was like, well, this one doesn't work. This makes me feel more anxious and more suicidal. Oh, okay. Well, let's try this one. Okay, this one makes me want to kill people.
Jeez.
Get me the fuck off this now.
Yeah.
And they give me another one. This one should work. This one worked. But then my dick wouldn't work. Well,
lazy.
And I was like, and then they said, yeah.
Get off the couch and work.
Yeah. And then they said, all right.
Get out of bed.
We're going to try one more. I was like, all right. So we tried that. They prescribed one more for me. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to take vitamin D. I'm going to do push-ups every day. And I'm going to start running again.
Most effective medicine you could do right there.
I don't do medicine anymore.
That's what did it? Isn't that so Isn't that the epitome of Western medicine?
Well,
Like,
I exercise. I do vitamin D.
Did any of your doctors push you, who prescribed the medicine, did any of them push you to change your diet and exercise plan before the prescription?
No, and I asked them about that too.
Really? Jeez.
There's just too much of a profit motive there.
It's so funny. It's so ironic.
And it's
it
just,
was. You know what it was? It was. I don't like doing pills. I don't like any kind of pills.
No, I get it.
I just don't like anything except for vitamins. Like
Sure.
I don't, even if I'm in pain, I don't like taking painkillers. I had an issue with them a long time ago.
I'm the same way with allergies. Like I have allergies. I will only take them if it's terrible.
Right, me
like,
too.
Awful allergies.
And so she just kept pushing these different ones. I was like, I don't like pills. She's like, and you know what she said to me? It was real snarky. Well, how is that working out for you?
Mm-hmm.
See, our other guy.
You just made the top of the list.
Yeah, the other guy who was other host of our podcast, went through the same thing. I honestly think he might still go through it. I don't know.
Yeah,
just like it's just this different rotation of let's try this pill this week.
Well, he's unwilling to change his diet or exercise. Long term.
It's really hard to do.
It's
tough. Extremely hard to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
because we've all become so funneled into this way of living. You know, there's fast food just surrounding us.
It's not that.
So was that it?
Thing.
Was that kind of the main thing that
thing.
helped you turn the corner? Was just going, hey, I'm just going to better myself.
Yeah,
without medicine.
I just started doing that. It was like I can't do this shit. I'm not having these feelings of wanting to hurt me or someone else, or having super high anxiety. I'm just gonna smoke my CBD. And so
was the physical exercise and diet part of it, was it hard at first?
No, I'm an athlete. I've always been an athlete.
Yeah.
So I like.
Do you talk about cannabis on this a lot?
Not a ton. I'll talk about CBD. I had a CBD expert on one of my earlier episodes. A big player in the game, actually.
Who's that?
Vince Sanders.
Yeah, we had him on.
Oh,
yeah,
episode 12.
American Shaman.
Yeah.
That was one of our first episodes.
That was one of my first episodes.
Yeah.
That dude was great.
He's a good guy and he loves podcasts.
Yeah.
He's very knowledgeable.
Yeah, I should have him on again.
But so did you notice the CBD like working on you?
Yeah.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah. It's great stuff. It's
especially the full
tinctures.
spectrum, where it has a trace of all of the cannabinoids.
Yep.
Like it's just way more effective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what did you notice, like in particular, like with your anxiety levels and?
The anxiety was mitigated quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then just my mood was up a little bit. Like things can be all right. Let me go for a run. I think if I make myself run, let me just do 2 or 3 miles.
Yeah.
And then, all right, that felt good. Let me go get a good shower. And it just lasts with you for a little bit. I don't know. So, yeah.
What's your routine like now with doing that?
I like to wake up early and do just a nice little workout, push-ups. Like, I don't have a ton of money, so I don't have like a gym membership.
Calisthenics stuff.
So I got some weights, like dumbbells and stuff, and then I just run. I just do like a 5K. Just run around here.
I think that's just good for people in general, even if you're not dealing with anxiety or depression or anything.
Yeah.
It's just like, just move.
And you might be and you don't know it.
That's true. It's funny how so many people are used to just on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like near death and 10 just being euphoric and feeling great.
Yeah.
People are used to being a 5 or 6.
Yeah.
They're like, that's just everyday life because they eat fast food every day.
Yeah.
They don't move. They're at a computer every day.
The mental and physical inflammation has just become a part of the routine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
You
don't
know any different.
they don't know they're at a 6.
Yeah.
And they could be at an 8 or a 9 or maybe even a 10. Who knows? But yeah, it's amazing how much diet and exercise will change your
But it's so difficult.
life.
It's amazing how difficult it is too, though, to do.
But here's
it
what I
sounds
think.
so easy, and it is easy, but people just lack that discipline because it is easy to go through the drive.
But I think when people think diet and exercise, they think, okay, they go complete 180. They go extreme. Everything's extreme.
Yeah.
Well, I'm eating cheeseburgers every day, and I'm sitting on my butt every day. So now tomorrow I'm going to eat chicken and broccoli, and I'm going to do CrossFit every day. No. That's awful.
Right.
That's the worst idea ever. Just if you're gonna go to fast food restaurants, get water.
Kaizen, you got to do the Kaizen. You guys know what that is?
Uh-uh.
It's like, is that a Japanese system where you slowly integrate it?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
if I want to say you want to do a marathon,
Yeah.
what you do is tomorrow, all you do is you grab your running shoes and you put them by the door.
Yeah.
That's it. Then the next day, you do that again.
Yeah.
Then
That's
and
what
then
I'll
the third
allude
day,
to.
you put them on and then you tie them. And then you take them off and put them back by the
Yep.
door. And just
Slowly work your way into
slowly-
it. Yeah.
And then after a month or two, you're running a couple
Yeah.
miles. Yeah.
I think I've figured out is when hearing different people's experiences is what is sustainable. Like everyone's doing these different type of diets. Like right now, keto's the trend. Everybody's doing keto, and it works for some people, and
Right.
does not work for others. But that's the trend now. 5-10 years ago, maybe in 15 or 20, it was what was it? Atkins. Atkins was it.
Right.
That's the way to go. Well, that was a trend, and that came
Atkins was like a precursor to the
Kind
of the
keto
keto.
diet.
Yeah, it
Atkins
was
mixed with hydroxycut.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I knew people who lost a ton of weight. And you know what? Well, as soon as they went off of it, they put it right back on. And there's a YouTube channel that I love to watch. The guy's name is Alan Roberts. It's Every Damn Day Fitness.
You want more ice?
No, I'm good. This is fine.
And he just,
Oh, I meant to get you a cup.
I grabbed one earlier.
Oh, nice.
he's going to just drink straight from the bottle. No, he cuts to you straight. It's like you can't, I saw a quote that he might have reposted on Instagram. It's like, you can't outwork bad nutrition. So that's one. Like, meaning you can work out every single day of your life, but eat McDonald's every single meal. And you can't counter that. I know. You can't counter that. But when it comes to diet and exercise, if you are that person who is just sitting on your butt all day, you work at a desk job, you don't have to do CrossFit. You don't have to run a 5K the next day. Just walk. Walk for 10 minutes.
Start with stretching. Start doing like a
stretching's
little bit of
great.
yoga or
just
something.
Yeah.
move.
I have to do that every morning and every night.
Yeah.
I mean, some kind of yoga, man. I roll out on a foam roller and
Nice.
do and you feel like doing push-ups after that, and you feel like doing a little bit more physical activity.
And we're talking about being healthy while we're drinking,
yeah.
Well,
Jimmy
when
and
you're
Cokes.
healthy, you can drink, Jimmy. You've earned it.
Yeah, that's true.
We've
Exactly.
earned it.
Like tomorrow, I know realistically I'm probably gonna not eat until roughly 2 or 3 p.m. and I will
Intermittent fasting?
I'll hit the gym somewhere in the afternoon.
Yeah, I
So,
usually start eating around 1 and stop around 9 or 10.
yeah, I don't eat breakfast anymore because I've noticed I'm just not hungry. I'm not hungry in the mornings.
I
Yeah,
love
your
breakfast.
insulin levels out and adjusts for your
Oh,
new
man.
schedule.
I don't feel hungry. There's been times I've gone, the longest I've gone is 36-hour fasting, and it helps you realize what is true hunger and versus what's just a craving.
Right.
Like, what'd be as good as right now is a cheeseburger.
True
That's
hunger
not
is
hunger.
like
That's
it's like digesting X-Acto knives. I mean, it's like, oh god,
it helps you
so
kind of hit the
bad.
reset button on your
Right.
digestive system. So no, that's what. Yeah, kind of doing the intermittent fasting. And
Fasting's a good way
I'm
to
not.
get your
I'm like.
ketones up.
I'm not preaching it left and right. That's what works for me, and I don't really follow a diet. I just eat well. I just eat good. I just eat lean meats, fruits, and vegetables, and
Right.
every now and then I treat myself to a cookie.
Just try to
I
cut
don't-
out a little bit more crap every time.
Yeah, I don't fall off the wagon and go, wow, screw it, I'm just going to eat a whole pizza. It's like
Yeah.
if we eat a pizza, I'm eating 2 slices a night, even though I could eat the whole thing.
Right.
So what I've found, because years ago I used to do the extremes. I used to do CrossFit, and I used to go, I'm doing all paleo, and it worked. As soon as I stop paleo, I put the weight back on.
Wow.
So it's just do whatever is sustainable. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can eat this way for the rest of my life and be happy. But yeah, in my 20s, man, I ate terrible.
Everybody.
And apparently, yeah,
Yeah.
but
You eat what you can afford.
yeah, that's true.
I used to live out on Quick Trip back when the Quick Trip
Oh,
sandwiches were
man.
affordable.
Yeah. when
I
they're
know.
like-
Do you remember the chili dogs, like the $1.99 chili dogs?
I used to get the spicy
So
chicken and the ham and Swiss
Oh,
chicken.
yeah.
You
Oh.
put those in the microwave.
Now they're over
microwave at a
$5.
3.
They're over
Yeah,
$5.
that's why I said when they were affordable. I used to live in one. Yeah.
There's nothing convenient about
Yeah, I used
that.
to live in Wyandotte, man. That's what I'm telling you. That's all I could afford. Oh, I miss Wyandotte. Back before
I live over in White. Live in Bonner Springs.
You live in white person Wyandotte.
That's
No,
right.
Yeah.
I lived in the hood
I
Wyandotte.
live
back
on the
before
west
the
side of-
racetrack.
The west
Oh,
side
yeah.
of 435.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get Quindaro and
Yeah, I used to live on State Avenue.
Minnesota State. That's
Loved it.
it's a different
love it.
spot.
I
It's
love
cool. I go over there a lot to get Mexican food.
Go chicken go.
Oh. Diarrhea, chicken diarrhea.
Are you kidding me?
No, I get
Go
diarrhea.
Chicken
I
Go
get
is one of the
diarrhea.
top chicken joints in KC.
I
You
get
shut
di-
your
I
mouth.
get diarrhea every single time.
Are you what? What do you get?
Well, I can't eat fried chicken. Apparently,
Are
That
you
was
not
some
getting-
of that was some of the best stories on our podcast. And the thing is, they're still out there. It was just
diarrhea jokes.
what Kyle ate this week. Kyle would always be like, "I'm trying to eat so healthy. I have such a sensitive stomach."
Well, you have
And
to
then
punish yourself.
And then he'd come in with like, "Yeah, I ate 2 Quick Trip hot dogs and it destroyed me."
That chili was brutal, man.
I'd be sitting there just green. Like, like, I got food poisoning and showed up for the show multiple times.
Really?
Yeah, where I was just
A
like,
professional right there,
yeah,
ladies and
just
gentlemen.
glazed over, just all sweaty, and you could tell like I've got poison coursing through my body.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I try to eat organic
Mad
and I try to do
respect.
mostly vegan, but I ruined it with 2 Quick Trip hot dogs.
I've done really good since we canceled the show. I don't feel
Ooh.
the need to wreck myself anymore.
Good segue right there.
Yeah.
Why'd you guys cancel your show?
Oh, you want to get into that?
I do. I mean, like I said, I liked your show. I didn't realize it was that
It was all
big. It's
Josh's
crazy.
fault.
What? Why did you guys just all of a sudden it was gone?
I got to be real careful on how we put this.
Why? No one's gonna listen to this.
No, you don't need to use specific labels or anything. So from the word go, when we first started, we didn't have a lot of support, even from close friends and family. They didn't like it.
Who? I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked who, but what do you mean you didn't have support?
Meaning,
And from the beginning,
podcasts, I don't know. Podcasts it's a different animal
But
altogether.
who are you needing support from? You're just like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do unless you had.
Oh, we did. No, we still did.
yeah, well,
it.
yeah, we still-
obviously,
yeah, we
you
still
did it.
did it.
Yeah, but
Well,
But,
here's the thing. There
you
were
know,
different
like,
stages of it. There was
wives and
like,
family and all that.
yeah, there was like, oh, it's cute. Oh, it's cute. You guys are doing this
That's
on
cool.
Friday nights.
What a waste of time.
Then
When
it
are you
turns
gonna get a real
into
job?
yeah. Then it turns into oh, you guys are still doing this. Then the next stage is, come on, why are you guys doing this? And then it just turns into okay, well, I guess you guys are doing it anyway, so whatever.
how long did it go?
We started it early November of, was it 15 or 16?
I'll
I think it was 16.
Cinco de November.
Cinco de November
Yeah.
of
3 years?
2016.
2016.
Yeah. So definitely
Oh,
well over
shit.
3 years or 2 years for sure.
We got to like what
170
almost
Wow.
170 episodes. Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
when we first started, here's the thing is we have a lot of friends and family who, for lack of a better term, are very conservative. I'll use the word conservative.
Okay.
Didn't like the fact that we were putting ourselves out there because knowing that when you put yourself out there, you can kind of be attacked.
Who cares?
I don't. Well, they're friends and family, and that
But
was
even then,
that was a thing. At first, we didn't.
I'm
care.
an adult. Attack me.
Yeah, so we were
Okay.
okay. When you don't have support from your close friends and family, and you're still barreling through it, it's tough. But after a while, like I think your wife particularly at first really didn't like it, but after we went out to LA, she really then got on board.
She's like, okay, you guys
Yeah.
are getting legit guests on.
And that's the thing is the legitimacy really started to take off.
How
It's
long
like,
did it take you to go to LA? How long were you guys doing your podcast?
first year, right? It was
No, well, we started in November. It was the following October. We went out to LA.
Okay.
So almost a year.
Almost
into
a
it.
year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's
We had
and,
our 100th
and plus
episode,
plus
right?
two, Kyle's a very nice guy, and Kyle is very skilled in a lot of areas, and he's been taken advantage of a lot. So, you know, people be like,
I've gotten tied up to join a lot of cults. And
I'll be like, hey, Kyle Murphy, I've got a great idea for you. All it's going to take is an investment of $5,000.
Kool-Aid, I love Kool-Aid. I'm there.
But I told the guys, I'm like, hey,
I've been same boat.
I'm buying all the
Yeah.
equipment.
You put yourself out there all the time, and it's just
Yeah.
it's going to happen a lot.
I'm buying all the equipment. I'm like, I'm not asking any money from you guys. If we make any money, all I ask is that it just goes back to me to help pay off some of the equipment.
Right.
After that, then we profit share, split. Okay.
Cool.
So we started Patreon. We
Oh,
had,
really?
We had some support from the Patreon. We started making a little bit of money.
We had a pretty good support from
We were
Patreon
making-
right away.
Yeah, we were making money
Nice.
off of Patreon.
Cool.
We had a Patreon audience where we said, "Hey, we're going to make more real and raw episodes for the Patreons." You know, hey, if you enjoy us enough, we're going to make episodes exclusively for
I mean, some dark stuff.
That's where we got really dark. It was like really like, "Hey, this is who
I
we
was
really
talking
are."
about like my mom developing cancer and my dad beating me, and Josh is talking about molestation and all this other stuff, and
Okay.
like really getting
Yeah.
Right.
Very heavy-handed stuff.
But we made it
Only for the Patreon.
we
people.
made it comedic, yeah, just for the Patreons.
Yeah.
most of
Nice.
the, most
Okay.
of that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It's like, hey, if you're paying money for it,
Yeah,
you,
I thought-
you deserve something special the
Yeah.
general audience doesn't
I've
get.
joked around with doing that because you guys would know, you have podcasts after the podcast.
Yeah.
I've thought about just putting that up as the Patreon. I've had some.
Yeah. Oh, I had that. The best example
fact,
was
I'll-
Neandertalk after dark.
Yes.
the best was Rob McGee from Q39.
Oh, dude,
that's the
so
thing.
funny.
Our mentality, we're like, if we're gonna get guests, we are going after. We were 3 episodes in. We're like, we're shooting for the stars, man, in Kansas City.
Like Slide James. Let's get the
yeah,
president. of this
we
place.
I got in contact with the office of Sly James. I don't think they liked our show, so that's why it never happened. But yeah, we got Rob McGee. And Rob McGee, I'm asking him all these questions, and they're so, for lack of a better term, just very safe. Listen to that episode if on Spotify with Rob McGee. It's the most safe, corporate sounding answers you'll ever hear. As soon as I hit record, Rob McGee, just the real guy, comes out. I was like, I want to beat everyone else in this Kansas City. It's like, I just want to destroy them when it comes to barbecue. It's like, I'm going to kick all their butts. It's going to be great.
like
Like,
easy.
where's the button? Where do I hit record?
Right.
But
You just leave it on until you pack it in your trunk.
Yeah.
That's the trick.
so we did it for a long time. We had one kind of major hiccup. That's the thing. It's like we knew that friends and family who are very conservative knew we were doing it, and occasionally they would listen. And we tried our hardest to be very, very safe with it. Like, of course, humor is subjective.
Yeah.
So what you joke about, what person A finds funny, person B may not find funny, and person C may find borderline offensive.
Just got into that this past weekend on Facebook.
And it's the most safe joke ever from your perspective. So we had a hiccup, like roughly around a year we were doing it. We kind of got over it. It's like, okay, whatever.
A hiccup? You
We
made a
had
bad
somebody
joke or
who,
something?
no, just when people hunt for stuff to be offended by, and
Fuck them.
And then
And
they
they-
start like movements.
yeah,
Wait a minute. You
And they
guys
re-
got that big where somebody was hunting, like trying to find
We
shit
had
and get
like
offended?
Yeah, like
groups
going-
of
going-
people.
So what? That's good for business.
well, it was, and we
Come at me, bro.
we even joked about it on the
Come
podcast.
at
I'm
me,
like,
bro.
hey,
Hate me.
thanks for helping out our download
Yeah,
numbers.
thanks for listening, and for all those that are hate listening, thank you too.
But it just, even on a smaller scale, it would still happen repeatedly, and it just got old after a while. And then this last time, something big happened again, and it just after a while, like, I can't
Stress.
deal with this.
Well,
just the stress.
Just the stress of it.
And
I
we
get it.
we would have pushed through it, but
And then Josh said,
he said, "I'm
out."
done."
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, okay, well,
When 1/3 of your show decides not to do it anymore, that's a huge bump in the road. And I get where it was coming from.
What happened? What was the
Just again, people being upset when you have
about
some,
what? What did you say that upset
That's the thing.
anybody?
I mean, some of the stuff is very frivolous. Like,
don't even
hey,
remember.
this is really offensive. You did this, and
then
this.
don't listen. Fuck you. Anybody
I mean,
listens to
that's-
my show is
I-
you don't like my
He's
shit.
making
fuck
good points.
You.
He's making.
Oh no,
Fuck
I know.
you.
No, I know.
I
And-
don't care. Say all you want. You're
And-
an anonymous name on the internet.
And Matt and I,
I'm doing what I
Matt
want
and
for
I were
my
more-
therapy.
we-
Fuck you.
we were more that way for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
We were more like, yeah, we're just gonna keep doing this because we love.
I know I'm a wreck.
Yeah.
And if you listen to my show, you know that I know I'm a wreck, and that's why you're probably
We've been wanting to transfer into doing more videos and stuff because we were getting into like he's got like straight up movie making equipment, like real legit stuff.
You know, I'm not trying to stroke my own ego, but
Do
as far
it.
as the production side, I'm doing most of the work. And so when I'm doing this, I'm doing Joel's podcast, I'm producing both. We're doing the videos, I'm editing, I'm producing that, I'm uploading, I'm all that. I mean, when
You're
Josh,
lining up guests and
yeah,
places
I'm
to do
scheduling, I'm all
videos
this sort of
and-
stuff. And
That's a lot.
It's a
man.
lot of
and
work.
when
That's a
Josh
lot.
said I'm out, I think collectively, because we all went to we went to the sushi restaurant, and that's
Yeah.
when I got the feeling. I'm like, I think in the back of my mind, I'm like,
it just came out of nowhere, just like the Kansas
I
City
know.
podcast. All of a sudden, boom! I quit.
and
Yeah.
I get from where he was coming from. Like you could tell something really rough with his family happened, and I can put two and two together. I have a feeling what I think happened, but I'm not going to go into detail
That's
on that
fine.
because that's speculation.
Sure.
But I understand from our end, we just one day disappeared, and we took all our episodes off except for Spotify.
Yeah,
because
why?
we're like, I'm so sick and tired of people nitpicking me to death with listening to my podcast with the agenda of trying to bring me down. And I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll take it down, but we're going to do something else. And it's just, I know from certain people's perspectives, I sound like a wuss.
No, I
But
get it.
for my own mental health and for my own,
It was a
Sure.
lot for
Well-being.
all of us.
and we were even talking on the way over. I miss it, man. I
Yeah.
really miss it.
I was gonna ask if this kind of brought back a little.
Oh yeah,
It's fun.
Is this
Oh,
the
that's-
first podcast you guys have done?
yeah.
since
It's the
you've
first
quit?
time I've had a microphone.
I was
in front of
wondering
my
if you
face.
guys were kind of missing it out doing
Oh
this.
my
with
gosh,
A
yes.
little rusty for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You forget how to talk right.
What are words?
What?
I've scripted everything Kyle said beforehand. No, but it's
Huh.
I feel on one hand it's
Really
opened up.
Golly, that sucks. You
It's
guys had. That's disappointing, man. As a fan,
I
I was a
know.
late fan,
And
you know.
that was what was really sad. That's what really
why
hit
let
hard.
a couple.
It was a well-established
you-
business. We had a website.
Yeah, we were
had
making
all
money
these
off of it.
Wow.
Great reviews. We had a big Patreon.
As soon as it
following.
was gone, that's when we found out how many people listened.
because then it was just mail.
People messaging us, commenting on our posts, and like, "Oh my God, I love this." People who we would generally label as very conservative, very uptight. We're like, "I love your guys' show, man. This sucks. I can't believe you're getting rid of it." We're like, and that hurt. And then what really hit hard, and I haven't even told any of the guys this, was that when we were done with the show, we had 3 episodes in the can, and we're like, you know what?
Oh no.
We had I started uploading to the Patreons, and man, the Patreons they were upset, and they're still upset.
Of course, those are your heart.
Some
the
yeah,
diehards.
those
some
are
of
the
them-
They're
hard.
giving you
Some of
money.
them were paying $20 a month
Yeah.
to listen to our
Still
extra stuff, dude.
not mad like you jerks, like
right, no,
upset, like we
man.
loved your show. We were contributing to the financial stability of your show. I
Fuck.
said, listen, we'll take these 3 unaired episodes because I'm not giving any more fuel to the fire for people to split hairs over. This was offensive, and you can't joke about this. So I let them
What
upload
could
it.
you joke about?
You
You guys, we talked a while ago.
You know,
about
like
that
when
you
you
guys
make
had
like
a
Muhammad jokes.
You guys had a concerted effort to kind of keep it.
that's what sucks. That's
So
what really,
what
really
was
sucks.
it that they said was offensive? What was it?
You know what? At
Can
one,
I ask?
Yeah, at one
I
point in
can't-
time.
I mean, like we made a Jesus joke or something.
yeah, and it was taken wrong.
people lost their minds.
So-
dude.
Like we were basically the joke was alluding to that Jesus was extremely buff and ripped, and somehow someone took it like,
dude, it was the most benign joke.
Oh, yeah,
you've
so-
ever heard.
I've heard that joke before. Like,
Yeah.
look at him on a cross. He's
Right.
shredded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's shredded.
and then one was.
He was doing push-ups. Jesus was doing push-ups before he was.
Oh,
making-
I remember one. One was
houses
brought up
with his,
how
he's a carpenter.
we interviewed Jeff Dye, and Jeff Dye was telling his story in a very autobiographical format. He's like, "Hey, here's how I rose up from being 0 to a pretty well-known comic."
Right.
And he was saying I was living in my car. He goes, I would get gym memberships just so I'd have a place to shower. Yeah, exactly. And then he said, I would spend the night over at women's houses just so I'd have he goes, I would spend the night with random women just so I'd have a bed to sleep in.
Amen to that. Am I right?
Well, and then he moves on, and then he's basically bullet pointing. Well, it was brought to our attention that that was offensive because we were talking about a man frivolously, spending.
It was like that.
Yeah, I mean, like splitting
things.
hairs over stuff, and the fact that it was on our platform, like borderline, we were promoting.
Jeff Dye, if you're out there and you want to come talk about banging chicks so you can have a place to stay, we'll talk about it together. We will share stories. Jeff Dye, hit me up. Neandertalkpodcast@gmail.com.
If we were joking about, I don't know, just like dark comedy like Hitler, and I mean, we joked about racism, and that wasn't even really brought up. Or anything. We joked about racism. We poked holes in racism so much. We just joked about race to the point of like exhaustion. But no one ever said anything about that. It was so funny.
It's weird.
Our also mentality was very. It's always sunny in Philadelphia. Like we painted.
Love that. No show makes me laugh harder.
Yeah,
than
we
that
painted
show.
ourselves as morons so we could get away with a little bit. But when people go through your show with the agenda to find fault with it and they blast you for it, that hurts. After
Knock yourself out.
No, I'm good, man.
He's good.
So we just decided. You know
still
what?
got work.
I think it's better to just get rid of it. And so we did, and yeah, it sucks because I invested thousands of dollars into the show, a lot of equipment, a lot of time spent on just how to produce it, a lot of time and effort in just putting the thing together. And
fuck that, ain't nobody shutting this shit down. I'll tell you that right now. The only one shutting this podcast down is me because my own reasons, and not because some asshole is coming at me. Fuck you.
Yeah, and I know I sound
Fuck
like a wimp.
you.
I know I sound like a wimp.
I'm not even. I understand it.
Yeah,
I'm not coming at you like that. I don't mean to be like that.
Yeah.
That's just. But
it was a shame because as soon as we took it off, man, people came out of the woodwork who we never had heard from.
So
I think you messaged us too.
I did.
You did a comment on our post. It's like, man, I didn't realize all these people were listening. And they listened. What was really saddening was because they listened for the same reason we put it out there to begin with, was that we wanted to be the fun, silly reprieve from the heavy-handed crap. And when someone comes at you with a bullet-pointed list and puts you in the same league as that, it's like, you don't get it, but fine. Whatever.
The people coming at you, did you know them personally, or was it just internet
yes
people?
And no.
Some of them.
Yeah, some of them. No, it wasn't. I mean, it's a mix of everything, and that's the thing. When it's coming from different directions, it's just.
I mean, you got to remember, like the God Hates Fags Church is in Kansas.
Westboro Baptist.
Yeah, it's in Kansas.
Phelps's.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, and those people are crazy.
Right, which is why you don't give them any credo.
Gun toting, they'll come to your place. I mean, it's just
they're all talk. They
But,
ain't gonna do shit.
I mean-
Fuck you, Westboro. You ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna do shit.
But
they're all closeted.
The part that I think some people have a hard time understanding, you'll probably find this too, is that when you're a creative person, you have to have some sort of
Gotta have
outlet.
something.
Gotta have something. Kyle, what do you draw? You do crafts. You do all this
art,
stuff.
build musical instruments, teach music.
Yeah.
Paint.
And I
Wow.
do photography full time. I mean that's what pays the bills.
Wow.
And some people go, which your photography is your job. And to me, my argument against that is like, that's a guy who loves computers, who does IT work for a living. Oh, granted, that pays the bills, but he also loves to, and his hobby loves to write code for cool games. It's like, that's not the same thing.
Right.
And so, yes, I do this type of photography to pay the bills, but I also have creative outlets. And especially for a creative, when someone destroys your work, that hurts. That really hurts. I don't care how callous someone comes off like, yeah, I don't care. You can say whatever. It hurts.
I'm not saying I wouldn't be hurt if someone came at me.
But the thing on our end, it was repeated. And it just got worse. Worse and worse and worse.
And Matt and I were prepared to put up with it, I think.
I'm kind of gathering that, yeah.
But you lose a third of the show, and like Josh, I mean, he was a comedic powerhouse. Like
Yeah,
we were
he's
3
funny.
characters of a show.
he came up with a lot of really funny stuff for the show. And
Josh,
videos, so.
he carried a lot of that. He was the butt of a lot of jokes, and it wasn't to be mean at him. It was because he set himself up that way. He wrote so many skits where he was the butt of the
The
joke.
toast, making the toast one.
Yeah,
He
and I mean,
he
like,
came up with like how dumb is Josh, a whole segment where we quiz him on basic math skills or basic geometry or just
we would take simple
geez.
elementary school subjects and intermix
that'd
Star
be-
Wars
oh.
trivia, and see. And this was 100% legit. How uneducated that boy is when it comes to basic elementary knowledge versus Star Wars trivia, and he would nail Star Wars trivia and some of the simplest elementary level questions he could not get. And I mean, stuff like that. And then, I mean, one thing that really took off was the Jeff Foxworthy skits we would do, where Josh would pretend to be Jeff Foxworthy, and I mean, we were hitting
it
our
was so
stride, man.
silly. It was really goofy.
And I mean, we would honestly, like I think you said on a podcast before, you're biased because you think your show is the best. Obviously, we thought ours was the best, and we were.
You got to
we had to look
be your
at
biggest fan.
We had to look at our show objectively time and time again because we found ourselves at certain points getting into a rut and going, I don't think our show is as funny
you
as we
listen
want.
to it objectively, and you're like, man, this whole section could have been
Oh,
cut,
yeah, I
cut
get
out,
that.
or
So
we could have done this.
We
to
would
make it way
we would send a
funnier.
text message to each other and go, let's meet up. Let's come up with a new strategy. We
Wow.
did this about every 4 months. We're like, we would meet outside of the studio, go to lunch, and bullet point a plan on how to make the show
There's different
better.
dynamics when there's three of you doing one podcast. Me, it's just me.
Yeah. In which it's a good and a bad thing.
Oh, no, for
Obviously,
sure.
the bad thing, because if one person says I'm out, that's a whole third of your show that it's gone.
Is it? Can't you guys do just the two of you?
We probably could, and
Probably
we
could.
may.
Yeah,
Would-
I'm
it
not
would-
saying podcast
What-
is out completely.
Are you afraid of it? Because you would think it would be like a slap to
It was
his
just
face?
such a
like,
it was such a stress.
maybe take a break and then do it.
I think
again and
that's
then
what we're doing now.
Rebrand it.
We
Maybe?
still have
Yeah,
all the
yeah. I
episodes,
think we'd probably rebrand it to something else.
we could do like a review
City Cam.
podcast. City
see.
Cam.
At one point, I wanted to re-upload all the MP3s just to a new title called Schman Schmitty.
Schman schmitty smash smash.
Because there's so many people who are like, I just want it. Because when you remove your account, you inadvertently delete all your episodes off iTunes.
Hey, is there an F5 tornado outside?
That's what it sounds like. Is that a train?
It's a train.
Yeah.
It sounds just
I
like a
had one in
tornado.
Olathe.
Yeah.
Oh man, Olathe.
But
Most people just ignore it. And
But
we just
we're-
pretend it's not out there.
I've been
like
away
I
from-
don't live in the
I-
hood.
Dude, no, because I grew up right next to the tracks, and it's like it like shakes you.
I
Almost.
actually live on the other side of the tracks.
Which side though? The good side?
No. I never want to be on the good side.
Yeah.
Those
I
are
mean,
not my people.
This is reality right here.
Yeah.
This is good
the
stuff.
the beauty is
you got good people around here. I'm
what
sure.
we're doing now. We're laying low.
I've been here for 2 months.
Been here at the studio for
Yeah.
this.
It's a good
this-
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
not
like
bad.
this is your living room. This is cool.
I'm
No, my
sure
living room's upstairs.
Oh, is it?
some people who probably follow us on Instagram are like, "Where are you guys? We're laying low for a while." Kyle, you started your own YouTube channel, didn't you?
Yeah,
Do
Green Apple DIY, but we just do
Oh,
like
I didn't know that.
yeah.
I just knew that the Kansas
We've-
City media,
Yeah.
We've it's just my wife and I, and we've put out one video and it was stupid. So
that's how it starts, though.
we're gonna
you
get
gotta put
better,
something.
So.
I started my own YouTube channel called Wild Card Sharp, where I'm just gonna start reviewing like just anything and everything. I mean, that's why it's called Wild Card.
Okay.
And I dress up in a suit.
Those
I
are
look,
big. The
I look
review
nice.
Shit.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
are.
I look nice, and I'll dress up real nice, and that's the
Right.
little shtick is that
Okay.
I'm looking dapper every single video. But
Well, you were already prepared because you had 170 podcast episodes and videos that you'd made.
oh yeah,
as
I had
practice.
I had
so.
all the equipment, all
Right,
the video equipment. So
right.
I'm coming out, and again, like I said, I don't do anything with half the effort. When I'm out of the gate, I want that video looking professional. So I've only
Yeah.
got 3 videos up now. Probably the next one, I might actually throw up the review. We're gonna see Dumbo.
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see Dumbo on Tuesday. We still get early screens to a lot of movies. So because
Still,
we're still
do movie reviews. so.
Okay.
yeah, we'll probably do some. I'm assuming we'll do something with Boulevardia. Maybe Joel will be
Oh, cool.
involved this time. But
I think the
basically,
video-
it's just we're migrating over to video. For one, video is more.
I've noticed that, but you guys have only done like really 2.
Yeah,
since
the counter
the
to it is
podcast,
there's
right?
more involved with video.
I figured.
We're
And
still
plus-
a little butthurt,
Yeah, and
Are
we,
ya?
we were
Probably,
and we've
right?
been laying
A
low.
little bit, yeah.
We've been laying low.
Oh my God, guys!
staying quiet for a
You
while.
guys are professionals. Can you hold court for 1 minute while I pee?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, go for it.
I do this every podcast.
Yeah,
I got
okay.
professionals this time. Talk about whatever.
So boogers, huh?
Let's get
They just keep growing out of your nose.
poopity poop
Yeah.
fart. Oh, this feels like home.
God, I missed comedy. Okay, I'll have some more Jim Beam. Yeah, the podcast world is it's really something.
It's so weird because there's again, I still stick to it. You ask 10 random people on the street, do you know what a podcast is? 4 of them will say yes.
It's crazy.
4 of them will say yes. 2 of them will say they listen to them fairly regularly.
And they've been around for a while now.
Yeah.
Most people just recognize the little icon on their iPhone.
Well, you know what I found is that the problem with podcasts versus other types of media is that podcasts are open-ended.
Yeah.
That's the problem. There's no story arc, really. There's really not. And when you leave things open-ended, you are putting yourself out there, and that leaves you up for attack. That honestly does. So, and it sucks. It's like, well, we didn't like the story you told. That's what really happened. That's
Right.
really me. Do you want me to dance around this? And
I think reality is tough for people, though.
that's what it is. You have to put on airs that everything is perfect sometimes. And when you try to put yourself out there that I'm a good person, and yet here are my imperfections, people go, no, you're not supposed to talk about your imperfections.
Yeah, you talk about your childhood and some crazy stuff. And
Yeah, and
it's
you're
like,
supposed to pretend that everything's perfect. It's like, no, I struggle just as much as the next guy. The difference is I wear it a little bit more on my sleeves than the next guy. And the next guy pretends that he's a holy roller and everything's perfect. Thanks for listening to the Kansas City Podcast. We're joined now by Ryan.
live in studio, straight out of the toilet.
Hold for sponsor Jim Bean.
Yeah.
Jim Bean, the best whiskey that money can buy. Hold for editing and go.
I actually did. I was thinking about a few episodes ago. I went to my local liquor store and they had this thing called Wyoming whiskey.
Yeah.
It's like a small batch, like a small company, and they had it on sale. It was the best whiskey I've ever had.
Really?
And I was talking about it on the podcast. I thought about taking that clip out and sending it to them and being like, hey, if you guys just send me a bottle every week or two, I'll talk about your shit every single week.
And you'd be surprised.
And they have a small following on Instagram.
It might be a perfect match. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like reach out to someone who's up and coming just like you are.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, yeah, this will be synonymous. This will work out.
We
really,
did that
really
with
well.
Stoke Coffee, and now they're huge.
Yeah.
Thanks to us.
Thanks to us.
Yeah.
All us.
Hell
No,
yeah.
we
They're in Walmart now. Did you see that?
it's crazy, man.
Jeez.
Yeah. They've blown up. We saw them in like South Dakota too.
For a small amount of time, we had a small little shtick going
they
with
sent
Stoke Coffee.
Yeah, Stoke Coffee, man. They sent us a whole pallet to his house.
Yeah.
Like,
Tons of Stoke Coffee. We bumped into them
How?
at Boulevardia. Well, we bumped into them at Boulevardia.
I've never been to Boulevardia. I'd love to go.
We've
really
covered
fun.
it the last 3 years, I
Yeah.
think, right?
Yeah,
We're covering it this year too, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm sure. I need to ask Jenna about do it more video. So we I can't remember how we got involved with Boulevardia, but anyway, so they said, yeah, we'll do a podcast at
Jeremy
Boulevardia.
Danner or something?
No, we didn't meet Jeremy until the next time we.
Jeremy
did
said he would do my podcast, but then I've been getting at him and I haven't heard back from him yet. Jeremy.
he did our podcast.
He's got a lot going.
Yeah.
I know he does.
He's the brand ambassador or something for Boulevard.
I think so. Yeah. But we did.
Got linked up with Chris Agarian from 909 The Bridge.
We bumped into one of the tents, which was the Stoke Coffee folks, and
We tried it. We were like, this is legit.
oh,
This is
so
good stuff.
good. And then they were asking us about what we do. And again, you're like you're there with your media badges, and you look legit. Like, yeah, we're the Kansas City Podcast.
And we
It's
were
all
the-
about perception,
We were
man.
we were the only podcast allowed in the
Yeah,
last
yeah.
3 years with media badges.
And so
stuff,
they're asking us our information or whatever. And then, like about a week or two later, I get an email completely out of the blue from someone at HQ from Stoke. Said, hey, one of our media or one of our marketing reps there at the festival said it might be good to reach out to you. Let's talk. Well, they were based in Denver. Coincidentally, because I'm an architectural photographer, I was shooting a hotel out in Denver. So I'm like, and again, it's about perception. And I said, I'm going to be in Denver in June. How about I go, since I'm out there, I come by and talk to you in person. Like, yeah, this is great. So I talked with the media rep and kind of works out. They basically said, well, we probably couldn't exchange any money at the time, but what they would do is they just basically keep sending us
Drugs.
product.
And that's
Oh,
cool.
products,
That's
yeah.
what you want, right?
Like, yeah.
I would be stoked with something
And
like that.
no
I'll
pun
take
intended.
anything from you. Oh, come on now.
I still have like some of those little pods.
Yeah,
They
little
send us these
caffeine
little
shots.
They look like creamer packets, but they're actually an espresso shot.
Full of like concentrated espresso.
Like cold brew espresso.
Mix it
Yeah.
with water or something?
No, you just pop it.
pop
so
it.
you can grab a couple of them to go and be like, I got to drink my coffee.
And wired.
And you're good to go.
But yeah, that worked out for a while.
Wow.
We had a kind of a little shtick going with them, but then I think they changed. Somebody quit and changed hands, and then they looked at us like, oh, you're just a dumb little podcast in
I
Kansas
got
City.
I think
And
Boulevard, we've gotten a couple of maybes on a sponsorship. So
Roastery's one I'm trying to work on now for Joel's show. That's
they're
tough.
friends. So
The communication's a little tough with them. So they love the video.
It was fun. It was a good.
Yeah.
So you can do a tour at the roastery. That'd be fun to do.
And you
I'd
do the
that.
tasting at the end, and
Yeah.
it's all, and I put it to him like, this is basically an entertaining commercial for you guys.
Yeah.
We film it, we produce it, and if at the very least you could share it on your social
and
media
nobody else
platform.
is making that, you know.
Yeah,
Like
we
that-
wanted to
Free
put
it wouldn't
advertising. Why wouldn't
exist.
they want
yeah.
to do that?
We
Yeah.
want to put it almost like a, kind of a news segment / almost like a travel channel type segment.
Oh, that's a better way. When I was kind of likening it to a news segment. It is more of a travel channel.
Yeah.
type.
Like not to do it
Diners and
stage,
diners
just
But,
real
yeah,
life, like
YouTube travel
Well,
channel.
I loved Bourdain's show, because he'd show up and meet with like real artisans in their field, and like you could tell he loved people.
That one hurt.
Yeah, that was
That death hurt.
That was a
a
tough
hard.
one.
There was that one, and I don't know if you guys will probably know this one. Stephen Brody Stevens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That one
He
hurt,
was
too.
playing the Comedy Store that night we were there. Yeah.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, you'd recognize
You got
him
it.
if you saw him.
Yes. Positive push.
Yeah.
818 till I die.
That's right. This was within the past month.
I
Just-
was in
just-
the Hangover.
just happened like
Hangover
a week or
2.
two.
Why aren't you laughing?
Yeah, that's a pretty good impression. Dude, he was funny. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, very dry, like mechanical humor.
Yeah.
But it worked, man.
That was
So
one of the
funny.
funnest nights going out to the Comedy Store.
It was
man.
awesome getting to sit like 5 feet away from Chappelle.
I
man.
lifted 250 pounds today. Her name was Sheila, and it was at Curbs.
Oh, it's too good.
yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I liked him a lot.
But Bourdain show, that's kind of what I'd like to do. I'd like to meet with some more interesting people that have interesting jobs,
We've just
Around
yeah.
Kansas City, or do you want to
Just
see
anywhere,
bigger?
man, anywhere. I
Yeah.
mean, we're not bound by Kansas City.
So what are
anymore,
your kind of plans with? So your first kind of, all right, we're done with the Kansas City podcast.
Sure.
You guys said we're moving on to the YouTube
think-
platform.
I think we're coming
right?
into that period where
You've done two or three episodes since canceling the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
What is your vision, and like how consistent? How often are you going to put shit out? And like what's your guys' vision?
Ideally,
with all this? Have you
I
put
would-
it out there yet?
Yeah, ideally, I would love to do 2 videos a month, and I know that doesn't sound like a lot.
No,
but
that is
the
a lot.
type-
That sounds good.
lot of
The
work.
type of videos that we do, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of planning.
I think that's perfect for YouTube because that gives a lot of people to get. They don't.
I would rather put out 1 or 2 great video,
Yeah.
good high quality videos a month, than rather do 2 subpar videos a week. I just
Exactly.
have one or
think that
2
works.
great, solid, well produced, well edited.
and
videos.
after you get a library, you're gonna have these people finding you.
Yeah.
Once you grow, that are gonna go back and watch
And that's the
older
goal,
stuff.
is
So
you
it's,
put
it's all
enough-
about building.
Yeah, you put
Yeah.
enough of these out there that someone who does have a business who would make for an entertaining video goes, man, I would love for my business to be showcased in that light.
I think to this day, if you type in like Boulevard Beer on YouTube, I think our video is one of the top.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we type in roastery tour.
Roastery
we're the
tour,
top
yeah.
result right now.
And people like before, like if they're coming to Kansas City to tour the roastery, they want to see that, and so
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and the more of those spread out all over the world you have, like the more of a you're casting a wider net.
And again,
So-
there's a million videos out there, but we didn't want our videos to be like, hey, I'm Matt, I'm at the roastery tour, and here's what's going on. It's a bunch of
Right.
awkward pauses, and it's dead air. It's like, no, we want these videos to be quick and entertaining and funny and entertaining for everyone who's watching it, and then the company who we're highlighting loves it, kind of be the best of both worlds. and all the feedback we've gotten so far is great.
It's phenomenal. Your guys' stuff is phenomenal.
Thank you.
It's going to get better, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just gets
I mean,
better
like,
time.
like since your campaign video.
Yeah,
like
the
that's when
campaign
that
video
one we
was
put
That's
a
just
lot
that
of
you
thought
guys-
into.
yeah.
We
was
were
cool.
like, if we're going to fight for best podcast, let's make a campaign video. Vote for Kansas City.
Honestly, I wanted to get pyrotechnics involved
I bet you
and
did.
really take it up a
Of course
notch.
you did.
Have like a Led Zeppelin cover band in the back.
See, I'm
Like,
wondering though this year if Joel's going to be up for pushing it. That'd be so hilarious to do a campaign-esque type video.
I think
with
Joel could win.
Nichols.
I think Joel could win.
I don't know. There's somebody else in that room I think is going to campaign hard for it too. So
I have campaigned for it.
For the
but-
pitch one?
Yeah, just
How
for
do you
the-
how do you campaign for it though?
by saying I'm campaigning
well,
for it.
they go through 2 levels.
I have no idea. All I've done is
I don't even know what the criteria
All
is.
I have done, I don't either. All I have said is I'm campaigning to be the best podcast in Kansas City, and I've done hashtag best local podcast in Kansas City for the pitch or some shit like that. I don't know. It's kind of in jest,
Yeah.
but also just putting, hey, I do have a podcast in
Yeah.
Kansas City. You might like it. I believe in it. I don't. I think I won't win. I know who's gonna win.
Who? Oh,
Open Belly,
Open Belly. What's that?
brand fucking new. It's like NPR.
Oh,
They
really?
do 30.
Yeah,
They do 30 minutes, heavily produced. I'm having her on my podcast.
Oh, really?
It might even be next week. It's heavily produced. She goes to like immigrant family restaurants where they're doing like Mexican or Middle Eastern, Lebanese, and like getting their backstory of the family and the food.
Oh, cool.
It's like 30 minutes long.
yeah.
It's really good. It's
Sounds
really good,
awesome.
and it's what you guys were looking for. It's the soccer mom is gonna. This is what
Yeah.
you when you listen to it, you're like, oh yeah, they're gonna win. They're
Yeah.
just like what people want to listen
See,
to.
and we
Yeah.
kind of had that feeling going in. We honestly, in the back of our minds, I think we thought, man, wouldn't it be funny if we won? And
Taco
but-
the Town could get up there too.
I think Taco the
Taco the
Town.
Town's great.
Yeah, Taco the Town. Dave's been running with it, and he's hit it pretty hard. My only concern is that when you follow one shtick and everything has to be centered around one subject, you might paint yourself into a corner.
Yeah.
And that's why we didn't want to do that. We
Yeah.
were like, that's another reason why we called ourselves Can City, because even you had to make the connection. People are like, huh? So
Well,
like
I knew it right away. What it
well,
was.
that's a good and a bad thing, because some people even from Kansas City don't.
What was the
No,
name
they-
of that one you just mentioned?
Open Belly.
Open Belly. I'm gonna
So we're
check
like,
them out.
if we just name ourselves in a sideways way of naming ourselves based off a geographic area, we can do and talk about anything. We don't have
Right.
to paint ourselves in a corner. But if you're like, hey, this is the pizza podcast and everything has to be pizza centric,
Yeah.
there's some people could care less about pizza and they'll never
Yeah.
listen to your show.
Yeah.
So that was my only fear. Like, if everything is Kansas City, that was my fear with Cole, is that on a national scale, people who live in Orlando are never going to care about your podcast.
Right.
And honestly, what happened is, like, from our end, what we did over time, when we came out of the gate, majority of 90% of our audience was from Kansas and Missouri. Then when we started looking at the analytics, although the audience grew substantially, the percentage of Kansas and Missouri listeners went down.
Really?
Relative, we started long story short, we started getting more popular in other states
Countries.
as time went on.
Yeah.
South
We
America.
had Florida and California, which was huge.
Brazil.
Wyoming and West Virginia for some
Yeah.
reason.
Oh, I want to get that Wyoming. Like I said,
They
Wyoming
gotta
whiskey.
get that
I
Wyoming
gotta get that
demographic.
Wyoming.
You gotta get
Shit.
both of those dudes.
Shit. I got. You guys should. My next guest is gonna come in wearing a cowboy hat.
Just go in the phone book, pick anybody from Wyoming, you'll be fine.
That's a cool state, man. You been there?
I want to
Cheyenne?
go
I
so
love
bad.
It, man.
I've been to Montana, Wyoming. Have I been to Wyoming? I might have been to. I used to live in South Dakota,
Oh, nice.
so I've been on those.
I love that. I love
In
that
that
whole
area.
area.
Black. I lived in
Hills.
Rapid City.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
Yeah,
It's a good drive.
Nice.
It's a good drive. Great hunting. Great fishing. Great camping. Great hiking.
Yeah.
If you like the outdoors, Rapid City is like a sweet little pocket that not many people talk about.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. Like 12 hours.
If that.
Yeah.
At the it might be more like 10.
Yeah. I want to
Depending.
go tonight.
Let's do it.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, we're refocusing, we're recomposing,
Okay.
we're just maneuvering our talents and our skills to other areas that are a little bit more palatable
Is it
to the mass.
just The two of you and Joel.
Right now, it's mainly the two of us, and we use Joel.
We
Joel's a
Joel,
great
just bring
vehicle,
him out of the
honestly. And
closet.
yeah, I'm not kidding. Joel's a
Of course.
great. Joel's a great name drop. You could be like, "Hey, we want to do this."
If you're from Kansas City, you
Oh,
know
you
Joel.
know who Joel Nichols is? Yeah. You can be like, "Hey, we're gonna do this," and
Just
Joel
from
Nichols
Twitter. You guys just randomly hit Twitter, and now you guys
and he
are...
regrets answering us every single day.
No, he
for the
doesn't.
rest
He
of the
loves you
I
guys.
think, I
You can
think
see
he
it.
liked
so
us.
sincere.
Yeah, I think he liked us right away. I think he liked our show.
Joel knows comedic timing, and we both had this subconscious vibe right from the word go of what he could get away with and the parts we fell into. He knew that he was going to be the wisecracking old man who ripped us a new butthole.
How tall is he?
He's not taller than me.
5'10".
He's probably 5'9", 5'10". Yeah.
Okay.
But actually, a lot of people on television are very short.
Hey, that's what
Except Chris Katz.
Yeah.
That guy is 8 feet tall. Chris Katz is 8 feet tall.
I think he's about
Chris
the same height
Katz
as me.
gets what Chris Katz wants.
Yeah, he's Ron Burgundy for sure.
Taylor Jimenez, is that his name? Remember, he was the guy who wanted to see Adam, what's his name, from Top Gear. He's pretty tall.
Yeah.
He's like 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, he's on 41.
He was the only other news anchor I ever saw that was pretty tall. Michelle Davidson, the blonde who was...
Tiny.
Who was your biggest guest that you guys got on? The biggest name?
My initial gut reaction is Jeff Dye.
Jeff Dye was pretty big. Eric Schwartz is a big name comedian.
Yeah, Jeff Dye was bigger than Eric.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I'd say Jeff. And Jeff was a fluke, honestly. That was a
We
fluke.
almost got Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, we came so
He
close.
actually agreed.
You could look like him.
No, I know.
We
right?
came
Totally.
and I'm not kidding, like physically so close.
We're
to
within 10 feet of him, and he won't leave his hotel
So
room.
it's
like,
this-
what the?
I bet your listeners are probably so bored of hearing us right now.
No, they're
But
not. They love it.
We got.
I'm thinking maybe some of your listeners will be checking this out.
Well, we would have agencies reach out to us and go, hey, so and so's coming into town. Do you want to? And somebody was saying, hey, Bruce Campbell's coming in for a book signing tour or a book tour
For Evil
I
Dead
remember
and
that.
all
Yeah, I
that.
remember
He
that.
wrote some. Yeah, he's written several books. It was the most recent one. So we're like, yeah, let's set this
Oh,
up.
what was my Burn Notice?
Yeah, Burn
Yeah, he
Notice
was on
was
Burn
good,
Notice.
right?
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Anybody out there, go check out Burn Notice. It was on
That's
USA.
another good
That
USA
was
show.
Yeah.
so good.
That
USA
Psych.
had some great... I didn't get into Psych.
Psych was good.
Oh, I love
How about
Psych.
this? You guys are around my age. Pack Blue
Pack
with
Blue.
Mario Lopez.
Oh,
I never watched that show.
I
Bicycle
remember
cops
it, I never
on
saw
in the
it.
beach.
Never
It was
saw
so good.
But we, I bet it's still somewhere
Pack
on my
Blue.
phone too. Bruce Campbell's cell phone number. We got in touch with. There was two parties that were taking care of his scheduling. There was his booking agent and his manager, and they did. The story, air quotes story, is that the two did not communicate with each other. I was emailing one of them and saying, "Hey, we are going to do this. Let's set up a podcast interview." It was a Sunday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Sunday morning, 10 a.m., whatever. Okay. We don't normally record on Sunday, so we made an effort. I'm like, we'll do this. Bruce Campbell's
Bruce
huge.
Campbell, yeah.
That's a big gig.
Yeah. So he said, hey, he's going to be at this hotel at this time. Just go in the lobby, give him a call. Okay. So we show up. We pack up all our mobile equipment.
We
go
had
to the-
gotten 3 or 4 confirmations by his agent / manager.
Everything's good to
Really?
go.
Wow.
It was set up.
Wow.
He was
We
ready.
show up
How
there in the
stoked
lobby.
were you guys, too?
We were
Oh,
really
I
excited.
was nervous.
I'm
I
a
was so
huge-
nervous.
Yeah.
Huge fan of
Yeah.
his.
Yeah.
So I prepared a list of good questions. I had delved into his book and done a lot of research on him.
Wow.
And I mean, I knew who he was, but I'm like, I want to ask some, well-educated questions. And then he's not coming down. And we're waiting. And I email his agent or manager, one of them, booking agent, somebody. And then they call me. And I'm like, oh, this isn't good. And I said, yeah, I'm sorry. He's not there at the hotel. He's actually at the book signing right now. And I'm dumbfounded. I'm at a loss because I'm going, wait, we confirmed this.
Right.
You emailed me saying this is good to go. We're here. We're here at the hotel. I'm like, I'm getting mad. I'm like, we made the time. We made the drive over here. I'm so sorry. I'm just so sorry. It's just not going to work.
We're like, okay, can we reschedule it? Or?
Right.
Yeah, can we do it later in the day or something? It just wasn't going to work, and
It's
that
like, wow, okay.
that was very frustrating. And I understand that comes with the territory. Is the higher caliber of guests you have, the higher likelihood of something Hollywood-esque like that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Jeff Dye was the biggest guest we had on. I was a fan of his watching Last Comic Standing on NBC, but we were at the NBC studios for something, and I can't remember. Was that the time?
Damn, you guys have done some cool shit.
Yeah.
Was that the time we
Just
were there
from
in
the
studio?
podcast.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Starting out as doing nothing, just let's do the
Oh
podcast.
yeah, just nobody. And that's the thing, man. It's all about perception. You just give off the perception you're more professional than you really are. People take you way more seriously than they probably should.
Well, I failed with that with you guys, with asking for you guys to bring equipment. They're with that perception.
But yeah, we were there in studio, and here comes, and I remember Kyle and Josh telling me, "Hey Matt, you should message Jeff Dye over Instagram if he'd come on our show." And I'm like, dude,
Because we knew he was coming to the
I knew he was coming to the improv. I'm like, there's no way, and you know where he's coming to do our show. So we're there at the Kansas City studio, Kansas City Live studio on Friday. Here comes Jeff Dye in the studio. I'm like, holy crap, that's Jeff Dye. We wanted him to be on our show. And they would have the comedians who are going to be at the improv there typically on Thursdays or Fridays to promote their show.
Right.
So Jeff comes in, doesn't talk to us, just immediately goes in and does his spiel, does a segment.
He basically made fun of daytime
so
TV
hilarious.
on 41.
Because daytime TV has to be so safe, especially at 10:30 in the morning.
He's like making these like real against the line of what you can be allowed to say on TV statements.
So Jeff Dye, he does this segment, gets off the stage, and so the three of us are all huddling together. I'm like, should we talk to him? Should we ask him? I don't know. What do we do? It's Jeff Dye's right there. It's gonna be mad. So finally, I get up and I go, "Hey, Jeff." He goes, "Hey, what's up?" I said, "Hey, what's your schedule like when you're here in town?" He goes, "Why? What's going on?" And I said, "Hey, me and my two buddies over there, I say, we run this comedy podcast here in Kansas City." He goes, "Yeah, let's do it." I go, yeah. So I'm almost like talking him out of it at this point. I go,
Right.
"Yeah, but it's at my house. I mean, it's in my basement. I mean, it's just the three of us." He goes, "Yeah, I don't care. Let's do it."
Because is he from out of town?
He's from L.A. Yeah.
Right. See, they're looking for something to do. They're
Yeah,
bored to death.
when-
They don't want to be in their
That's
hotel
the thing.
room.
He
right?
has nothing to do.
He's on a show with like William,
Fuck, you know who's in
William
town this
Shatner
weekend?
and all
Who?
those guys. It's crazy.
Who I'd love to get. It was probably too late now. God dang it. Brian Callen.
Yeah.
Oh,
he
Brian
is.
Callen
He
would be
was
cool.
on 41.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
But yeah, when they're in town, they don't do a whole heck of a lot. So Jeff gave me his cell phone number. We were texting him like, "Hey, let's do it." And in the back of my head, I'm thinking, this is going to fall apart. He's going to be like, I'm going to sleep till 3 p.m.
Right.
Nothing's going to happen. I text him. He's like, "Yeah, do it. As long as you can you come by, pick me up?" Because he doesn't have a car when he's
Right.
here in Kansas City. So I pick him up at his hotel. We go over to
cool.
Chipotle because he's hungry.
Fuck yeah.
And yeah, Jeff Dye, he was the comedian who was on Better Late Than Never with
The Fonz.
the Fonz, George Foreman, Terry Bradshaw, William Shatner, where he was the young guy taking all the guys around all these
If
different
you guys haven't
countries.
seen it, check it out.
It's really funny.
It's a funny show.
But
It
yeah,
might still be on NBC.
So
I don't
he
know.
comes on our show, he comes over to my basement, and I'm starstruck because I love the world of comedy. And here's a guy who I followed and I voted for.
Oh,
on
cool.
Last
when I
Comic
watched
Standing.
Last Comic Standing.
Wasn't he on with Ralphie May too?
Ralphie May was the season
R.I.P.
before.
Season before, yeah.
All right.
And like, holy crap, here's Jeff Dye in my basement. So we had a great time. Man, we talked for probably one of the longest episodes we had recorded up to that point. We split it in two because it was so long. And everything was great. Everything was so funny. And then he's like, so obviously we got free tickets to his show. Then he wanted to, was it the next day he wanted to hang out?
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it
Was
was
it
the
that-
day after the thing that he wanted to hang out. Yeah.
Did we hang out the next day?
No. I'm sorry. It was the day of the show.
Maybe it was the day of the show. Okay.
We just drove him around Kansas City.
Take him to some barbecue or anything?
coffee shops. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we went to a coffee shop.
What
We went to
coffee
Black
shop?
Dog. We went to
Black
Black Dog.
Dog?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So then, again, we still communicate. I'm not kidding, man. I was out on a job, architectural photo shoot in Indiana somewhere. Jeff texts me out of the blue. "Hey, man, was thinking about you. I'm putting you in my phone. I completely forgot. What's your last name?" I mean, in my eyes, he's a big name celebrity. He was thinking of me, wants to put me in as a contact, saving my name in there. Then when we would decide, hey, let's go out to LA, we text Jeff. I text Jeff, like, "Hey man, we're going out to LA. You going to be there?" It's like, "Yeah, come on out. I'll get you tickets to the Comedy and Magic Club. He says, come on out.
Dope.
So we hang out with Jeff.
Oh,
He goes out to get
man.
drinks at this cool little restaurant, kind of club thing on the beach. We hang out with him till probably like 1 or 2 in the morning.
Wow.
And then-
Lamar Odom and a bunch of celebrities. And
Really?
Stuff.
So, oh yeah, and then
Crazy Lamar or
yeah,
so
crazy Lamar.
Really?
oh yeah, he's told those stories.
He was like crying on the
I
table.
forgot that sports bar. I forgot about that. He was
Dude, that's
there.
crazy.
I completely forgot.
Hey Robin, stick with me and we'll go on some of these trips like this.
And then we, and so Jeff just is so nice, and he knows everybody. He's hanging out, and so then like the next day, he texts us, or he says, "Hey, text me tomorrow morning if you guys are still here. We'll meet up again for lunch or something." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And still, the naive guy in me is like, "No, it's
Right.
not gonna happen." Just had to be nice. I
The
text
Hollywood
him.
thing.
Yeah. And then we're at some, like, was it Chronic Taco? Chronic Taco out in L.A.
He's like, "Where you at?"
Yeah, hey,
What's
where
up?
you at? I said, we're at the Chronic Taco at this mall out in Burbank. He goes, "Oh, cool. I'm only 5 minutes from there." He goes, I'll be there in a few minutes." We're sitting there. Here comes Jeff. He just hangs out with us.
So we'll hang out with him now every time he comes into town.
Yeah,
Take
he
him
was
to
back in
Topgolf.
town, like a month or 2 ago,
Yeah.
and just wanted to hang out. We got tickets to his show, and the guy who opened for him, we hung out at Zona Rosa for several hours, just
That was cool.
eating
Just
food, having drinks. It was just a really good time.
These are guys that do the Comedy Store all the time, and,
Yeah.
and do the improvs all over the world, and they know all these other, like hilarious stories about other comics that you would never hear.
Right.
on
That's the
record.
nice
Yeah.
thing, right?
Oh, yeah, and he's telling us about like how he had a spot on Brian Regan's kind of variety show on
Right.
Netflix, but it got cut. And I don't know, it's kind of cool to get behind the scenes, especially when
He
you
dated
appreciate.
Eliza Schlesinger. For a
Yeah.
little-
Ooh. Is
But-
that the chick with the dog? She always has her dog with her.
I don't know. Oh no, you're thinking of what is that?
I think
chick?
that's her. Like she's
Maybe.
blonde.
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
blonde.
yeah.
She's got a tiny little dog
That's
with
the
her.
one.
But it's just funny
does
because
have a-
Jeff
yeah, now
is
that I think
he's
about it.
deep into the comedy scene. I mean
Right.
that's his living,
If you're- yeah.
and he's on tour all the time. You know, he tours a lot of clubs there in L.A. And it's just cool to just hear him name drop and tell stories about like, oh yeah, I bumped into Ray Romano or whatever, and had a quick conversation with Brian Regan, or yeah, here's my text conversation with Dane Cook or something. I mean,
Oh,
Dane Cook
shit.
used to live with him.
Oh, shit.
no, I didn't live with him. He
No,
went to his
he-
house. He went to a party with him.
No, he lived with
He
him.
lived with Dane Cook.
Yeah, because I don't think you were in on that story. We were in the Jeep riding to the.
Oh,
place,
okay, yeah.
And he was talking about living with Dane Cook. And Dane Cook's
Because Dane Cook was his idol for the
he's
longest time.
he's a messed up dude.
He's starting to do podcasts now.
Yeah, Dane Cook was just on
been on a
Jeff's
few.
podcast.
Dane Cook was on. Well, he was
He
also
was
on
just
the
on
guy
it.
with the mullet. I forget his name. He's got kind of the round nose.
Theo Vaughn.
Theo
Vaughn, yeah.
Vaughn's funny, man.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, he was
I'm a
on-
big Burt Kreischer fan.
Burt
Kreischer's hilarious.
Burt Chrysler.
Yeah, he's a pretty funny
Burt
guy.
Kreischer, I think, was on. Oh my gosh, I forget his name. He played Lex Luthor on Smallville. I think he was on his podcast.
Michael Rosenbaum.
Michael Rosenbaum has a great podcast.
Him and Tom Segura are best friends.
Really?
Uh huh.
Who's that?
Burt
Michael
Kreischer.
Oh, Burt
Burt
Kreischer.
Kreischer
Yeah,
and Tom Segura are best friends.
yeah, they're pretty close
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, we've had. I don't know, man. The podcasts have just opened so many doors and so many fun things. Like we haven't made hardly any money from it. You know, if you want to put pen to paper, we're in the red. As far
What's
as
that? Is red bad or good?
Red's
Red's
bad.
bad.
Meaning,
Black's
like,
good.
we spent more money.
What's
on this
worse than red? Purple? I'm in the fucking
Dude,
purple.
if you're in the purple, you're really hurting.
But what it's allowed us to do, the doors it's opened for us and opportunities that we had otherwise never been able to do. When we're able to go to Boulevardy with media passes and I don't know, man. It's just, and talk to
Thunder Gong and Big Slick.
oh
and-
man,
I mean,
Thunder
like,
Gong, is that Thunder Down Under?
yeah,
that's what I thought the first time I heard it too. No, it's
Thunder Gong.
That sounds like my
it's
nickname.
It's
That's what
Jason,
my- what
Jason
my nickname would be.
Sudeikis and
When he
Will
came-
Forte. And,
Steps
Oh.
of Faith for the
yeah, they put on like a really funny like variety show with like
Do
local
they during,
bands.
like during Big Slick or something?
yeah, well,
no,
no,
it's before.
they
Big
had
Slick.
Chance-
Completely separate event from Big Slick.
they had Chance the Rapper on the
Oh,
show,
shit.
and like
It was
I
big.
mean, like a bunch of real headliners.
It's
that
a
showed
very
up.
eclectic mix of performers, and honestly, if you want to get a good taste of what it's like, go to YouTube, type in Thunder Gong, and our video will probably be the first or second video that pops up.
He was like the only one up there with like legit
one
4K
word,
video.
Thunder Gong, and you should have a photo of Jason Sudeikis and Will Forte like screaming into a microphone.
Yeah, this last one they had Sam Cooke too. Or
One word.
Oh, one word.
Yeah, one word.
And then on the
There we go. Number one.
top
Go to
one.
OBS and then hit Google.
Yeah, we did
the
it.
Camera.
Oh, okay.
See, that's us. That's my footage.
Oh, I remember seeing this. Yeah, hit go to OBS right here, and then hit Google, and then hit the
Oh
main-
man, so trippy.
hit Google, hit the video. There, now the people at home can see what we're seeing.
Yeah, if for the listeners, if you've stayed with us, how far into this are we?
Well, this is
Type
what
in,
podcasts are all about.
yeah, I know.
you
Type
know?
in Can City Media. Subscribe
So this
to the
is
channel.
your
we'll
guys'
just-
video.
Yeah, this is all my footage.
Thunder Gong.
Yeah, all
Jason
one word.
Sudeikis, Will Forte. Will Forte's hilarious. He's in
Oh,
that
man.
movie,
So funny.
that show I really like.
Last
Man
Man
Standing.
Yeah.
Dude,
Will Forte.
Oh, that's so
is
good. That's
funny.
such a good show.
it's a funny movie. Yeah,
oh
funny
man.
But I think our goal, and that's why it wasn't too.
All right,
Granted,
turn it off. You can
Granted,
turn it off now.
it's a bummer not
go
doing
to
the
OBS
podcast.
and go to our camera. I don't want to get kicked off YouTube.
Granted, it's a bummer not doing the podcast anymore. But I
gotta
know from
Right.
a mainstream standpoint, video is more palatable. The hurdle we always
But
heard.
you can do both.
Yeah, but the hurdle we always heard, and I'm sure you'll hear it too. You get it too, is people going, "What's a podcast?" They don't have no idea.
But I do a podcast for people that like podcasts.
True.
So if you say it's a podcast and don't like it, well, my podcast isn't for you.
Yeah.
My podcast is
Good
for
point.
people who
So
like podcasts.
So I figure, well, if at the very least, if I just want to be a little bit more efficient at my time, something that's going to be a little bit more palatable to mainstream people, i.e., marketing agencies and agents and stuff like that. Yeah, we'll do video. Like I'm kicking around the idea. Hey, let's do another Boulevard. The past few years, what we've done before Boulevardia, we'll interview some people who put it together and kind of get cool behind the scenes stories and
maybe some of the feature brewers that they bring in.
yeah.
So like last time was Lincoln Up.
No, it was a Zipline.
Zip-
Zipline
Oh,
Brewing Company.
Zipline.
Zipline
Yeah.
Brewery. So they did a crossover.
Dude, those guys are
So-
hilarious.
yeah, so we got
Really?
to meet the
They were
two
some of the guys that were like, come back up to Nebraska. We'll have you up.
Super
Nice.
cool guys. Yeah,
So-
and it made for a funny episode. But
Tom
like,
and Craig.
but we sat down with them and the master brewers at Boulevard and Jeremy Danner and all these like top level guys, and these are the best in the field.
And I'm thinking, let's just do it again. We'll just do it via a YouTube video.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, honestly, we had, when they did their collaboration, the lady who was head of marketing at Boulevard, who unfortunately she's not there anymore, she sent me an email out of the blue and said, hey, these guys are doing a new beer. Would you guys can I give you some samples and you guys review it before it hits the market? And we're like, holy crap. Like, yeah, of
free
course.
beer. No,
Wow.
that sounds
Yeah.
gross.
And that video, it's up there now on YouTube. It's one of our, fairly
You
well
guys
watched.
were living my dream.
Oh, I mean, they were sending us
Man.
free
Beer
product.
testing would be awesome.
Oh, so good.
Man.
And that's why I'm like, okay, for the time being, we're gonna lay low for a while, but when we come back, we're hitting it hard with video, because for one, as a creative, I love video a little bit more than podcasting.
Sure, I get it.
Because you have the audio and the video mixed in with it.
Yeah.
But the flip side is that video it's longer. I mean,
Right.
it's a bigger beast to put together, but the payoff is pretty cool, and it's a little bit more palatable again to mainstream. If you say, hey, we got a cool video on YouTube, 99.9% of people are gonna go, oh yeah, I know.
Podcasts are directed at a certain audience. The podcast audience.
Exactly.
The video audience has the video people and the podcast people.
Yeah.
Everybody loves video.
Podcasts are still a little underground.
Yeah.
They're still not.
Which is
fully
ironic because it's
mainstream
been the
Yeah.
platform's existed for over
It's-
10 years at this point.
yet. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's 7 wars happening right now, and the U.S. is involved in. So, times are hard.
It's
People
it's
have
growing.
more to concentrate on than what is a
It's-
podcast.
there has been this big spike. I'd say maybe 2 or 3 years ago, where podcasts really just got kind of the
Oh,
zeitgeist.
I think
you
it's
know?
just going to keep going.
Oh, it
further up.
is.
Yeah,
It is. Like
they're not podcasts. The platform's not going anywhere. It's getting
No.
more and more mainstream. Michelle,
Well, because it's in your pocket. It's you.
Did you
It's on your phone.
you see
The little-
Michelle Obama was on Conan's podcast?
I didn't know Conan had a podcast.
Oh my gosh, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. So good.
It's good?
Such a good podcast.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Is it a corporate podcast? Or
It's
is it,
Conan putting it on himself. It's when
but is he like beholden to his sponsors? And
He's
like,
got
to his
sponsors.
People don't realize Conan is one of the funniest comedy writers that has ever lived.
Yeah, Conan's a genius.
like the stuff that he wrote for The Simpsons and SNL.
That's when Simpsons was in its heyday.
Some
He
of the
was
best
one of the
stuff.
writers. Yeah, Conan
Yeah.
O'Brien Needs a Friend. It's
That's the name of it.
Yeah,
take
it's
away
so good.
the censors and the sponsors and all that stuff, and like you just let him.
That's what's
loose.
funny though. But is Conan, the show itself is sponsored. He does talk about, but he will make fun of the sponsors
Nothing
in the
wrong
spots
with having
themselves.
sponsors. Yeah.
Yeah. I
The
mean,
sponsors
get
on a
paid, man.
podcast
Go
are-
for it.
That's something completely different. You
Bill
could get-
Burr's like that too.
You get
Really?
butt naked in your podcast and talk about it in graphic detail, and nobody's gonna care. Like,
Yeah.
But on TV, yeah, you got to really watch
But
out.
he-
or
Conan-
Don won't want to sell dish soap.
Conan's so
You know?
good because he knows what makes collectively an entertaining podcast is whether it is his humor or letting the guest do what he wants. Because there's some, like the one episode he did with him and Timothy Oliphant, who's this, you'd recognize if you saw him.
Everybody knows Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah, just strikingly handsome, good-looking guy. Timothy Oliphant is like a cat with a laser
Was
pointer.
he in Deadwood?
Yeah, he's all over the place. But him and Conan
Dime
are
piece.
they're friends in real life. And you
Oh,
can
yeah?
totally tell that in the
Nice.
podcast. It's all over the place. Then the next, I believe it's the next episode, he's interviewing Michelle Obama. Does Conan change who he is? Not at all. But he knows how to interview Michelle Obama, still being Conan,
Would you?
but lets her tell her story. And I mean, it's such a good episode. I don't care what political party you're with. She's an amazing woman. So
She is amazing. Do you guys remember how long have you guys been married? You guys are both married?
I've been
Yeah.
married 16 years.
Holy shit!
I've been
Yeah,
married. I think this year will be 15 or 16.
Shit,
For
never
me.
mind.
What's up? What was your
Why,
question?
what were you gonna say?
We got grown ass kids, man. What are you?
I have a 10-year-old daughter.
Oh my gosh! I was gonna ask if you guys would ever have sex with Michelle Obama,
Oh,
like if that were an option. But I mean,
I
do you think? Could you see yourself?
Well, if she,
what?
she's
Like,
taller
is
than-
her husband there and my wife there?
No, just like everybody's open.
Am I married to her?
Everybody's open. Like
Is the NSA watching?
yeah,
The answer is
She-
yes.
she's
They're
a-
always
she's
watching.
She's a beautiful,
Man.
gorgeous one. When she is like
I
at the
would-
president's, is it the correspondence dinner when she's done up, she's a stunning woman, and the thing is she carries herself so well. And as a man who is raising a daughter, I mean, like,
oh shit! I have one of those too. I
Yeah.
shouldn't be asking this question.
no. I mean,
I'd bend her over though. Michelle
when you
Obama's
see-
a dime.
I think there's a problem with where there's this issue of like for women, it's almost like they're mutually exclusive to be feminine / sexy and smart and confident. Like they're mutually exclusive categories.
Right.
It's like if you're a female, you have femininity built into you. It's your genetics. Use it. But you don't have to be a ditz and
Right.
you know, like just a dummy. I mean, there's so many strong, intelligent women, and I'm not
Oh,
saying
it's sexy.
Yeah,
Smart,
I'm not saying
intelligent
use your
women.
femininity to or trick or not persuade, manipulate. Yeah,
No, do
To
it.
manipulate
They do
anybody.
it. Go ahead.
But-
we don't mind.
they're not. Again, they're not mutually exclusive. It's
Right.
like we are as men. Have been known to use their masculinity to convey power, to obviously get things that they want and desire, whether that be in business,
Right.
you know, in socially, relationships, whatever. So why is it so foreign for women to do the same thing? Why is it just now like, isn't it amazing? What a confident, beautiful woman who succeeded in business. Why is this foreign now? It's 2019, man.
I don't know, but it just is, okay?
I don't know.
Oh,
More
man.
power to them.
I'm just like, as a, I was raised by a very, probably a pretty, fairly cookie cutter household, but my mom was a very strong, independent woman. Not that saying she wore the pants of the family, but I grew up in a household where, maybe more so now.
Yeah.
I grew up in a family where, at the time, where they treated their marriage like a partnership. They were equal partnership. My dad
Gotcha.
tended to take the lead in the fact that he was more of like, kind of like, well, I'm a little bit of the final say, but I really need my input. I need the input from my wife. We need to collaborate on what we're going to do. Whereas I know there's some families where it's like, I'm the man and what I say goes and I don't care what my wife says. That's not my family dynamic at all. So when I see did
your mom beat your dad?
No. I don't know what happened on behind closed doors, and I don't care.
Tell me that again.
So help me, I'm going to bust this belt out.
But when they, when people are talking about like, yes, in this movie, it's a strong, confident woman. I'm like, why is this foreign now? Like, I grew up with it. Your mom was just a very like
tough as all get out.
Oh my gosh,
scary.
So when people talk about it like it's an anomaly, I'm like, it's not an anomaly.
My mom had the bench press record in Gardner High School for like 50 years. Like
Holy cow.
nobody overtook her. She was a fire plug of a man.
Wow.
But it does. What's funny is it didn't. I don't think it emasculated me as a man. If anything, it's just in growing up and looking for someone as a marriage mate, you're just like, you look at them as a partner in life, not
Right.
someone to dominate over, or not someone who's going to dominate you. It's like a marriage should be an equal partnership, and it's just like, this is foreign to people now.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that is a yes. He too would have sex with Michelle Obama. Kyle?
It's a roundabout
I
way.
never said that, but she, at some of the presidential correspondence that she is a stunning,
Yeah, she's
stunning
cute.
woman.
She's great.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
She should run.
She alright.
She never will.
That's the most political
Lit-
I've ever gotten on this podcast.
Listen to
you,
her on
hardcore
Conan's
lefty?
podcast. She'll never run for office. They almost
Good.
her and Obama. What's his first name? Barack. That's his name.
Barack Obama.
Barack Hussein.
Yeah, they
You
almost
gotta
feel
throw
like
Hussein in there.
they honestly feel like they've done their work. We're done.
Well, they can now do speaking tours and lobbying. So that's
still
where the
make-
real money is.
And make money hand over fist. Yeah. So
I'd like to see those receipts. There
Yeah.
must be some pretty amazing speeches.
Bernie.
yeah.
Awesome. That was a good Bernie.
Thanks.
What
That's
was
the
that?
first
What
time
was
I
that?
ever-
That was
that's
a
the
good
first time I've ever tried.
You got the Jewish New Hampshire voice thing down pretty good.
Yeah, so what if I have 3 houses?
He's
You
a-
could have 3 houses too, but I'll work for
Every American should have 3 houses.
Yeah, he's a funny dude. He's been at it for a long time.
He's running
40
again.
years.
Apparently he's running again.
He has a good chance of winning too.
Oh, no, he doesn't.
If you
I
look,
don't know,
look
man.
at the polling,
No, he doesn't.
if you look at the polling,
Well,
can't.
apparently, if you look at the polling, Joe Biden, who's
Joe
not,
Biden's the
who's
the
not
lead
even
Democrat.
thrown his hat into the ring, who is
Yeah.
leading. So
I should say, according to the polling, they call it landlines, and so you're going to get a different demographic.
Did you
right.
hear the
It's
latest?
a different demographic.
Did you hear the latest?
I've never been asked to do a poll.
Right? Yeah. They don't call your cell phone.
No.
Like, what's up, player?
Yeah.
really.
Who you voting for?
Apparently, like the summary of the Mueller report that was released was that like Trump, there was no collusion.
Oh, dude, and Rachel Maddow has been nonstop Russiagate.
He's hot.
I know.
Rachel Maddow.
Rachel.
Yeah.
That's a good-looking man.
It's pretty sharp. Yeah, well dressed.
Yeah.
That's as far as I want to go down that rabbit hole. But I was like, man, that's so interesting. Like, yeah, the summary of that report basically says, yeah, Trump didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Of course, by the time this episode comes out, maybe something new comes out. There's something new every single day.
I
So
don't pay
No.
any attention.
Here's the
Yeah.
deal, and it sounds conspiratorial. This is my flat Earth, but it's real though. Except for it's real. so like, the military-industrial complex is a real problem.
Yes, it is.
That is a real problem, and all these news anchors, man, they've got to make it sound worse than it actually
gotta
is.
sensationalize.
Because they're
They gotta
selling
sell
war.
shit.
They're selling war for Boeing and Raytheon and General
Well,
Dynamics.
it's like we were
and-
talking about with mainstream media. Everybody has some sort of agenda. So when you're like, when a regular news person's trying to cram charisma into a 10-minute segment,
Right.
So is MSNBC, Fox
Oh,
News.
totally.
It's like,
Did I put whiskey in my drink already?
why don't you sip it and find out?
I think you did, yeah.
How stupid am I?
How do I figure science?
Do you have a whiskey meter? you dip a whiskey meter
I'm
down?
telling you, I wouldn't know any basic geometry or Star Wars. I'm dumber than Josh. I don't even know what I could
We'll
answer.
have a How Dumb Is Ryan segment.
Oh,
That'd be good.
you would probably be pretty fucking surprised. I'm an idiot.
Oh, man.
And so are we. And that was the beauty of our show. That was the beauty of our show is that we each played a role. It's like Josh was just the flat out dummy. Kyle was a walking encyclopedia. Had that encyclopedia been written by a 6th grader.
And had autism. For real.
And I was the guy who tried to come off like the adult, and I would make these major slip-offs and then come up like a major idiot.
That is funny. You did come off as like the professional dad.
Yeah.
He came off as the dad.
But then I would say,
then you would be like, "Oh, wait a minute. There's no dad here."
then I would say,
He's the babysitter.
But that's the thing. I never tried to be that. Like I remember when we did. Who was the kid out in Lawrence that we did his podcast?
Oh,
Better Ideas podcast.
Yeah.
So he does the intro.
Dakota something.
I want to be on somebody's podcast. Podcasters out there,
Reach out to Better Ideas.
Yeah, Dakota will have you.
He's a sharp guy.
I'm not
going
to ask to be on it, but just ask me. I'm not
I just do a crossover.
He's a
with him.
young guy. I think he's probably about 20, but he's deep. Like he's a deep thinker.
He's a very philosophical.
He's
kid.
coming down off of a lot of hardcore Christianity. So
I'd like to talk to him.
yeah, no, a sharp guy. And
have
he's
him on my
he's
podcast.
open to a lot of different ideas.
But we had we did a crossover episode where we recorded for probably 3 hours, and we split the MP3 down the middle. He posted, I think, the first half on his feed, and we posted the second half on our feed.
That's
And
interesting.
It was a good way
it
to
kind of forces if
it-
you want to listen to the rest of it.
yeah, for sure. That's interesting.
And then so like you'll do an intro to this and say, hey, these two morons from Kansas City did this podcast. No, he did it with
I'm not gonna be that nice. Fucking clowns.
these two idiots busted into my door.
Fucking clowns came in. They drank my whiskey. They came in on edibles and didn't offer me any, allegedly.
I think they stole my wallet. No, but
They had powdered donut sugar all over their nose. It was really weird.
Dakota does an intro, and he's like, yeah, and we have the three guys from Kansas City, and then Josh, who's the silly, goofy guy, and Kyle, who is, the intellectual, still silly, and then Matt, who's the adult after. I'm like, oh my God, is that the persona I'm carrying in this show? No! That's not what I meant to be. Like, yeah, Matt sounds so professional with the radio type voice and the professionalism kind of is the adult of the show. Like, oh my God, if I'm the adult of the show, that bar is really low.
They call me Butterthroat. My voice is made for radio.
Thanks for listening to the Kansas City podcast.
Can you tell I smoke?
Is that so wrong?
Yeah, you get some guys on the.
Have you seen Fiddler on the Roof?
Has there, and I'm not saying name names,
I will.
but you might. Has
Coming
there
at
been
you.
any guess that you're like, after you're done, aside from this one, where you regretted having them on the show, where you're like, this isn't going to be that great of an episode?
Oh, for that reason.
Some real stinkers.
I did.
Because we've had one or two.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. We've had some bad ones. We've had some hilariously bad
what?
ones. I wish we had recorded the faces like, oh, my God.
Well, I had.
Is this really this bad?
I think one comes to mind, but when I asked people, they liked it.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I was like, oh, it wasn't as bad
So
as
it
I
was bad
thought.
as
So there's nothing that comes to mind. I've liked and enjoyed every single one of my guests. I've really gotten something from them and have enjoyed. Yeah, there's not an episode that one that I thought, because I just thought it wasn't that good,
Yeah.
but other people seem to like it. It was a dude that somebody else just threw to me, kind of.
Like, hey,
Like,
this would
here
be a
you
good person
go.
to interview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, who are they? What do they do? And they're like, oh, they're into this. I'm like, and then they gave me some questions to ask them. I was like, I don't do that.
Oh, yeah. We had that once.
I don't fucking do that.
Ugh.
I go, that's going to sound
Canned.
fake and
Yeah.
canned. And so, and then I said, so the guy was here. I was like, hey, somebody gave me questions to ask you. Here's what they are, because I can't do this. I so do. It was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And they were bullshit. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, all right, yeah.
Meh.
This is why I don't take questions from
We had that with one guest, and it was
Yeah, what were
I
your
hate-
bad ones?
We had, again, I'm not going to name names.
Sure.
We had an older gentleman.
I couldn't even remember the names.
An older gentleman.
Oh yeah, no, I remember that dude. I remember that dude.
Well, the funny part was, we almost, after we were done, we wanted to make a drinking game with how many times he would mention somebody that he knew who is now dead.
Dude.
So I want to tell you the story about old Joe. He's since passed away, but
No, but he'd say the name as if you were supposed to know exactly.
Oh,
like,
one of them.
you remember the Joe Krasowski radio show back in 1947, yes?
Why did you have this guy on?
He was a legit film buff.
he's been a film critic forever, and there was also a how would you call ulterior motive to basically be like, so how do we get early
You know
screening
what, though?
passes?
I found it fascinating because he
Oh.
reminded me of my grandpa. Like, the movie knowledge was deep.
It was a twofold thing, because in the moment he was great to listen to.
It was
Okay.
a fun
knowing
episode, but
knowing
for us.
that this was going to hit the air, I'm like, this is not going to be a great episode because you weren't there in the room. And again, that was always priority number one. I don't care who's on there. The show has to be entertaining.
Sure.
And if it was a nobody, or if even if we had Jeff Dye on and he was bland, my worry would have been, this is not going to be entertaining. But that was one where I'm like, I was starting to sweat bullets. Like, I don't know how we're gonna edit. And we had an hour and 45-minute conversation that was cut down 45 minutes, much like probably this episode.
I don't edit. Everything
really?
just goes straight out there.
No, I
Wow.
edited a lot.
Oh, I don't do that. No.
Yeah, so it was
Pretend
like,
this is live. That's
oh. Now, what ours was, it was
like I said,
about.
I want to be Joe Rogan. This is my Joe Rogan impression.
it was
you
about.
get a TriCaster and do that.
I wish.
Do the live thing.
It was almost 2 hours, and we're like, this. I gotta cut a lot out of this. And as I'm taking out chunks, just taking out bits, I'm like, this adds nothing to the episode. This doesn't add anything. I'm like, well, we got a good solid 42-minute episode out of it.
Wow.
And it was fine. The episode itself was fine. The other one was a guest that is totally Kyle's fault. It's like, oh, we got to have this guy on. He'll be great. And then we interview him about whatever subject ABC wants to talk about, and he doesn't want to talk about anything.
So he's a friend of mine who owns a multi-million-dollar tech company.
Okay.
I mean, he's a legit genius, like 200 IQ. Like no
Holy
kidding.
shit.
One of the smartest people I've ever heard
I wouldn't
of.
know where to begin with that guy.
But awkward too.
Could
Of
not-
course he is,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he's a genius.
How could he not be? So,
Right.
So when we're having
We're the awkward ones.
I know.
He's not.
So when he and I are having like conversations in the basement, because he's one of my closest friends,
Oh,
like
cool.
we're drinking whiskey and just
how'd you become friends with a genius like that?
I've just grown up around him and his family, but
Right on.
but we're both pretty deep with like everything, like mechanics and stuff and weird internet things.
Oh,
And
cool.
So anyway, we're talking about some of this new technology that he has that literally he bought a patent for, and
Very
he's
proprietary.
He's ready to release it, and it will end all phishing scams on the dark web and the regular web. Period. And it's like the biggest thing ever.
and then we're asking him questions like, I can't really
He's
talk
like-
about that.
He's like, I can't talk about every single thing. I'm like, why did we have you on?
I
I thought it
understand-
was to promote this thing.
I understand you don't want to give away your trade secrets, but tell us in summary.
What is
kind
a
of
computer?
What will it do?
oh
I don't want to talk about that.
no.
Every single
Was
question.
he just nervous or just like?
Well,
He was nervous at first.
He was nervous, I think, because he knows how big like the audience was at the time.
Oh,
So he's
wow.
like I think he was like, man, this could really come back to bite me. It was
Yeah.
like watching Elon.
Then
Right,
You know,
right,
it was
right.
We got an
similar
email-
personality.
Right,
we
okay.
got
I
an
figured.
email afterwards, just like, can you take out this part, and I don't want to hear a part where I talk about this.
Like,
like,
listen,
oh my
here's
god,
the deal. We're not going to air that episode.
Right. Exactly. Right. Scratch
just do
it.
that.
Right.
The whole thing has been donated to science.
Oh.
It's dead. There's no way.
it was so bad.
But I mean, super fascinating guy. And it's like talking to him one-on-one.
Right.
He will open up about
And
a
you
lot of
wish
these
that could be
secrets.
on the podcast, right?
And
I
it's like,
gotcha.
man, this guy's gonna be awesome. And then we get him out there, and he's just like, I can't tell you anything. It cannot be on the record.
Oh man.
Because he's got other companies, man. Like, it's weird. It's some like mob stuff where they will actually try to find your data centers if you have like a
what?
and like destroy them and like set them on fire and flood them out. And It's pretty bonkers
Wow.
stuff. They'll sabotage each other. Some of
Really?
these big tech companies,
It's
it's
competition.
dirty.
It's a war.
They'll send viruses that will tell your computer to shut the CPU fan off, and it'll
I've
overheat.
heard of that.
It'll
Yeah.
overheat your computer.
You heard
and
about those
explode.
hacker wars? There's
Oh,
companies
yeah.
going back at each other, back and forth, back in the day.
It's crazy.
Still goes on.
He was
one
one of
day.
the top 5 hackers in the entire world back in the 90s. This guy was. Like, literally went to all the DEF CON competitions.
Zero
and,
Cool.
was
Remember that?
Zero Cool. What was that?
That movie Hackers with
Oh,
Angelina
Hackers,
Jolie.
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
when
yeah,
Angelina
yeah.
Jolie's first
Yes.
movies.
Yeah.
Remember that
was
Fred
so-
Savage movie? The kid with like
Wizard.
Power glove. I
Wizard.
love it. The Wizard. Yeah. Oh, the Wit. Was it called?
It was Wizard.
The Wizard. Okay.
Yeah,
Whoa. There was so many of those, like, bad hacker movies in the late 90s.
that movie. Wizard was a classic.
Starring
yeah. And
Denzel Washington.
The kid in that one shot is like, it's the Power glove. I love
Power.
it.
Yeah. I had the Power Glove.
I didn't. I wanted it so
I
bad.
got it
and
for
I wanted
Christmas.
even
It was
more.
a piece of shit.
Yeah. It was basically a controller glued to
Yeah,
a hand.
Was that for
exactly.
NES?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember
NES.
that.
It wasn't. It was.
It was the
NES.
first one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so lame.
It was lame, but it was kind of cool that they were.
It
it,
was-
was, innovative.
It was
like
a
they
controller
were.
glued to your hand.
Yeah, it really was. You could do like a couple little things, but I had a game called Rad Racer.
Oh, Rad Racer was good.
And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
you could steer on that. That's the first time that train's ever been on the podcast. I've done pretty good.
Boop, 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 boop. Man, how long have we been recording?
Dude, it
Long-
feels like 4
am
hours.
I taking your guys' time?
No,
Right?
I'm in no rush. Again,
Okay.
this is at this point it's like feels very nostalgic because it's like
I was wondering.
microphone in front of my
Yeah.
Feels good, right?
I'm not
It's been
kidding,
a
man. When
while.
we used to joke, and the more and more you do it about it, feeling therapeutic. It's because it's an opportunity when you podcast that most people don't get.
right.
You know, I mean, when you're allowed to, and I know you've said it before. It's like you do this selfishly because you get to talk and
Right.
meet different types of people.
Yeah.
No, you're done. And then we were the same way. I'm like, man, this platform has allowed us to talk to so many different kinds of different caliber of people that we otherwise
Right.
never would have been able to.
in a million
Yeah.
years just randomly talk to
Yeah.
or meet, and not only meet and talk to, but to have meaningful conversation and
Yeah.
to connect with people. Like I've,
Oh, yeah.
I've had some awesome
and
conversations.
and the
just-
connections, those will. Kansas City is definitely one of those. It's who you know cities.
I'm finding that
Not
out.
by who you
I need
blow.
to.
Oh.
I need to know somebody
I
or
can't-
blow somebody.
Yeah, I can't tell you, man. It's like you.
You heard him, gentlemen.
Yeah, you name drop, you can get away with a lot. I
Really?
mean, we've had. You were asking about other big names. Another one I completely forgot was Tamara Day, who does the Flipping Mansions
Never heard
show
of her,
on
but
D-
she
Big
sounds
DIY.
high.
DIY. Is she basically takes? The show's based here in Kansas City. She buys old big houses, that kind of dilapidated mansions, as they put it in the title of the show. They flip them, resell them. It's big. Here
It's
in Kansas
cool,
City.
and it's all Kansas City mansions.
Yeah, it's all here in Kansas City.
But it's on
On, like,
like
Warren Ellen
HGTV.
shit, or-
Yeah,
yeah,
like
we
some
bumped
of
into
those-
her at Thundergong, and we looked.
That was my nickname in high school. Was
Thundergong.
Thundergong, and we looked semi.
Watch out for Thundergong.
It's all at the pre-party. It's all these uppity ups and powers that be, and here's
We're sitting up there with martinis, and
Manhattan's actually
smelling our own farts like everybody else.
Yeah, eating donuts from
Oh, yeah.
Donut Lounge. May they
Oh,
rest in
have you
peace.
guys ever cupped your own fart and smelled it?
No, I've never done
No,
that.
never. No, I've never lived.
You're gonna look. You're gonna look
Never
me in the
looked,
eye and tell me you've never cupped a fart and
I've done a
smelled
lot
it?
of things, but I've never done that.
Do you think people's own brand smells good?
I've never smelled my own fart and go, "That's good. That's
Yeah,
good
it's
stuff."
Good stuff.
You've never cupped your own fart?
No.
and smelled
No, I
it?
usually wait till I'm in the car and then let them all out at once.
Like
And
sit
then I'm
on a
like,
leather seat and then lean.
Oh god,
right.
that's good stuff. And then you like lose some brain
You cup
cells.
your hand, and then you.
Nah, I never done that. I
Get
didn't know you-
out of here!
I didn't
No,
know you
I've,
could do
I've
that.
done. I've
Yes!
done. I'm just jacking with you.
I better. I was like, there's no fucking way.
Nah, I've never done that.
50%
Have you
of
ever cupped your armpit like this?
I smell my armpits.
That's
though.
like, well, I'm a mailman, and I have to put mail up like this.
So you
and
smell your own
like,
stuff.
I'm like,
Like, ooh.
oh shit! Somebody forgot to put the Do on
Oh,
today.
that's ripe.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
word I use. I go, ooh, somebody's smelling ripe today. Yeah. I don't mind it though. I like the smell. My ripeness smells like green Tabasco sauce.
You know, you learn something new every day.
It smells like really bad burgers or really good burgers. I can't tell.
It is hilarious how much.
It definitely smells like burgers.
It's funny how much BO smells so closely to eggs and or pizza.
Oh yeah, totally.
I remember kids in
sulfur
elementary
fart
school. You're like, God, that smells so bad. It's either pizza that cooked it in the cafeteria or this guy named Dustin.
Especially our elementary school because we had some real
You
stinkers.
remember like Dustin, the kid who always wore jogging pants.
Yes. Man. No, we had some dirty, stinky dudes. Like never changed.
DeWitt. My kid's name was DeWitt.
What? Chris DeWitt?
No, his first name was DeWitt, and he was a DeWitt.
His first name was.
Parents were
First name
awful.
was DeWitt. I had the feeling that he had a bad home life.
That's
And
terrible.
I
I can't
shouldn't
believe his
laugh
parents did
about
that.
it, but the poor kid. He looked like a
Did
fucking.
they call him Dimwit?
No, because that would have been accurate.
Jeez.
That's sad, man.
It was sad. He looked like a ghost. He was white as fucking, had gray hair, and he was in the 6th grade.
Gray hair.
And he's
yeah.
now your producer. No.
He's like, that's right.
And
I am
we
stupid.
feel
I am so
his
stupid.
fat. That was me.
That's funny.
Oh, fuck. Oh.
I could just see like Dateline interviewing him. So when did your
Chris
life
Hansen?
Yeah. So sit. Just have a seat. Just have a seat. So when did your life of molestation begin? Well, my parents named me DeWitt.
So you brought a 6-pack of beer here. Who is this for? She's 12.
The cops show up. I was like, oh, his first name's DeWitt. Oh, no, we get it. Oh, so sorry.
We get it. We'll just put him in handcuffs now. Yeah.
Just slap on the wrist, but please don't do that again, DeWitt.
We know you can't help it.
Parents failed you.
Dude, that show made it entertainment out of pedophilia.
Who'd have thought?
Some executive was behind a big desk like, so, pedophilia. How do we make it entertaining?
We're going to make money off these guys. He's got a cigar in his mouth. Just,
He's just walking out, looking out the skyscraper window.
he's interviewing these like skinny.
Folks, I've got an idea. Pedophilia.
He's interviewing these skinny 40-year-olds that live in their mom's basement with thin mustaches. He's like, "You're gonna be a star, boy. A star."
Well, tell me with cookies. Cookies, see? It's like, sir, why did you turn into a 1920s stockbroker? I tell you, it's because of this, see? Yeah.
Oh, man. I can't believe that show got canceled, right?
No,
Yeah.
no, I know it's
And then-
it's back. It's on YouTube. It's huge on YouTube.
Well,
I
then
think.
Chris
Really?
Hansen, I think, got arrested for IRS.
For pedophilia.
That would have been ironic.
That would be awesome. Cat calling.
He got arrested for something. Or not, maybe not arrested, but like, he got in
I
trouble.
still think that human giant sketch with Aziz Ansari. If you guys haven't seen it, type in human giant to catch a predator in Google. And they did this with Aziz Ansari where he's dressed up like a little kid from like the turn of the century. He's wearing like a bonnet and he's got a lollipop and he's wearing like little knicker shorts and like he looks like he's in a barbershop quartet and he's 5. So the guy in the van is like, "Hey, what's going on? You want to come in here? It's kind of hot. I'm gonna take off my shirt. You want to check out my muscles? Boosh, boosh, boosh." And Aziz Ansari's like, "Oh, neat sounds. Can I do that? Boosh, boosh, boosh." It's like fiddling knobs, touching keys, having fun with a full-grown man.
If you want to talk about a show that was ahead of its time,
Dude, Human
Giant
was so funny.
How can I find it?
YouTube. That's about it, man.
It's got to be YouTube.
It was an MTV variety show with Aziz Ansari, Paul Shear.
I'm gonna tell you guys.
His first name Brad something. I forgot.
You guys had people combing the internet looking for you guys to come at you.
Yeah.
They're gonna find you on Neandertalk podcast talking about pedophilia and laughing your fucking balls off about it. What's gonna look out, you guys? It's coming for you.
You know what?
And you know what? Put that camera on. Put the Ryan camera on. You motherfuckers can come at me.
Come at me, bro.
Because pedophilia is fucking hilarious.
You doing a slow zoom in?
Bring at me. Westboro Baptist. I ain't scared. Come at me. I ain't
Oscar.
quitting.
Hey, did you hear that episode of Rogan with the daughter of the Westboro Baptist Church?
Great episode.
Dude.
Great
Who's
episode.
it, Lauren?
Good,
Megan
man.
Phelps?
Megan.
Oh,
Phelps.
Megan.
Phelps? Yeah.
That was
great.
awesome. Just hearing her perspective.
You
'cause,
should listen
like,
to it a couple times.
people that don't think other people can change. Listen to that episode.
Well, I know
man.
there's a fitness kind of model, Lauren. Her Instagram, I think, is Lauren Drain Fit, and she's a stunning looking young woman
Of course she is.
who's a fitness model now. But she used to be in the Westboro Baptist Church, and
Fitness dick in your mouth.
her family's like completely rejected her, like disowned
Got
her.
him.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
and I'm just rolling with it like the professional, ignoring what you said. But there's some interviews with her on YouTube, and I mean, she's same thing. She's like, we were brainwashed. My family
Right.
has disowned me. They,
She
know-
was in the Westboro?
yeah, Lauren Drain, I think is her last drain, like the sink, drain.
Draining this.
Or like a toilet.
And I'm setting up those pins. So Ryan, you're probably not.
I'm not
knocking
going
down.
there. I'm not going there.
Rob Hubel.
Yeah, Rob Hubble.
Hubble. He's the other guy in
Yeah.
Human
Or
Giant.
it might be Hubel. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. At this point, I kind of don't care. I know that sounds terrible when it comes to like.
It doesn't seem like it was necessarily you two, anyways. And I'm not trying to throw Josh
Not so
under the
much.
bus
No,
at all.
and Josh was funny,
And
but man, he's been looking to jump ship for a minute. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I
was
mean,
it just not necessarily his passion, but he was just kind of doing because it was fun?
I don't know. It
Are you guys still cool with him?
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you guys
yeah,
still
yeah.
talk
Josh-
a lot? Like,
I
are you
still
guys...
see him all the time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I mean,
good.
Josh is my brother. We've known each other since
Nice,
we were
good.
teenagers.
He's like our dumb little brother.
Josh, shout
Yeah.
out to you, homie.
Yeah.
But
Josh, if you
I don't
want to
know.
defend yourself
Some people,
one-on-one.
everyone has a threshold of how much
I
crap
get
they
it.
can take.
Sure.
And being an entrepreneur myself for several years, you always have competition. You have always people bad mouthing your work. So it just kind of comes with the territory. And then when you're doing this, especially from a creative standpoint, and Josh is very creative. Josh,
It's obvious. It
Josh
really
is a
is
great
obvious.
writer.
Right. You
I
can
mean, like
tell.
Josh could be a sitcom or like a
SNL
sketch
writer.
show
Oh,
writer.
you can
easily.
tell that easily.
Yeah.
He's a super smart, funny dude.
And Josh would always come up with different ideas for different sketches, different things, segments to do on the show. But when you are like that, you're typically very sensitive, and you can easily
Yeah.
get the wind knocked out of your sails. And I think that was
Okay.
the situation with him.
Sure.
And so I understand. And when you have people
Sensitive
who are
artists.
hunting through your work
Why
to
are
find
people
fault,
hunting you down?
because some people just
Why
don't
are
have
people hunting you down?
We got like John Wick.
Yeah.
What? I mean, do you not?
Yeah,
have
we're the John
anything
Wick
to-
of the podcast.
Yeah, you should take that as the biggest compliment. That
No,
people,
we did.
because
I mean, we
people
did.
are taking time out of their life. What's the most precious thing on earth? It's not money. It's
Time.
not gold. It's time.
Yeah.
People are taking time
We
out of their
occupied
lives
somebody's
on this
time.
earth to come at you.
Yeah.
That's a giant
Yeah.
compliment.
A lot of time too. Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Oh, people would
They
find
were
like,
so generous
you
with
did
their
this
time.
on episode 28, 45 minutes. And
You
I'm
got to be kidding
wow,
me. I
wow,
wish
you
I had
really
that.
delved into this.
I wish I had haters like that. I just have haters that make a rap diss about me.
Dude,
and then
I
I
want to hear
shut them
that.
down. You can hear it.
Yeah, I want to hear
Yeah,
it.
check it out on YouTube. It's
It's
so
talented.
It's
I
so
break
funny.
it. I break it down.
Weren't they? I don't know the full backstory. Wasn't it people who you had on the show at one point?
It was people that were helping me with the podcast.
Oh,
This is a purely solo podcast. I do everything. I had this chick come in that wanted to help me. And after a while, somebody warned me, be wary of people that jump onto people's coattails. And that's kind of what she was doing.
no.
But she helped me out, got me some gas, and was selling me a bill of goods that wasn't going to pander out. Like, I just started seeing how immature, unprofessional, and shystery. She was a legit shyster, and
Yeah.
she is a crazy person. I'm not gonna go. Anyways, I said, you know what? It was awesome working with all of you because I was working with a group of people. I said, it was awesome working with you guys. You guys are very talented, but I'm gonna just continue my podcast by myself and go separate ways. They got really butthurt about that, and then
That's what made them come up with some sort of diss track?
What can I say?
You got to just come up with a better diss track.
I was going to
Go real hard, like real producers and rap. Like
But see, on the flip side, I saw
have
where
access to rappers around.
that would be.
I
Great.
saw where you come from. Like, if someone took the time
get with
to
Tech
get
Nine.
behind a mic and record something and produce something and to tweak it, adjust the EQ, like,
That's a lot.
I
you almost
addressed
got to
that too, yeah.
take it as a compliment.
I did. I
Yeah.
was like, holy shit, I made it.
because
Holy shit, I made it. Someone made a diss track about me. I made it. You took the time to do that. You
So-
produced a known beat and made a
years
rap.
ago when I worked at the radio station, I was in the sales and marketing side, and we always used to the kind of the mantra was that if anybody has any emotional reaction to an advertisement, you have won. And I mean any emotional attachment. At the time, what was big and popular was that was easy button at the Office Max. Like,
Oh, yeah,
he'd hit a
yeah,
button
yeah,
like,
yeah.
that was easy.
Yep.
That was easy, and
Right.
people hated that commercial.
It was awful.
You know what was funny is you remember it.
Yeah.
Now, if I mention any other commercial that aired like
Very
you know,
good point.
Sarah Lee or something, if you know,
Nobody
remember-
doesn't like Sarah Lee.
but if I mention a specific
Bad
commercial,
example. I'm just kidding.
but if I mention a specific commercial, like, hey, remember the brunette lady with the kid that came in and said, hey, tough day at school,
Right.
and I'll bake you cook. You don't remember that
No.
commercial. You remember that was easy. That
Yeah,
was
the
easy.
easy button.
So we always used to have that mantra that any ad that evokes any type of emotion, whether it's positive or negative, you have
Yeah.
won. You've cut through the crap. You've cut through
And
the
your
noise.
brain, and your
That's why-
brain recognizes.
That's why
negative.
Donald Trump has such a loyal
Yeah.
following. He's the "that was easy" button of
Exactly.
Ah, yes, it
But that's the
is.
thing. It's like if you do something enough to ruffle feathers for
Just
somebody to go,
repetitive.
that makes me so mad. I'm going to spend a day working on a 2 or 3 minute track. I'm like, do you not see the irony in that? Like they're
Exactly.
trying to diss you, and yet they wasted a whole half a day or a day and a
Right.
half for you, based
yeah.
on you.
Oh yeah,
It's like, who's the winner in that? You are.
I am.
I don't care how much they degrade you in the world of marketing and advertising. You have won. If I remember the whole what was it, the Gillette like what's it meant to be a real man campaign?
Oh, that was just recently.
yeah, real recent, the past few weeks.
It's like, hey, beta cucks.
Who won? Gillette.
Yeah.
Because they had people talking about them about
Free
the commercial.
advertising.
Creative
Exactly.
controversy.
It was talked about on
Everywhere.
podcasts, other YouTube videos,
Yeah.
even people who hated it. Who were
Yep.
like, here's a 5-minute rant on why this video
And
sucks.
here they are. Gillette is coming after men and
I
white
watched-
men, and why they're just.
I
always
watched that
raping
video
people.
and I'm like, okay.
What do I care?
We could do
It's a
better.
commercial.
We could do better.
Gillette knew what they were doing. They
Okay.
won. With the Nike Colin Kaepernick thing.
Oh, it made me cry.
Oh, we even talked about that on our show.
I thought it was a great commercial.
Yeah.
We talked
Yeah,
about that
I
on our
think
If
show.
you actually watched it and just that was the thing, they were getting the people that had the bias of what they already thought it was going to be and about. That already got their reaction before they even saw it. If
Yeah.
you watched it and had an unbiased and just like opened up your mind and watched it, it was like, that's a great commercial.
Yeah.
Nothing,
It's
not a big deal.
motivating. It's smart. It just
Totally.
it gets people.
They
to-
hit all the cues. Yeah.
yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah,
If,
and that's the thing.
if Muhammad Ali had been around, oh my God! I mean, he was similar deal. He boycotted the
He was even
Vietnam
bigger,
War.
yeah.
He's like, I'm not going to go kill brown people in
Yeah.
another country when brown people here
Yeah.
are not getting the fair shake, and they put him in prison. You
Well,
know, and
that's
it's
the
like
thing.
2
If-
years, right?
and now they're doing it to Colin Kaepernick, man. They're
But at the end of
it,
it, we talked about it on our show. Was that, do you not see the irony that when people are like posting YouTube videos like, we're burning all the Nike stuff, It's
publicity.
We
Nike-
spent this
Nike-
money,
What
and
is-
we're gonna burn
yeah,
it.
we
You
bought
bought
all
our
this Nike
shoes.
equipment. What does Nike care? You already paid for
All right.
it.
You
Now, if
already
you
bought it, yeah.
stole it,
Oh, and first of all, Nike has slaves.
Yes,
You
they
know,
do.
like let's get angry at Nike about a
Oh,
lot of stuff.
sweatshops.
Other than, yeah,
And they've been doing that forever.
it's like
It's-
no,
it's
don't
just
care about that.
funny,
No,
but
how,
now-
it's funny how easily people fall prey to this stuff. It's like the executives who put together the ad agents or executives who put together the Colin Kaepernick ad or the Gillette ad. They know exactly what they were doing.
Yeah,
They
totally.
knew exactly what they were doing. And the fact that there was an uproar of it, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, they fed right into the, fed into the machine.
Oh, if you don't think that didn't come from boardrooms and testing
my
groups,
gosh.
and they didn't talk about the consequences.
Of course.
they do a benefit analysis on
Cost
every
benefit, yeah.
every single thing.
Oh,
they
yeah.
do. They did that, and they probably polled the country. They looked at different polls, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, people lean this way."
That's
Yeah.
why, like, when I
Well,
when
not
I-
only that, but it's worldwide too.
Totally.
Nike's worldwide.
yeah.
That's
when I
right.
saw your video of like the whole diss track or whatever, I saw the irony in it. It's like if someone is
I think I mentioned it too.
you might have
Maybe
but I'm
not,
like the
but-
irony is someone spent time and effort to put this together.
They
And then-
created their own beat. They
Yeah.
didn't rip it off
From
of YouTube.
scratch.
This
They
wasn't
didn't
like,
sample it.
This wasn't royalty free that they ripped off YouTube.
Yeah.
They created their own beat.
some people just don't
It's like an arts
understand.
and crafts hour.
They don't
Yeah.
understand
Oh, that's cool.
You're
inspiring.
The backfire effect. The fact that you're doing this, even if someone who is a fan of, and I don't even know the party. Honestly, I have no skin in the game. I'm kind of oblivious to what happened. But if this other party, if someone's a fan of theirs and has never heard of your podcast, I guarantee
nobody's a fan of theirs.
A good amount of theirs, fans of theirs, a chunk will either go.
Nobody's a fan of theirs. When I tell you that, nobody's
Really?
a fucking fan
I have
of
no
the
idea who that
custom
is.
cowards.
I didn't even know who that is.
They used me. I'm a nobody. I'm a way nobody. My podcast is nothing. I'm saying that, and I have more clout.
Yeah.
Than those fucks. Fuck you, you fucking custom cunts. Come at me, you bitches.
But that's what's so funny is that like if some I don't know, like you got to think a big picture. The big of all the problems.
They don't think. There's some people that don't think long term. Some people are very reactionary and think short term, and there's other people that have patience and can think long term.
Yeah.
I'm the latter.
I look at it and I even had to think of this in our podcast when people are nitpicking and splitting hairs. Of all the problems in the world, there's political unrest. There's third world countries of just turmoil, of children dying, not being fed.
Real problems.
People getting raped.
Government
oppression. And yet you don't like what some small time, no offense, some small time podcast said about you, and you want to dedicate X amount of hours, maybe even a day or two.
I got an episode out of the fucking deal. You know how hard it is to get out an episode? It's like,
I know
I got a free episode.
The track was obviously meant to do harm. I get that. To be like, this guy's a jerk, and we're going to throw jabs at him. I understand.
Make it my theme song. Dude.
And honestly, the production was great. It was very clever. But
very clever.
Do you realize
done? It was wonderful.
The backfire
effect. They spent
$7,000
to
they
make
didn't
that
spend
video.
any money.
That would be so funny.
It would be.
Like
that would be awesome.
I'm trying to think of. Okay, so Casey. This is an exaggerated example. Let's say Casey Neistat doesn't like.
He's ugly.
He's
ugly.
Yeah, he's a weird looking dude. Let's say he hates your podcast. Absolutely hates your podcast. He could listen to it on a plane. Casey Neistat makes an episode. Makes a YouTube video going, this is how much Neandertalk sucks.
I blow up. If that happens.
You're set. You got sponsorships coming out of the woodwork.
Oh, shit.
He could talk absolute crap about you. You've won.
Oh, man.
That's the exaggerated example. That's what
how
they
do
did.
I come at? I got to start.
You just got to start pissing people off. Yeah.
I don't want to do that on purpose.
Well, that's a business.
But
strategy.
maybe some people. Who can I piss off? You guys got some.
Let's start some fake beef.
Who can I? No, I'll make some real beef. Who can I go at?
Joel Nichols.
No. I knew you would say
Dude,
that.
Joel would be like, yes.
No, Joel,
yes, it's happening. My prayers have been answered.
You're too smart and you're too tall. I need you dumber and shorter.
No, man, I don't know.
The Mind Pump guys just call him out of the blue. Like these little sissies.
You know what? I mentioned Taco the Town kind of big lead me. I have more Instagram followers, by the way. And Kansas City Podcast big league me or said no. However,
only because they're dead.
Let me look at the positive side. Just last week, I recorded an episode with Shuttlecock Magazine.
Oh, cool.
Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
He's awesome, dude. He's a fucking cool kid.
His
name's Aaron Rhodes.
We saw him at the last Thunder Gong. He was waiting outside the media. He's kind of a small, tiny kid. Yeah.
Super cool. I had him on. It was fun. He puts on shows like hip hop and punk shows. I went to a show that he put on with just some local groups, and it was a lot of fun. I went to like this super underground punk hip hop show. It was
awesome.
Really cool. So I had him on. He was super receptive to being on. And Open Belly, they're going to be on. Shoot. Is that the only two podcasts I had? Oh, and you guys. But you guys are quasi-podcast.
It used to be a podcast. Man, I don't want to sound egotistical, but man, I honestly think that had we just kept rolling with it, we would have. I mean, we were on the cusp. We would have been the Kansas City podcast.
You would have had.
Everyone have thought.
You would have won the best pitch award this year.
Yeah, I think
probably
we would have.
Probably.
So it just sucks.
You guys asked me what it entailed campaigning for that, but you guys actually did it.
Oh, it's real
So
simple.
what's the
So your listeners are going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting. for you.
and that's the dream is over.
all 12 of them. All
Goodbye.
all 12 of
I
your
can't
listeners.
get these motherfuckers to give me an iTunes review. Are you kidding me? They ain't gonna do shit.
You know what we
Goodbye.
did?
It's done.
You know what we did? We had to bribe our listeners to give us our iTunes reviews. We would say, "Hey," oh, and that was the other thing. Man, God, I forgot how genius we were.
Write
So
this
our
shit down, Robin.
our show was so weird and oddball. We basically knew that people who loved the show were weird and oddballs themselves, and we said, "Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I know it takes time to write a review. If you write a review for our show between this time and this time, make it weird. Make it weird. But give us 5 stars. Give us 5 stars. Write a description that has nothing to do with the show. Make it entertaining, crazy, fun, whatever." Said, between this time and this time, we're going to pick our favorite. You win a...
Best one gets a blowjob from Josh.
Yeah, we'll give you a $50 or $100 gift card from Amazon. So we made it
Damn.
worth the
Even
walk.
better.
Yeah.
Damn.
So...
I gotta pee so bad. Finish this story really fast.
So yeah, and that's what. And then what was funny is we had so many people, so many guests who said, "Yeah, I looked you up on iTunes, and I would read the reviews, and your reviews are weird."
Weird, man.
And I'm like,
right,
"Mission
man.
accomplished."
All right. I'm putting that out there from now on. People, if anyone's listening now, throw a weird review for my podcast on iTunes. The
And the
weirder
guys
the
from
better.
Kansas City will give you a gift card.
And I'll give you some kind of. I'll make something dope up and give it to you. I promise.
Now,
Like
but
a
we-
macaroni necklace.
We had, yeah, I mean, we bribed people with we bribed people with gift cards and T-shirts. We had a bunch of T-shirts made. Kyle's wearing one of them
I like
now.
that shirt.
And
Wish you would have brought me one.
yeah, it's just I'm a sales and marketing guy. I studied it left and right. I tried to be real strategic, and man, I don't want to sound egotistical, but
You're not.
I think we had 2 or 3 years down the road, man, we would have been the Kansas
I think
City
so,
podcast
easily.
everyone would have thought of, and it's just like,
Damn.
Yeah, it was getting close to where, like, any comic that came into town, we could have called them up and had them on.
yeah.
Anybody.
And when people started recognizing, albeit a few, I'm not going to sound like we're rock stars by any means.
You are.
When people would recognize us,
I'm
for
in
like,
greatness. We're in greatness here, Rob.
Whatever.
Can you believe this shit?
Like,
I'm
gonna use that
I said,
term.
I didn't know they were this big, and it's getting bigger and bigger.
Mind blowing.
Look at these.
well,
guys.
Kyle's 6'2", 6'3", pretty big.
Something like that, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when we had people who would, the first incident we ever had was Thundergong. We were at Thundergong. We had no idea what we were doing. We had some guy come out of the blue and just go, "Hey, love your guys' show, man." And we're going,
Wow, how cool was that?
What?
We stopped recording. We're in the VIP section. This is all celebrities. And this guy's like, "Love you guys. Kansas City, yeah." And
Wow.
Matt's like, pause.
and I
He
moved the
gets
microphone
up.
away.
He's
Wait,
like,
are you?
do you know
who we are?
Yeah.
Wow, how cool
He
is
goes, "Yeah,
that?
the Kansas City guys." And I said, "Yeah, but so you."
Yeah.
And then I'm borderline interrogating him, going,
Kansas City rules.
"You listen to our show."
Where did you hear about us?
Yes.
Where were the
That's
other trucks
awesome.
going?
Hell yeah.
Swear to me.
Oh man, dude, how cool is that?
And
It
then,
was
yeah,
funny.
I mean, we had, I mean, albeit very small, relatively small in comparison to other stuff. We were
I
like,
ran into Eric Stone Street. And,
Oh,
Oh,
my
yeah, I
god,
forgot
that's
about-
right. Can
and,
you hold court again? I gotta pee again. I can't hold it anymore.
Yeah, and he
I'm
was
so
he was
sorry,
like, "Yeah,
boss.
Kansas City podcast. I know, yeah, because we had his sister. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we had his sister on. So
he knew us. He's like, "Oh, you're the podcast guys."
No way.
it's weird when that happens, but
That's insane.
If you yell loud enough, Ryan, from the bathroom, we can keep recording.
man, you know, he really needs a toilet chair. Like that would be pretty good,
There's a
right?
kind of hole in that.
I'm surprised you guys haven't upgraded to the toilet chairs yet.
Because that's what we did. Like, all right, guys, we're gonna do our 5-hour episode. Speaking of long episodes, we definitely have to do. I mean, there's no question we're gonna have to do a video review of Avengers Endgame.
Oh, of course.
There's gonna
man.
be a plethora of stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Like what? Like what though?
Where Captain America becomes Iron Man, right?
Yeah, I don't know what to expect after.
I don't know, and
Captain
that's
Marvel.
great, and I'm completely okay with it. Hey, what program do you guys use to edit all this stuff?
OBS 20.1.
OBS. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I've never really worked with it.
We used GarageBand for a while, and then I switched over to Reaper. Love
Reaper's a
Reaper.
good DAW. I mean, that's pretty intuitive. But you can do a lot on just GarageBand. It's pretty surprising.
So does he normally have someone behind the computer?
Yeah, usually he has some people. He was working with some people like he had been talking about before. That group of individuals.
Yeah.
That he had been associated. With. And when that kind of fell through, you know, I would say
Oh, shut up! He's here. No, I don't think Ryan's Canadian.
Yeah.
very close.
Can you imagine if
What
he
a
was?
what
though?
a silly idea! Who would bring that up?
Don't be racist, Matt. Canadians are people too.
I'm damn near Canadian. I was born and raised in Michigan. Here's Michigan. I was born up here,
The UP.
close
Oh.
to the UP.
Oh, really?
Very
Oh,
close
okay.
to the, right on Lake Huron.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Now
I-
Michigan's a state,
Oops.
right?
Yeah.
It's a
No,
beautiful
Ky-
state.
Kyle bumped into Eric Stone Street at, was it Silver Dollar City?
Yeah. And I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he's like, "Who are you?" Oh, he saw my hat, Kansas City. He's like, "Yeah."
Oh, you're the podcast guy.
He's like, "Yeah, I know who you are."
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
that's
But
really
Kyle
crazy.
sent a text to Josh and I like, hey, here's a selfie I just
So
took.
he is like a legit Kansas City supporter.
He's
Oh yeah, he
Oh.
was
He's
just
not-
here
he just
for
doesn't ham it up for the parade. The
No.
St.
Yeah,
he's here for
Patrick's
the
Day
parade.
parade.
Yeah, no, he's legit. He's all in Kansas City. Like, he's here all the time. I just hung out with his parents yesterday. Yeah, like they're
Wow.
like his whole family is legit, like rooted in
Dope.
Kansas City,
Mhm.
and
Oh, that's awesome.
her
Yeah.
our Eric's sister. Like we're both involved with the startup of a new foundation that
Autism Foundation.
Maria is starting. Well, with several other people called Building Hope for Autism.
They're
That's the
studying
puzzle
us.
pieces.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yep. Kyle
You've seen
designed the
that?
logo.
Yeah,
Where'd you see that?
everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, the
That's
the
really
web.
weird.
I'm
Yeah.
designing the
It's
site.
weird.
Yeah, it's my design.
Yeah, Kyle designed
Really?
Yeah.
God damn it!
Yeah.
I told you we were some ballers.
it. Kyle
No,
designed
because
it.
I see posters of it like
Yeah.
everywhere, and I'm like, "That's my drawing."
Oh shit!
Their site should be going live by the end of this coming week if they give me the appropriate copy. I designed the website for them, so it's basically sitting in limbo. But once I connect it to the domain, it'll be live. But yeah,
I'm
that's-
not worthy to be with you guys. This is so incredible.
Again, man, this is
Yeah, drawing
this-
puzzle pieces is not for mere mortals.
It's not.
I'm really good at clicking and dragging.
Can you imagine?
No, it's the thing about this silly city. It's a great and it's a bad thing. It is who you know.
Yeah.
People talk about what's the thing? 6 degrees of separation.
Separation,
Yeah,
sure.
separation. Kansas City, it's like 3 or 4, and I'm
Easily.
not kidding. Everybody knows
Small
somebody. Yeah, it's the biggest small town you're probably
Yeah.
gonna be.
Yeah.
So if you have a few names of notoriety, and honestly, our show has helped us out with that a lot, and you name drop those shows, that can help you out a lot. Like if we name drop,
I'm not a name dropper, so I have to start name dropping.
yeah,
Even though I had Johnny Depp on my podcast a few weeks ago,
Dude,
I have to name drop that
that's
shit.
it.
That's not what I do.
yeah, don't do that.
Johnny Depp's a big friend, a long time
That's-
friend of mine.
Yeah. That's
He's got
low,
some financial
that's
issues
lowest
right
common
now.
Yeah.
denominator.
Back when he started wearing the scarves, I said, "Stop doing that. It's pretentious."
No, but I
It's a
What a
little
weird
silly."
dude, huh?
And he said, "You know what? Fuck you. I'm done with you and Neandertalk. I'm gonna wear my scarves and buy $300,000 of
he
wine
said,
every year."
"Where-
All
where's the-
right, peace out.
Where's the Ken City podcast? As Jack Sparrow. As Jack Sparrow. He
Oh,
said
you
that,
know
obviously.
what? Fuck you, Ryan. Well, I'm going back to Taco the Town.
Yeah, really. I'm going to the Taco the Town podcast.
Dude, Dave Keith's had some people on. He had Yoda on. The
Yeah, that
real
that
Yoda.
was that was one Tom Kane. We were trying.
Who? Dave Keats?
No, Tom Kane.
Taco the Town. He
Oh.
had
Yeah.
the dude that plays Yoda.
He does the cartoon
He
voice
gets
of
people.
Yoda.
He does
I'm-
the cartoon voice
not
of
hating on
Yoda,
him.
which I would say is better than the Frank Oz voice.
Yeah,
It sounds less
I
Muppety.
have to give ourselves credit. we went.
No, don't give ourselves any more credit.
No, we
Fat
went
enough.
big when it came to the guests. Relatively big.
We shot a little higher than we should have.
Yeah, we tried to bite off more than we could chew. We're
Shoot
like,
for the moon.
we said at the very
Or
least,
shoot for the
they,
stars.
they can
Don't
tell us
limit
no.
yourself.
At the very least, they can tell us no.
Oh yeah, we talked to the Mystery Science Theater guys too. We saw them.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
No, I
That
go
just-
way back.
Dude,
That didn't work out
in
'cause of
studio,
scheduling,
and
yeah.
they were like, "Yeah, we totally do it," but they couldn't.
It just didn't work out because of scheduling wise.
But they would have been
Yeah.
on our show. That would have been a huge.
Been
Because
awesome. All right.
I grew up on that, man. The Mystery Science Theater
I
3000.
don't understand it. That you have to bring it back. You have too much invested. You have too much clout. You have too much Kansas City clout. Too much investment. You guys have to bring it back, even if it's just the two of you.
Okay, let's do it.
I
really,
think-
I
I
mean,
think we will-
I'm listening to
I
the
think
passion that's in your guys' voice. You
I
guys
think we're gonna
obviously miss it.
I think
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna come
You
back.
fucking miss
I think
it.
we're gonna come back stronger.
we're gonna do something.
Yeah, it's not.
and
dead
that we're
yet.
still trying to figure
Okay,
stuff
good.
out.
Yeah, it's not dead.
Kansas City,
no.
it's just not dead, everybody.
No, Kansas City Media is not dead. And I'll be completely honest, that was a reason I named it Kansas City Media. I did not name it Kansas City Podcast.
Right.
The podcast was the podcast.
Right.
But I'm like, we're going to name this Kansas City Media because
Do audio, video companies.
because it was like, hey, who knows? Maybe our Instagram blows up and people just love seeing little 60-second skits.
Sure.
And nobody listens to the podcast. Or maybe we do a YouTube channel and the YouTube channel blows up and no one cares about the podcast. Or maybe the podcast blows up and, no one cares about our social media followings. Or
some
like,
of our YouTube videos accidentally blew up while we weren't even watching.
which one?
I don't know, like a few of like Optimus Prime goes grocery shopping. Like
Oh, that's old.
thousands and
Those are old.
thousands of views.
You know
It's
what?
Like what the heck?
That's the thing.
like these stupid little home videos we made way back in the day.
Had we stuck with it, when people are like, yeah, I started with YouTube in the heyday back in 2008. I'm like,
So
that
did-
was us.
Yeah, so did we, but we stopped.
Yeah, we
That's the
just
problem.
stopped doing it. And see, that's why I'm not too bummed out because at our core, Josh, Kyle, and myself, when we first started over 10 years ago doing stuff creatively, it was video. So
10 years, man. That
Well-
was like 17 years ago.
yeah, it was before
that
Julie
was a
was
long
born.
time ago, man.
I dropped my wedding ring somewhere.
Yeah.
Ladies.
Well, you're single now. That's how that works. You're no longer married.
guess I'm
Goodbye,
free.
Katie.
Ladies, I got some Instagram models that follow the podcast that have got some pretty.
Found it. And I'm
Oh,
married
he's
again.
married
And he's
again.
married
Sorry,
again.
everybody.
I'm sorry, gentlemen.
How
if
did you
you're on the
enjoy your
DL,
bachelorhood?
Fellas.
fellas? On the back pages, if you're looking for that, never mind.
No, keep going with it.
Back page. Oh my god. That was
Yeah, there-
that was basically a prostitution ring.
Not basically, it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had like drug dealers and prostitutes.
Yeah,
On there. It was
yeah. How the pitch back pages had that shit.
it was on
going
the literally on the back page of the pitch.
man
Like-
on man
oh.
massages.
Yeah.
Would you like a massage? I come to you.
and cum was not spelled correctly.
No, it
yeah.
was a
It was-
dyslexic or something.
I was
I don't
like,
know
what's
what the
wrong
deal
with?
was.
Why are they spelling it like that? Is
Yeah.
this a Chinese
They're
person?
missing
Like,
a letter or two.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was a thing for a while.
So the pitch, I'm coming at you. No pun intended.
You do have some competition though, because I think was it Dave from Taco the Town? Didn't he have people from the pitch on his show
All right.
recently?
Yeah.
So like I said, Open Belly's gonna win or Taco the Town. He just had Taco Week, and he had people from the pitch.
Yeah.
And he is also advertising with the
I'd
pitch.
be surprised if Joel's not nominated at least.
How do you get nominated? Can I get nominated?
Oh yeah, we didn't get to this. So to get nominated, basically what the pitch does is
$1,000.
They they sent out an email to all their newsletter subscribers or whatever and said, hey, pick a category and nominate whoever you want. So you have to basically tell your audience when the opportunity arises, go to this link and nominate and type in.
It's
the
kind of a
Neandertalk.
drawn out process, and each
There's
person
two stages.
They have to go through a little bit
Yeah.
just to nominate you. So we were.
I'd like to be
shocked.
nominated.
So when it comes to that, once you're nominated, it ain't over. Basically, what they do is because you can nominate.
We didn't
anybody.
even know about it until we were nominated, and we were like,
wow.
"Wait, this is a thing."
We thought it was a
okay.
clerical error.
Yeah,
So we got nominated, which was cool, which meant that people went out of their way to go, oh, I can't say podcast.
Y'all
how
spelled
many
Kansas
podcasts are
wrong.
in Kansas City?
Oh, probably
Roughly.
200 or 300.
200 or 300? You
Are
think?
you
Oh, yeah.
freaking
No.
kidding me?
No,
Serious.
I wouldn't say 200 or 300.
200 or 300.
I think you might be right.
I think I might be right too.
I think you might be right.
It's a
Out,
lot more
out of
than you
ones
think.
that are semi-good
Legit-
and listenable,
legit
All right, now
podcast?
that's a different question.
I'd say
20.
15. I was
Yeah,
gonna
maybe
say
15 or
I
20.
now I think you're on to
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think so.
Yeah, it definitely weans down. The more authentic you get, the more
Produced.
Legit
I think
you
I'm
get.
well
up there.
produced. Yeah.
No, you got a great setup, good audio, good video.
Good
It's
audio,
just-
man.
It's not
Good
for
lighting.
everybody.
Good audio puts
Yeah.
you ahead
That's the
of a
thing.
majority of
I
the
mean,
competition.
I'm faking it until I hopefully make it.
That's
That's
everybody.
all.
That's everybody. Fake it to me. Again, it's all about perception. You give the perception we were a bigger podcast with more clout and notoriety than we ever deserved.
That's awesome.
People- when
No,
people
you
were like-
deserved it.
Like, oh, you're
You're
Kansas City.
consistent. You're consistent. That
Was
huge.
a tough part.
That's
yeah,
huge.
and that was tough. It was really, really tough. I mean, every single week we were recording something.
You ought to reach out to some local scientists. Seriously,
I
like
would, no, seriously, I would love to.
contact
actually.
the colleges. Look up like
I've thought
who's the
about that.
professor of quantum physics right now. I can't even remember his name. The guy I had.
Are you open to the idea of taking it mobile too? Taking your
I've done it mobile. If you see that Expo sticker there,
Yeah.
move that CD. So there was a thing, the KC Game Con. It
Oh,
was,
yeah.
KC,
Oh,
it was a
I
game-
saw you with like Instagram posts on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I took.
But didn't you bring the whole like
I
computer?
brought
setup?
everything. I brought
yeah,
the computer. I brought the boom arms. I brought basically my whole
Yeah.
studio there.
See, we did that at first when people would say, "Can you do it on site?" We're like, "Yeah," and I would bring
It was-
the whole studio.
And it was 2 days long, and I could leave everything there.
Yeah.
It was secure. And I just sat and hung out and just interviewed different people. I think I had 6 different podcasts for the 2 days, and it was awesome.
yeah.
It was amazing.
But like that Zoom H6, that's a lifesaver. Like if you buy a little, basically the equivalent to the headphone splitter and just power it, you can do a line out of the Zoom H6, and then you can have up to 5 monitors. And then I think if you record it as WAV files, each individual person has a separate track, so you can still edit each individual track instead of combining it as to one MP3. And so we would, like Joel does.
So if one person's clipping, you can dial it back
Yeah.
without messing with the
would
other.
would Josh have understood everything you just
Not
said?
not
Not
a
at all.
word.
No,
not
no,
a
no, no,
word.
no.
He'd be
Me
drooling.
neither.
He would have pooped his
Oh, okay.
pants out of confusion.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. what?
Basically,
this
that-
is why I just do this shit.
Long story
That's why I
The
brought
magic
the
box.
I know there's easier
It takes
ways.
your voice and puts it inside of
I
it.
know.
No, but I remember when we said
Yeah.
like, "Hey, we could take it mobile," I would pack up everything. And
That's
once,
how I am.
Once I bought the Zoom H6, I'm like, "Oh, this is a lifesaver."
Yeah.
And
Even
it
like
ma-
plugging in a cable. Josh is like,
How
go,
does
does
Yeah.
it go in?
so many
it?
times we do on-site episodes and Josh would just sit.
He's
It's
just like,
I'll let you guys put it together.
You guys know what to do.
right.
You do
exactly.
you, I'll do me.
Don't worry, Josh, we got it.
Yeah. No, that was awesome. That was a really good time bringing it mobile and doing that. They invited me to come back next year, and in fact, there was a dude there that's a really big. Do you guys know what Twitch is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The game thing.
Yeah.
There's a guy that was there that has like over 200,000 followers, I think, on Twitch. I
Wow.
think his name's Kong Fan,
Hmm.
Kong Fam, like a Korean fella that
Of
just plays.
course.
And he lives here in Kansas
course.
City, and he's got a huge following, but
Wow.
people don't know
Twitch
it.
is blowing up a little bit, huh?
It's
I
becoming
started out.
substitute to YouTube.
I do my
Yeah.
podcast.
YouTube
because
needs
of
some
Twitch.
competition.
I started out on Twitch.
Really?
I streamed online poker playing Twitch.
I wonder, can we do 2 platforms?
Yes.
I think so.
On
Yeah.
all our
I
videos?
have this on Twitch and YouTube.
Because it wouldn't be hard. You just upload the exact
yeah,
same
you
thing.
can-
the exact
to
same thing.
MP4. Yeah.
It's a different audience, though.
It is.
Because people that are on Twitch are usually on YouTube, but people on YouTube are usually not on Twitch.
Twitch is interactive. It's very if you want the Twitch audience and the Twitch gains, you have to get balls deep into Twitch, and it's very. You would have to do stuff live and interact with the people that are connecting with you. It's almost like Facebook Live.
Oh, really?
So people
Yeah.
are talking to you, and you want to talk. You really want to engage with your audience, and you build a community. You build a
Yeah.
Twitch community with. You could have Kansas City Twitch community where you're going to the roastery and you're doing that whole thing. And somehow you're also doing it live. What you probably could
Like
have
over a
done.
phone?
Were you filming that
Yeah.
roastery? You filmed
Yeah.
it.
I was the camera guy.
Okay, what you could have done, and this is just me brainstorming, whatever. doing what you're doing, but also doing it off your phone that's streaming to Twitch.
Oh, yeah.
And then people would have seen that feed and be like, "Oh, what kind of coffee is that?" And you would say,
Have a little chat.
and you type back,
Interact with
"Oh,
them.
that's the Ethiopian blonde roast."
That'd be
blah,
cool
blah,
if you
blah.
had like a phone mount to your gimbal.
Yeah.
Alongside.
That's
Done.
what you do.
Yeah.
And then so you're filming normally with that, but then you're also interacting with Twitch,
Makes
and
sense.
then it's a revenue streaming system
cool.
as well. So there's a currency, a Twitch currency. It's called bits, and you can earn them by watching commercials, and they just randomly give you bits, which I can earn 100 bits, and each bit is worth a penny. If I'm watching Kansas City Media and I'm chatting with them, I really like this roastery edition. I'm gonna donate 50 bits. Boop, 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 boop. I just do it, just from watching commercials.
Wow.
That 50 bits goes to you, which is 50 cents. You get enough people doing that, and they're also like, I love Kansas City Media. I'm gonna subscribe to them, and it costs $5 a month. And then they subscribe, and they get a couple little perks that you give them, like just little emotes, little
I have to
chat
look into
room
this.
things. And,
So
I
people
know
could just
it-
watch a bunch of adverts and like collect bits, huh?
and they
That's
can buy
cool.
them.
Huh.
Like, I'm not getting enough. I want to buy bits. And then they can
Huh.
also donate to you. There's a donation button where it goes to a PayPal. I like Kansas City so much, and I like this roastery edition. Yes, I'm going to donate. I hit their little donate button. I donate you $5.
Yeah.
And then on the screen that they're watching from on the Twitch channel comes a big diamond that falls down that says, like, say my name's Casey Rhino. Casey Rhino donates $5, and a big diamond comes down, and it shows. Oh, and then you would say, "Oh, thank you, Casey Rhino, for the donation." It's very interactive, and it's just a way to generate
Let's look into
revenue.
that.
It's an interesting idea.
It's blowing up. It's Amazon just bought it a couple years ago,
Oh,
and they're heavily investing in it.
It'd be cool if you could multicast to like.
There has to be
different
some sort of
platforms.
competition to YouTube because
It is
YouTube
Twitch.
is just
Twitch is huge. It's big for game. Really, what it is, it's for gamers. Fortnite.
Yeah.
I want to play Fortnite. People watch me play Fortnite because they want to learn how to get good at it, and they like me. I'm so good at Fortnite. They're watching me,
Yeah.
and they're giving me bits. They're donating. They're subscribing me. And Ninja. Do you guys know who Ninja is?
Yeah.
And the Kong fam, the guy that I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
He has like 200-something thousand subscribers
Wow.
on Twitch.
It all started
It
with
costs
that,
$5 a month to
that
subscribe.
PewDiePie guy. Like
Yep.
he was the first huge like watch me play video games and pay me kind of guy.
PewDiePie is pretty big. Yeah,
It was crazy.
at least the big controversial guy. Anyway.
Yeah.
So that's just a whole nother avenue. I don't know if that would be maybe your guys' platform to focus on, but it might be something to at least look into.
Something's got to be figured out soon because YouTube, if you are an influencer, and I hate that word, and we're not by any means. I'm not saying that.
I influence people.
Yeah, if you're an influencer, or you are a Casey Neistat or a PewDiePie or somebody, YouTube seems to be constantly shifting their guidelines, rules, and regulations that will. They say it's bettering somebody.
It's not.
But
the
if some-
censorship's getting to be
Yeah,
a real
like, I
deal. The
know-
demonetizing shit's getting
like,
a real
there-
fucking issue.
There is one. Somehow it popped up on like suggested videos I saw on the site. It was some girl who does like bikini try-on stuff, and I'm a guy, so I'm like, oh, I wonder what this is. So it was it's a young girl, and it was a video of her and her boyfriend. I think her and her boyfriend, Christina Cahill. I think that's what it is.
Right.
She does bikini try-on stuff, what they call a haul, I guess is that whatever the term.
Okay.
She did her latest video as of time of recording this had some sort of thing that's saying how YouTube is sexist, how they demonetize so many of her videos because like it's too much skin or it's over sexualization or something. And then when you look at these videos, it's literally just a girl going, here's my reviews of these different type of swimsuits. Like
Right.
this one.
But she happens to be hot, right?
She's very good looking. She's got a
course.
fantastic body. But I
What
wonder.
do you think that is? Angry feminists? I don't look like
I don't
that.
know.
I'm
I don't-
fat and I have a cat that loves me.
I
and
don't know.
Can't look like
because if you had a guy.
I mean, there's a portion for sure.
If you had
yeah.
some-
I'm
Europe-
sure. Like,
Yeah.
who else is going to complain about that?
If you had a
Are you
European
complaining
dude-
about a dime piece in a swimsuit?
I don't
no.
care. Don't
No,
care. Yeah.
a very small percentage is going to.
But the extreme
Yeah.
was like she had one video where she's in yoga pants and
yes.
a shirt on a football field showing like a workout. Like, hey, here's some. I've had a lot of people suggest over Instagram, hey, or they've asked me, hey, how do you do your leg and butt workout? And
Right.
she's just showing her completely
Right.
innocent. She's in workout clothes. They demonetized it for that reason because it was like over sexualization.
And who decides that?
That's the thing.
Who
And like
decides that?
who is the one pulling the plug and pulling the lever and
Billionaires.
going, no, that one.
advertisers.
And yet some guy.
But they're gonna have.
I don't know. No. I don't think it's advertisers. I don't think advertisers care.
You think it's straight up the liberal, like this extreme liberals with an agenda?
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I just think
Well, it
it's
has
just
to be somebody.
it's
You have
just
to speculate
something-
somewhere.
it's funny how an entity that large cherry picks what
It
they find
sucks.
offensive.
It
and
sucks
not
because
offensive.
there's not a competition.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what I'm
And
alluding back to.
Twitch is gonna be somewhat of a competition, but again, it's Amazon, so they're gonna censor too.
Sure.
So there needs to be, and there does need to be a free
And I
market.
I understand
open
that to a
video
point.
Space, there's
Like-
Vimeo, but that's not big. I mean,
nah.
There's no real analog to YouTube. I mean, and that's the point. Like Jimmy Dore always makes. We have the freedom to go out.
he tried to kill himself too, right?
Jimmy Dore, no.
Are you sure about
I'm a
that?
hun- yeah,
Wasn't
yeah.
he a comedian?
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
sure?
No, I don't think
Who
so.
am I thinking of?
But
I'm gonna research that.
he talks about how we have the freedom to go out into the market. You
Yeah.
know, where people normally would get up on their soapbox and talk and spread their ideas. Well, now the market is Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, which is Facebook,
YouTube.
and it's YouTube,
YouTube's
which
the
is
second most. They say that when you search
Second
things,
circuit search engine.
yep,
Second most powerful
it's
search
Google. Google's number one. YouTube's number two.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but they're the same company.
Well, if I
you know?
Yeah.
if
They're
I
both
type
Google.
in how to something, I'm going to look on YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah.
I keyword how to podcast on my podcast for YouTube.
If you type in podcast equipment, Kansas City Podcast will pop up there. I go through a laundry
true.
list. Yeah,
Tube Buddy or something.
Huh?
Tube Buddy.
Tube Buddy? No,
Tube
it's just,
Buddy's a thing.
it's just me talking to the camera, going through all the equipment. Like
No,
the
I
different
mean Tube
microphones
Buddy's
we got.
like a program that tells you what's trending or
Oh.
what's good words to use. I don't use it. I don't think it's
Ooh, that's a
compatible
good
with
idea.
Mac. But it says here's these words that are used good for pimping your shit.
Huh. I have to think of that. Yeah, because I mean, on my personal Facebook page, I'm trying to bump up just the reviews and things like that. So I'm gonna have to Tube Buddy. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yep, Tube Buddy. Do you have PC?
Mac.
Oh, see, it's not. I
It's not
look into
compatible.
it. I don't think it is, but I am.
Unless you run an emulator.
You remember when emulators first came out?
Holy crap! It's 11:24.
Oh, do we
Yeah,
need to
dude.
get going?
Yeah, I mean, I got
gotta
to
wrap
All
it
right.
up, yeah.
Holy shit! I'm so
Yeah.
sorry,
No,
guys.
it's fine. I mean, it's a good and a bad thing. It's like, whoa, time flew by.
I didn't want to stop. I wanted this. I've been having such a good time.
Yeah, us
This
too,
is
man.
Fucking rad.
It's like, but I do have to adult tomorrow.
I
and
do
go to
too.
work. Yeah.
I do too. I'm good on that
Got
now.
a lot of work in the morning.
Kansas City Media, Kyle Matthew, Josh in spirit.
Yeah.
His fat
As if he's
spirit
died.
sitting right here.
Wow, this was really. I thought maybe. I'm in my head right now. Thank you guys. I appreciate
Yeah,
it. This
for
was
sure, man.
fucking amazing. Like,
a
really,
good
it means a
time.
lot to me to have you guys here. Like, this was a big deal. I didn't realize you guys' podcast was as big as it was. And
Yeah,
I
we
just-
didn't
I-
either.
We didn't either.
Really? I bet not. Really?
No.
I bet not.
And what is the saying? You never know what you have until it's
Until it was
gone.
gone,
Yeah.
and the second it was gone, it was like, whoa!
Everyone's going, no! What
Yeah.
happened?
I did.
Egyptians are on the thing like beep 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 beep.
I really
beep.
wanted to get you drunk and see why did the podcast end.
Well, ironically,
all
I
those
wasn't
people.
drunk.
I am. I meant me. I wanted to get me drunk.
He's like, I wanted to get drunk. And
I
listen
wanted to
you.
get drunk to get the stones to bring it up to you guys.
You'd be a terrible interrogator. You'd be injecting yourself with truth serum. You're like, now tell me where the bomb is.
Hitting yourself.
Yeah.
Like, so much police brutality. Ryan's got a really weird interrogation technique, but it works.
Guantanamo Jr.
That's funny. My dad was up there in the military. He would be laughing at that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you reaching out, man, and inviting us out. This is
Yeah, and
yeah.
I've been, like I said, I'm a fan of yours, and I've been curious to see where you guys are going. Fuck, dude, this is awesome. Thank you guys so much. I'm
sure.
like incredibly. Yeah, fuck, man. I
Had
don't know what to
fun.
say.
Yeah. If
Thank
you
you,
still want to
guys.
listen to the show, catch it on Spotify.
This is
The last
your
living
time.
bastion.
I'm gonna give you guys time to pimp whatever you want to pimp. And
I would say the biggest thing right now is our YouTube channels. Can City Media. It's all separate words. CANCITY Media. Subscribe to that. I know we've been laying low for a little bit, but we'll have some videos coming up. You've got your YouTube channel. Was it Green Apple? I mean,
Green
you've got
Apple
one.
DIY. Yeah, I've just got one video up. So
yeah, I mean, we're as far as our personal YouTube channels, we're still relatively fresh. Right now, I only have 3 videos up, but it's Wildcard Sharp. Wildcard's one word, where I'm just going to be kind of reviewing anything and everything from electronics, microphones, cameras, lenses.
People
sweet.
looking to build a podcast, that might be a good thing to subscribe
Yeah,
to.
I'm going to be doing more microphone comparisons. I did a review. The first one I did was a review on the mic I'm talking on now.
it's great, Mike.
But yeah, I'm trying. We'll always have some sort of creative outlet. So Kansas City Media is not gone. The podcast might be gone for now. Who knows? It might be gone indefinitely, but the video is still going up. Joel's podcast is still up and running. He is killing it. It's You Should Talk with Joel Nichols. You can find that on all the podcast platforms.
He said, how many episodes in is he? Like,
I don't know.
30 now?
He doesn't
interviewed-
list his episodes by number.
He's interviewed chefs and media people, and it's been fascinating. Really fascinating.
Nice. I'm gonna get into his podcast.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
I can't
he's
wait.
a great interviewer. You want to listen to somebody who is a veteran broadcaster, that's
Right.
the guy. And man, when he's not on the corporate
Right.
chain, he gets to say and do whatever he wants. It's still safe. I mean, it's still safe for those soccer moms to listen to, but he can just say and do whatever he wants. He's so entertaining. He's so quick. And I would say the Johnny Dare episode number 1 is a great episode to listen to. The one he did with Chris Ketz and Dana Wright is a great episode to listen to.
Maria Antonio was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
if you're
good.
fascinated by like vintage Casey News stuff, because they both worked on like the.
Which one are you guys gonna propose to
reporting
him
team.
first? Holy shit! Get off his dick! already.
we're really proud of his show, man.
Well, I'll put it this way, and you might. I mean, you're old.
Joel and I are expecting.
You're a few years older than me, so when you grow up in Kansas City, you
Right.
have certain media icons.
Right, I'm just giving you shit.
I
Guys.
know, but one of them is like Joel Nichols.
Yeah,
And
he's a
the fact-
badass. Joel, I'm giving you shit. You're the man.
The
dude.
fact that the
Come
guy,
onto my podcast. I'll pip you. I'll make you a big star.
he's
Joel.
in my basement like once a week
That'd
recording.
be
I'm like,
weird.
what? I mean, here's a guy I watched as a kid growing up doing the weather.
He's
on the
hanging out with us all the
And
time
yeah,
at
I'm just-
Matt's house.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Crazy.
unreal. It's
Right.
it's so unreal.
No, that's cool as hell.
Yeah,
I
so,
have to give you guys shit. I feel like we've
No, I
become
don't
one.
care.
The Trinity. We were talking about Jesus earlier. This is the Trinity now. It's all come full circle with the Jim Beam and Coke.
Just won't talk about Jesus.
Oh,
No, I
could-
appreciate you having us on, man.
yeah,
This is fun.
we could go another 4 hours.
I'm
thank
sure
you
we
guys
could.
so much, man.
For sure.
Yeah.
This was amazing. Kansas City Media. This was Neandertalk Podcast.
Bye.
Peace out, everybody. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Take care.